Chapter 2041 Bitter Taste, Swallow Loss. 2041 Bitter Taste, Swallow Loss. U003CU003C The Legends of Ren Zhu 003EU003E, Chapter 5, Section 32. Ren Zhu continued on his journey. After a while, a huge predicament entered Ren Zhu's vision. Strong Gu was inside this predicament's body. It laughed. "Oh human, I am back again. This time, I have help, let's see what you can do." Ren Zhu had to stop walking. Even though the predicament before him was huge, he did not fluster. Long ago, Ren Zhu had been chased by a group of predicaments as he escaped, but after he gave his heart to Hope Gu, those predicaments which feared Hope escaped in panic. "Oh Hope Gu, I need your help." Ren Zhu summoned Hope Gu, but the light of hope did not scare away this predicament. What was going on? Ha. Strong Gu laughed. "Oh human, this predicament has gained my help. It will definitely be the greatest predicament you have ever met in your life. With just hope, how can you possibly defeat it?" Ren Zhu could not think of a way. At this moment, weak Gu that was shielded by Ren Zhu spoke in a soft voice. "Oh human, thank you for protecting me. Don't worry, I have an idea, let's scare this predicament away." "You can scare it away?" Weak Gu shook its head. "Oh human, even something as weak as me has a method to survive in life. Against those that want to eat or bully me, I will often put up a deceiving disguise, to make others think that I am very strong. This world favors the strong. Even if we are weak, we need to disguise ourselves as strong beings or we will be bullied everywhere. Oh human, you can do it. Don't you have fear Gu? Isn't attitude Gu on your face?" Ren Zhu heard Weak Gu's suggestion and decided to try it. He first twisted his appearance using attitude Gu, revealing his teeth and showing a fierce expression. Next, he used fear Gu to scare the predicament as it bore its teeth, sprawling on the ground and staring at Ren Zhu vigilantly. Ren Zhu was dazed. "Why didn't we scare it away?" Weak Gu urged. "Didn't it jump earlier? This means that my method works, but we need to put in more effort. Oh human, why don't you put attitude Gu on top of self Gu? What is the best form of deceit or disguise? It is to deceive even yourself. By doing that, we should be able to deceive the predicament." Weak Gu continued. "As long as the predicament thinks that you are strong, it will definitely let you pass. That is because predicaments often take the initiative to give way to the strong." Ren Zhu took off the mask on his face as he placed attitude Gu on self Gu. However, it was pointless. The predicament did not run off in fear. Ren Zhu realized at once. "I understand now, when a person faces a huge predicament, putting up a facade will never solve the real problem." Strong Gu laughed. "Oh human, stop wasting your effort. With me here to remind the predicament, how can you guys possibly deceive it? You should not have saved weak Gu. Weak people often like to jeer and taunt others, showing a ruthless demeanor to conceal their own weakness inside." Ren Zhu was helpless, he could only stall for time temporarily. Suddenly, he had a flash of inspiration as he said to Strong Gu, "You said that the law of survival is for the strong to eat the weak, I agree with that. But how do you prove that you are strong while we are weak? If you cannot prove this, on what basis are you allowed to eat us?" Strong Gu was dazed. "It is because I am Strong Gu and that is weak Gu." Ren Zhu shook his head. "Just your names alone cannot prove anything. Moreover, other than both of you Gu worms, myself and this predicament are also here." Strong Gu smiled coldly. "Then I have a good method to prove it. We will eat a portion of each other. Whoever fails to persevere to the end will lose, whoever is weak deserves to be eaten." Ren Zhu saw that he could not stall for any more time, he had to take a risk. "Then we will do that. Don't regret it. However, which of us will eat first?" Strong Gu was confident in its strength, it chuckled. "So what if I let you go first?" Ren Zhu assessed the predicament with his gaze. The truth was he had never eaten any predicaments before. Ren Zhu thought about it before he had an idea. "Then I will eat the head of the predicament first." Thus, predicament took off its head and gave it to Ren Zhu. Ren Zhu only took a bite when his face became distorted, he almost vomited on the spot. So bitter. It turned out that this was a huge bitter head one. Not just that, even though the predicament lost its head, it was still standing, the neck that was missing a head did not bleed at all, there were no issues at all. Ha. Strong Gu laughed. "Oh human, you chose wrongly, by just eating bitter heads, you cannot resolve any predicaments. Moreover, whether you are capable of eating this huge bitter head is another question altogether. If you cannot eat it, it means that you are a weakling, you deserve to be eaten by us." Compared to the predicament's head, Ren Zhu's body was very small. Zhu knew that strong Ji was right, he could not afford to lose. If he lost, not only would he fail to protect weak Ji, he would even lose his life and become the food of the predicament. Zhu could only frown as he opened his mouth, continuing to eat the bitter head. After taking dozens of mouthfuls, Zhu suddenly stopped, he opened his mouth and almost vomited. Hope Ji encouraged him. "Oh human, don't vomit. If you grit your teeth, you can devour any hardship that comes your way. Humans do not just need to eat food, they also need to taste bitterness." Zhu nodded as he continued to eat. Halfway through, the fear Ji on his body started to shout, "Oh heaven, when will we ever finish eating it?" Zhu also felt a trace of despair. Courage Ji quickly said, "Oh human, you cannot be afraid of tasting bitterness. Don't fear bitterness, suffering is only temporary, if you start to fear suffering, you will suffer for life." With the help of Courage Ji, Zhu finally managed to eat all of the bitter heads after great hardship. Zhu wiped his mouth as he looked at Strong Ji with difficulty. "You can choose now." Strong Ji smiled. "Then we will eat your skin first." Zhu had to pull off the skin on his body as he threw it to the predicament. The predicament had no head, it stuffed Zhu's skin down its neck. Zhu's skin was completely eaten but its huge belly did not expand at all. Strong Ji asked again, "Oh human, what are you going to eat next?" Zhu was troubled now, he had just eaten the predicament's head, it was too bitter, even though he endured the process, his stomach was almost full now. As for the predicament, even though it had no head, it was still alive and standing. "What should I eat now? I ate too much earlier, my stomach is reaching its limit, if I have to eat a lot, my stomach might burst and I'll die." Zhu thought to himself, he had to eat the most important and fatal part of the predicament's body. But which part of the predicament's body was the most important? After thinking for a long time, Zhu finally had an idea. He said to Strong Ji, "Then I will eat the part that you absolutely do not want me to eat." Strong Ji snorted coldly, "Then you can eat some losses too." It took out all of the losses from the predicament's body and gave it to Zhu for consumption. These losses were not big, the quantity was not large either. Zhu was quite surprised, because after these losses were taken out, the originally huge predicament shrunk by a lot. Rules and regulation Ji started to explain for Zhu. "Oh human, this is not strange. Predicaments vary according to people, since you ate such a huge bitter head earlier, you will have less losses to eat, thus, it became smaller." Zhu became happy. "This is great. Even if I eat all of these losses, I will not reach my limit, it will not fill my stomach completely." Zhu opened his mouth and ate a small loss. It was so spicy. Zhu could not even speak at this moment. Continuing to eat. Zhu opened his mouth as he breathed heavily, his empty eye sockets also started to tear up uncontrollably. Eating again. Zhu's entire body was covered in sweat that merged with the tears flowing out of his eye sockets. The most uncomfortable thing for Zhu was that budding flames started to appear in his heart. These yellowish flames resembled chicks, they gathered together in groups. The more losses one ate, the more flames of resentment they would feel in their heart. The more flames of resentment they had, the more uncomfortable it felt. Even Zhu's several hearts could not take it, they were going to be incinerated soon. Right at this moment, the heart of nobleness grew in Zhu's chest. Compared to the other hearts, the heart of nobleness was able to endure the most flames of resentment. With this heart to bear the burden, Zhu finally managed to endure it. Zhu ate all of the losses. Strong Ji looked at Zhu's bulging belly as he smiled coldly. "Oh human, you are almost at your limit, it is time for us to eat." Zhu breathed roughly as he asked, "What do you want to eat?" Strong Ji said, "I want to eat your flesh." Zhu was helpless about it, he could only let it eat his flesh. Zhu's skin and flesh were inside Predicament's stomach, he only had his bones, organs, and hair left. In this deep and eerie darkness, only Mingyu's thoughts were flickering with much difficulty, radiating the light of hope near the end of his life. "I can do it, come on. Food path killer move, bitter taste. Food path killer move, swallow loss." The green claw ghost-winged lion was flying in the air, suddenly, its body shook as it fell towards the ground with a pitiful cry. With a loud sound, it crashed into the desert, creating a deep pit. The green claw ghost-winged lion struggled intensely, causing the sand on the ground to turn into a huge sand wave. It could not endure the immense feelings of bitterness, the flames of resentment burned intensely in its heart. It knew that Mingyu was the one causing problems in its stomach, it stabbed its claw into its stomach without hesitation. After spending a long time struggling, it slowly came to a halt as its life force dissipated. Using the hole that its claw created, Mingyu's soul flew out like a trace of smoke, bringing along his immortal essence and Gu worms, escaping from the stomach of the beast. I actually survived. Even he did not think that this would be the outcome. His soul was dim. After floating and moving for some time, he collapsed onto the ground. Only after resting for a long time did he recover slightly. Looking at the dark sky, Spectral Soul, who was still a young adult, snorted coldly before laughing to himself. Pathetic, truly pathetic. However, in this world who does not struggle at death's doors? I swear. Spectral Soul's figure was blurry and vague. He seemed to be pointing at heaven. He used an extremely firm and determined, yet incomparably weak voice to shout with all his strength, "This is the last time I will struggle before death in my life. From today onwards, only I can cause others to struggle in the face of death. The 5 regions and 2 heavens can bear testament to my words." Heaven and earth was silent. Going back to the present, his memories faded away as the battlefield reappeared. Ching-Cho was rolling around in the air. Finally, it could not take it anymore as it vomited out Spectral Soul. Spectral Soul's body was like a phantom, moving rapidly and reaching Ching-Cho's back. He raised his right arm as his 5 fingers turned black like ink. It was quite peculiar. His 5 fingernails were longer than his fingers, they were white and sharp, emitting an icy and terrifying aura. "Go ahead and struggle to death. Don't worry, I will not let any of you feel even the slightest hope of survival." Spectral Soul's eyes shined with a dark light, his 5 fingers stabbed at lightning speed. Roar! Ching-Cho's body shook, all of its strength surged again as Spectral Soul quickly absorbed everything. The Chinese phrase for suffering, hardship, is written as bitter head literally. 2. Eat loss is the literal meaning of the phrase that means suffering a loss, being disadvantaged, or ending up in an unfavorable situation. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Less than report chapter greater than so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2042 Venerable Spectral Soul. 2042 Venerable Spectral Soul. Lightning flashed and thunder roared, causing destruction to sovereign immortal aperture. Mini southern border was ravaged by the myriad destruction lightning forest to a pitiful level, countless mountains collapsed, the earth cracked as deep crevices formed. Combat Beast King was bathed in blood as he fought, his injuries were getting more severe, the situation was getting tougher now. He was using his life to forcefully hold on and maintain the situation. Compared to the might of heaven and earth, even if I am a rank 8 GU immortal, so what? Combat Beast King had been cultivating in sovereign immortal aperture, he gained a lot of knowledge and his strength rose greatly, giving him a boost of confidence. But now, facing the myriad tribulation, he could feel how tiny and insignificant he was. The range of the myriad destruction lightning forest expanded again, because Fang Yuan's main body had to deal with the fight outside, he was at a disadvantage. Against this myriad tribulation, even if Fang Yuan put in all his effort, it would still be a dangerous process, and yet half of his attention was drawn away to deal with Spectral Soul. This was a myriad tribulation, countless rank 8s had faltered at this hurdle. Fang Yuan's situation was quite unique, this was not his first myriad tribulation. He had not just skipped 2 myriad tribulations, this current one was created by the 3000 heaven path Dao marks in his body. A myriad tribulation created this way was extremely rare even in the long history of humanity. Forced by the situation, Fang Yuan had to multitask, he dealt with the situation outside while simultaneously observing sovereign immortal aperture. He looked at the heaven path Dao marks that transformed into lightning path and cloud path to create this myriad tribulation, he suddenly comprehended something. I think I understand something now. At that instance, he realized the origin of the calamities and tribulations. In the past, he knew that calamities and tribulations were controlled by the heavenly Tao, it cared about balance, to take away surpluses while replenishing deficits. Every GU immortal and immortal aperture was a mass congregation of Tao marks, thus, the heavenly Tao had to take measures to maintain the balance. Every once in a while, the heavenly Tao would unleash its might, creating calamities and tribulations for GU immortals. But how could it create these calamities and tribulations? Fang Yuan did not know. Right now, this question in Fang Yuan's heart got answered by the scene before him. It turned out that matter what kind of tribulation, it was actually created using heaven path Tao marks. The heaven path Tao marks could transform into any path, thus, there were the flying frost jumping lightning tribulation, 4 inferno cloud tribulation, dragon roar tribulation, heavenly drum thunder tribulation, wind flower calamity, snow moon calamity, profound white flying salt calamity. These tribulations were of the various paths, there were many types of them, GU immortals could not guess what would come, thus they faced huge difficulties. The heavenly Tao would even mimic Venerable methods, for example, thieving heaven demon Venerable's formless hand. All these different tribulations were merely the manifestation, in essence, they were all heaven path Tao marks. The higher the GU Immortal's cultivation level, the more Tao marks they would have, and the bigger the difference between them and the natural environment. The more imbalanced it was, the more heaven path Tao marks would be drawn to them, and the stronger the tribulations they would face. Nobody in the world could cultivate heaven path, even if a GU Immortal passed a tribulation successfully, they would not gain heaven path Tao marks. These heaven path Tao marks would transform into the Tao marks of other paths and fuse with the GU Immortal's immortal aperture. Thinking about it, back in Crazed Demon Cave, the heaven path Tao marks derived many strange and peculiar small worlds. After these worlds were destroyed, they transformed back into heaven path Tao marks. As for the immortal tribulation tempering aperture killer move that Fang Yuan obtained from Langya sect, it used the same logic. Immortal tribulation tempering aperture killer move used the blessed land and grotto heaven as the refinement target, using the killer move to connect the immortal aperture with the 5 regions world outside, influencing the calamities and tribulations and using it to temper the immortal aperture itself. Langya blessed land was once located at Northern Plains Crescent Lake. Around the vicinity of Crescent Lake were water path and refinement path Tao marks. Immortal tribulation tempering aperture killer move was often used to deal with the calamities and tribulations. Most often, water path and refinement path calamities would occur. After passing it, the immortal aperture would gain water path and refinement path Tao marks. The true effect of this move was to affect the transformation of the heaven path Tao marks. In Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's true inheritance, there were also luck path methods to weaken tribulations. For example, dog shit luck and fortune rivaling heaven. He was using luck path Tao marks to interfere with the creation of tribulations by the heaven path Tao marks, causing a favorable change to occur and weakening the might of the tribulations. In Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven, there was myriad beings assimilation transformation killer move. It limited the transformation of the heaven path Tao marks, thus each tribulation turned into a transformation path Beast Calamity instead. The exposing heavenly secret killer move that Fang Yuan obtained from Shadow Sect could precisely deduce the content of the following tribulation. Exposing heavenly secret killer move used heavenly secret immortal GU as the core. Very evidently, it also targeted the root source, the heaven path Tao marks, to make its deductions. Thus, each deduction was extremely precise about the content. Immortal tribulation tempering aperture, luck path methods, myriad beings assimilation transformation, exposing heavenly secret. Fang Yuan had all of these methods, it was a pity that he could not use them now. The heaven path Tao marks restricted his actions, he could not activate any of these moves. Only by using human path methods to resist heaven path could Fang Yuan gain some time and opportunity to activate other killer moves. Like earlier in Heavenly Court when he used unlimited Chi Si killer move to deal with primordial Chi Wall. Fang Yuan had a human path formation in Sovereign Immortal Aperture that used the Thousand Wish Tree as the core. But Heaven's will was not stupid, it knew about Fang Yuan's information. Myriad Destruction Lightning Forest also appeared in Mini Central Continent, it was attacking the human path formation, making Fang Yuan trapped in a tighter spot. Roar. Beast growls resounded, a large group of soul beasts moved out towards the lightning clouds in the sky. They charged relentlessly without any concern about their own lives. These were all soul beasts, most were desolate beasts, there were some ancient soul beasts and 4 immemorial soul beasts. These soul beasts were all captured by Fang Yuan in Green Ghost Desert. Among them, the immemorial soul beasts were enslaved when Fang Yuan helped Fang Clan to obtain Divine Bean Palace. These soul beasts were usually kept in Mini Black Heaven. Right now, Fang Yuan was facing a crisis, he had to make use of them. The soul beasts were extremely fragile under the myriad tribulation, they were completely defenseless. In just a while, 100 desolate level soul beasts perished from the lightning bolts, more than 10 ancient soul beasts died as well. Fang Yuan's heart was cold as ice, he did not waver. The soul beast group had already served its purpose, it drew the firepower away and took away the pressure, allowing Fang Yuan to gain some time. This included the immemorial soul beasts, without immortal GU, they were just high-tier cannon fodder against the myriad tribulation, but they were still useful as meat shields after all. Fang Yuan did not dare to use the soul beasts against Spectral Soul. The truth was, after Spectral Soul took control of the year beasts, Fang Yuan gave up on this aspect. A huge amount of strength flowed like a tidal wave into Spectral Soul's body. Ching Cho struggled intensely, using killer moves to attack itself manically. However, Spectral Soul endured Ching Cho's attacks forcefully as he continued to drain its strength. Soul beasts existed in this world because Spectral Soul created Soul Path. Spectral Soul understood soul beasts too well. Not only could he make them loyal to him, he also has methods to extract strength from them to replenish himself. Ching Chou's struggles became weaker and weaker. Spectral Soul looked at Ching Chou with great satisfaction. The hatred GU within its body was already reaching completion. This fool was simply sending itself to death while contributing treasures as well. Spectral Soul suppressed Ching Chou while keeping his attention on Dragon Palace. All along, he did not relax. He stared at Fang Yuan's main body without looking away. The entire situation was still under his control. Whoosh! Suddenly, winds blew as the air rumbled. Two giant hands slammed towards Spectral Soul from the left and right. One hand was black while the other was white. They were grand and majestic, containing deep profundities. It was the Chi Path killer move, Yin-Yang Great Killer Hands. At the crucial moment, Fang Yuan's Chi Path clone arrived. Spectral Soul smiled coldly, black smoke spewing out of his body. From the smoke, two immemorial soul beasts flew out and slammed into the two Chi Path giant hands. The Chi Path hands grabbed as the two immemorial soul beasts growled in pain, but they did not die just yet. Chi-Si Ancestor could neither let go of them nor continue grabbing them at this moment. If he grabbed onto them, his offensive momentum would be halted. If he let go, these two immemorial soul beasts would still attack him later. Chi-Si Ancestor shouted as he waved both hands, letting them fly far away, bringing the immemorial soul beasts away from the battlefield. Spectral Soul's goal was achieved. He used two immemorial soul beasts to restrain Chi-Si Ancestor while also wasting his energy. After all, Chi-Si Ancestor had to sustain the two Chi Path hands to trap the immemorial soul beasts. Chi-Si and Spectral Soul's first round of fighting ended up as a simple exchange. Spectral Soul used two immemorial soul beasts while Chi-Si Ancestor wasted some mental energy, immortal essence, timing. Both sides were evenly matched. In fact, Spectral Soul lost a bit more. After all, the immemorial soul beasts had rank 8 battle strength. But looking at the big picture, Spectral Soul's gains were slightly higher. He still continued to control the situation. Because he controlled Soul Pacifying Grotto Heaven secretly, it had many immemorial soul beasts. Losing two was no issue. In contrast, Chi-Si failed to use this opportunity well. He originally wanted to disrupt Spectral Soul but was interrupted. This chance was wasted. Spectral Soul made use of his advantage well. He continued to absorb Ching Chou's strength to strengthen himself while weakening Ching Chou. On the whole, he had gained a lot from this first round of combat. This round was just a tiny projection of their fight, yet it showed Spectral Soul's abundant and rich battle experience. His vision loomed over the entire battlefield. His control of combat was so precise and flawless, even someone like Fang Yuan felt stifled. Fang Yuan was not giving up obviously. He focused on repairing Dragon Palace while asking Chi-Si Ancestor to attack again. Spectral Soul focused on three things at once. He suppressed Dragon Palace and used the black smoke spiral to damage it. He absorbed Ching Chou's soul beast strength. He also used killer moves to resist Chi-Si Ancestor's attacks. Dragon Palace, Ching Chou, and Chi-Si Ancestor, these were three entities with top-tier battle strength in the world, yet they could not turn the situation around even by being on the same side. To speak the truth, Spectral Soul's current strength was not too impressive, but he had the complete dominance over Dragon Palace. He countered Ching Chou's abilities, and he even knew about Chi-Si Ancestor's information. His soul path methods are used in succession. The moves complement each other and are tightly connected. This is an exceptional combat system. In contrast, my Chi-Si clone has only existed for a short period of time. He has too few methods that are all easily countered. Fang Yuan's main body understood the reason. Chi-Si clone's most common offensive method was Yin-Yang Great Killer Hands and his main defensive method was Heavenly Astral Cloth Robe. His foundation was too low. When observed by Spectral Soul, after just a few exchanges of moves, he would be able to create a countermeasure easily. Be it battle strength, knowledge, or experience, Spectral Soul stood at the peak of the world. After all, he was once the invincible demon Venerable that dominated the world. Among the generations of Venerables, Spectral Soul was publicly recognized as the one with the deepest killing intent. He had gone through intense battles, he fought his way to the top, he was an expert that carved out his own bloody path through countless hurdles. Under his venerable throne, there was a mountain of skeletons and sea of corpses. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Less than report chapter greater than so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2043 Dragon Palace Escapes. 2043 Dragon Palace Escapes. Chi-Si Ancestor, how is the situation over there? Amidst intense battle, Fang Yuan's clone Qi Si received Qin Dingling's transmission. Qi Si ancestor did not speak, he recorded the scene of the battle using an information path GU worm and sold it to Qin Dingling in Treasure Yellow Heaven. Heavenly Court soon gained an understanding of the battle situation. Qin Dingling was slightly shocked internally, Spectral Soul's strength far surpassed her initial estimations, it seemed like Qi Si ancestor could not restrain Spectral Soul. At this rate, Spectral Soul might likely kill Fang Yuan and defeat Qi Si, he would also absorb Qing Chou, he would be the greatest winner in this clash. This was something Qin Dingling did not want to see. Fang Yuan and Spectral Soul were supreme demons, it would be great if they both perished, the best scenario would be Longevity Heaven going down with them. That was the result Qin Dingling most wanted to see. We have our immortal GU house, if we join the fight, we can cause some changes to it. Even though Qing Chou is strong, it is a mistake to use it against Spectral Soul. Looking at Spectral Soul's actions, it seems that he is sure that Fang Yuan is inside Dragon Palace. Then has Fairy Ziwei already succeeded in her deductions and informed Spectral Soul? Qin Dingling guessed the truth but she was not certain. She looked at the operating wisdom path formation and calamity luck altar beside it. If Heavenly Court could exterminate Fairy Ziwei and the rest, that would be the best. Clipping Spectral Soul's wings prematurely would result in fewer variables in this battle. It was a pity that Calamity Luck Altar was here, most of Longevity Heaven's experts came along with it. Qin Dingling was not confident of taking down Fairy Ziwei at this moment. Longevity Heaven, Qin Dingling gritted her teeth. Among the Heavenly Court GU immortals present, she hated Longevity Heaven most deeply. Back then, she was forced to become Giant Sun's immortal concubine. She endured this humiliation and successfully switched to cultivating Luck Path. She eventually participated in the Fate War. But at the crucial moment, Giant Sun immortal zombies' attack tilted the balance of the final battle in his favor. Longevity Heaven, I will settle the scores with you one day. Qin Dingling swore in her heart. Right when Qin Dingling was thinking, a rank 7 immortal GU house flew over. This immortal GU house was owned by Spirit Affinity House. The first Supreme Elder and second Supreme Elder were inside it as they brought along an important person, Feng Jinhuang. Feng Jinhuang, quickly retrieve the dream realms before us. Qin Dingling ordered. Yes. The door of the immortal GU house opened as Feng Jinhuang stood on the steps, quickly using her method with a solemn expression. She had Dream Wings Immortal GU and the modified Pure Dream Reality Seeker transformation. In fact, this killer move was created by Fairy Ziwei's deductions. As Dream Realms turned into human form, they flew into Spirit Affinity House's immortal GU house. Shadow Sect and Longevity Heaven were stirred. Fairy Ziwei's eyes shined with brilliance. Old man Zheng Yuan quickly asked, Fairy, do we take action? After all, these dream realms belonged by Spectral Soul, his attainment levels were inside them. Fairy Ziwei shook her head. We will wait for now, these dream realms are just a small portion, they are not important. Fang Yuan is our main priority. At the moment, Spectral Soul's side had a clear advantage. At this rate of development, Shadow Sect was greatly favored. Fairy Ziwei did not want to upset the balance now and disrupt the overall situation. Feng Jinhuang was just a rank 5 GU master, she was not even a rank 6 GU immortal. But her status was quite unique, she was Feng Juji's daughter. If anyone attacked her, it might cause Feng Juje to come. Feng Juji's future self had likely disappeared, similar to He Lulan and Bai Ningbing. But even so, with Feng Juji's own strength, he could participate in this fight, he was an uncertain variable. Especially when this variable was not favorable for Shadow Sect, Fairy Ziwei wanted to have less problems if possible. Calamity Luck Altar's Bing Sai Chuan had the same thought, he did not make a move in the end. Feng Jinhuang was heavily protected by Heavenly Court's immortals as she gradually collected the dream realms. Qin Dingling had a complex emotion. She eventually made this move, using Feng Jinhuang and thus, Feng Juje indirectly to intimidate their opponents. Since when did the great Heavenly Court fall to such a level? The pride in Qin Dingling's heart pressured her, but the logic in her mind told her to use all of the resources and influences they could gather. Qi Si ancestor transmitted information again, requesting for Heavenly Court's reinforcement. Qin Dingling rejected his request politely, asking him to persevere some more time. Thus, Qi Si ancestor changed his request. Sorrowful Wind Mountain Range is closest to Black Heaven Temple, why don't you ask them to send an immortal GU house to patrol the periphery of the battlefield? If I am unable to stop Spectral Soul from killing Fang Yuan, we can still rely on Black Heaven Temple. Qin Dingling thought about it but did not tell Qi Si ancestor about her orders to Black Heaven Temple. She rejected. Black Heaven Temple is not strong enough to participate in this battle. Qi Si ancestor replied angrily, this is a prime opportunity. If Heavenly Court hesitates and loses the chance, either one of these two demons getting stronger will be a problem for the righteous path. Qin Dingling sighed. Why wouldn't I know that? But Heavenly Court is not as before, we need to act cautiously. If we send Black Heaven Temple's GU Immortals there, they would only die in vain. Please understand our plight. Qi Si ancestor felt a little dejected. Since Heavenly Court's leader openly spoke of their weakness, they were really not the Heavenly Court of before, their style of action changed, Feng Yuan could not make use of them easily anymore. While Qin Dingling and Qi Si ancestor spoke secretly, Demon Immortal Qi Ju was also asking Spectral Soul, Feng Yuan's main body is here, why aren't you coming here? Feng Yuan placed his will in myriad-year flying warship, he also left behind Immortal GU and Immortal Essence, under the effect of familiar face killer move, he could disguise his will very well. Demon Immortal Qi Ju told Spectral Soul about this but the latter continued to fight Dragon Palace, not showing signs of leaving. This made Demon Immortal Qi Ju quite suspicious. Spectral Soul directly replied, don't forget about Feng Yuan's familiar face. We cannot be sure of his location. Demon Immortal Qi Ju became increasingly suspicious. Spectral Soul, are you hiding something from me? Spectral Soul replied, don't worry, just continue restraining myriad-year flying warship, you will get your due remuneration. But Demon Immortal Qi Ju did not fall for it, he smiled coldly, don't worry indeed, I have a brilliant plan to find out which is Feng Yuan's main body. Saying so, he suddenly stopped dealing with myriad-year flying warship as he flew towards Spectral Soul's direction. Myriad-year flying warship was stunned for a moment before quickly pulling away from Demon Immortal Qi Ju. Spectral Soul sensed something amiss, he quickly transmitted, Qi Ju, don't do anything foolish. But Demon Immortal Qi Ju was firm, sometimes, we need to take a chance, right? Or maybe, you can tell me the information that you just obtained. Spectral Soul snorted but did not reply. Demon Immortal Qi Ju turned silent as he flew into the sky with an increased speed. In a few breaths of time, myriad-year flying warship appeared behind him again. Seeing this, Demon Immortal Qi Ju laughed loudly, oh Spectral Soul, look, I found out the truth already. I can be certain that Feng Yuan's main body is inside Dragon Palace now. If Feng Yuan's main body was inside myriad-year flying warship, he would have flown away already. But now, myriad-year flying warship returned to stall Demon Immortal Qi Ju. It showed that Feng Yuan's main body was unwilling to see Spectral Soul gain reinforcements, he had to stop Demon Immortal Qi Ju from leaving. At this moment, Feng Yuan's plan to deceive his enemies by splitting up has failed completely. Demon Immortal Qi Ju was a famous demon in history, his seniority was higher than everyone here, including Spectral Soul. After sensing something wrong, he quickly tested his method to find out the truth. Spectral Soul snorted coldly, showing displeasure. With Demon Immortal Qi Ju's move, the situation got out of Spectral Soul's control. Spectral Soul was just using Qi Ju by promising benefits, they were wary of each other in essence, their relationship was merely because of mutual gains. The reason why Spectral Soul did not want Demon Immortal Qi Ju to come over was because this uncertain variable could possibly get greedy and fight with him over the immense benefits of killing Feng Yuan. Right now, from Demon Immortal Qi Ju's actions, it showed that Spectral Soul's worries were well justified. Demon Immortal Qi Ju definitely had his own ideas. But Spectral Soul did not fluster. Back when he lured Demon Immortal Qi Ju to join the battle, he had already thought of this. But there was no helping it, Spectral Soul had just regained his strength, Shadow Sect was still very weak. Because of the many variables in this battle, Spectral Soul had to increase the strength of his side. It was thanks to Fairy Ziwei communicating with Longevity Heaven earlier, to rope them in with Shadow Sect temporarily, otherwise the situation would have been even more chaotic. Did Bing Sai Chuan had no such intentions either? Was he really going to watch Spectral Soul kill Feng Yuan like that? Of course not. Fairy Ziwei was a wisdom path great expert, she had deep considerations. She created the formation in front of Heavenly Court, it was to restrain them as well as Longevity Heaven. This battle to kill Feng Yuan was not as grand as the Fate War, but it involved 4 parties, tens of GU Immortals, and almost all of the peak experts in the current world. These people plotted against each other and schemed deeply. Spectral Soul could sense acutely that his control over the situation was slipping. Immortal killer move, Qi Wall. During the intense battle, Qi Si ancestor pushed with both hands as a colossal Qi Wall formed instantly. The chi wall was like a mountain as it pressed towards Spectral Soul. Spectral Soul pointed with his fingers as several immemorial soul beasts appeared, growling as they blocked the chi wall. But Chi-Si Ancestor shouted suddenly as he raised his right fist. He spread out his fingers as his palm targeted Spectral Soul from afar. Spectral Soul seemed to have sensed something as black smoke appeared around him in a ball shape, shielding him. The moment Chi-Si Ancestor's killer move was ready, he moved his palm away and targeted the black smoke spiral instead. Immortal killer move, Great Chi Hand Explosion. Bam! Following an intense explosion, the black smoke spiral was completely torn apart as black chi flew all over the place. Dragon Palace, which was greatly damaged, moved quickly as it drew a golden trail of light in the sky, rapidly escaping. At this point in the battle, Dragon Palace finally broke free. Spectral Soul's attention was drawn by Demon Immortal Chi-Ju. Chi-Si Ancestor found this small loophole and quickly made use of his opportunity with some luck. Spectral Soul looked at Chi-Si Ancestor deeply. Other than intense anger and killing intent, there was also praise and admiration in his gaze. Chi-Si Ancestor had made a brilliant move. Now that Dragon Palace had escaped, Spectral Soul had to keep up with it. He had to abandon the heavy Ching Cho. It was such a pity. Spectral Soul was only a bit of time away from completely subduing Ching Cho. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Less than report chapter greater than so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2044 Leaving Stealthily. 2044 Leaving Stealthily. Fang Yuan, where are you trying to escape to? Spectral Soul smiled coldly, black smoke oozing out of his body. An immemorial soul beast as large as a giant python flew out of the black smoke. It pounced at Dragon Palace with strong winds around it. The orange-golden light flickered on Dragon Palace as a trace of pink smoke flew out. With the movement of the smoke, the immemorial soul beast easily got suppressed inside Dragon Palace without putting up a resistance. It was Immortal killer move, Dreamy Light Smoke. Spectral Soul was only afraid of this method from Dragon Palace, but now that it was used, he immediately used the opportunity to move with increased speed, approaching Dragon Palace like a specter. Immortal killer move, Chi Wall. Chi-Si Ancestor pushed with both hands as winds blew wildly. A giant Chi Wall appeared out of nowhere and blocked Spectral Soul. Spectral Soul snorted coldly, breaking the Chi Wall but losing his battle opportunity. Dragon Palace changed directions. The aura of dreamy light smoke became denser again. Behind it, Ching Cho roared and wanted to chase them, but it was powerless. In a few breaths of time, it was left in the dust. Dragon Palace, Spectral Soul, and Chi-Si Ancestor fought while they traveled rapidly in the sky. Chi-Si Ancestor played the role of a nuisance perfectly. He prevented Spectral Soul from succeeding multiple times. Spectral Soul became annoyed. He started to attack Chi-Si Ancestor aggressively. But at this time, Dragon Palace suddenly retaliated as it shielded Chi-Si Ancestor. Especially with the killer move Dreamy Light Smoke ready to strike at any moment, Spectral Soul could not act too aggressively. Thus, the situation went into a deadlock. Spectral Soul had not returned to his peak condition. Thus, when fighting against Dragon Palace and Chi-Si Ancestor, his battle strength was not much higher. Once they cooperated and assisted each other, even Spectral Soul felt a sense of helplessness. He could not fight against both enemies. Targeting one of them would allow the other to act. It was hard to take action now. At this time, Spectral Soul could not help but think of Ching Cho. I should not have weakened Ching Cho to this extent. If it still had some battle strength left, it would disrupt their cooperation. Spectral Soul felt a little regret. He was all alone and did not need cooperation, but Fang Yuan and Chi-Si Ancestor were different. They had to work together intrinsically to resist Spectral Soul. Ching Cho was overwhelmed by rage. Once it joined the battle, it would ruin Fang Yuan and Chi-Si Ancestor's cooperation. Spectral Soul would have a lot of opportunities to strike. But what Spectral Soul did earlier was not wrong either. If he could subdue Ching Cho completely, Spectral Soul's advantage would rise. He would almost certainly claim victory. It was a pity Chi-Si Ancestor ruined it. He was merely a step away from completely subduing Ching Cho, but just that bit of time would allow Fang Yuan to escape from them. Spectral Soul could not take the risk. This time, Spectral Soul had the advantage of being undercover, but what about next time? Once Fang Yuan becomes cautious against him, would he have another chance? Even Spectral Soul could not be sure. Despite Fairy Z-Wei's deduction method, would Fang Yuan be unable to counter it? Heavenly Court was the best example. They could not capture Fang Yuan despite countless efforts. What was the outcome? Fang Yuan got stronger and stronger. He fought his way to Heavenly Court and destroyed Fate Gu. Even though Fang Yuan was backed by many individuals who paved the way for him, What made all of these people invest in him? Were there no better candidates? Even for otherworldly demons, there were many of them in the world. Fang Yuan was used by Heaven's will in all these people. He was obviously someone who was unique and had great value. Forget about the rest, just his ability to escape was something even Spectral Soul felt admiration towards. Fang Yuan's attainment in escaping was very deep. He had a scheming and crafty mind. He was most skilled by borrowing others' strength. He could escape under the thumbs of many powerful forces, quickly raising his strength over time. Spectral Soul had such rich battle experience, he knew deeply that someone like Fang Yuan had to be dealt with seriously. Once he struck, it had to be a fatal blow. He could not give Fang Yuan any time to rest or recuperate. This enemy was too good at making use of opportunity. He could easily gain a new lease on life and turn the situation around. Fang Yuan was the type of person who could shine with a bit of sunlight, sprout with a bit of water, or create great problems with just a bit of time. Indeed, Spectral Soul was wary against Fang Yuan. Even he had to admit this truth. Because he saw a trace of himself in Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan, defending will lead to your eventual loss. How long can you last? I will definitely kill you. Spectral Soul said coldly, not forgetting to exert mental pressure on Fang Yuan. Qi Si, after this battle, even if you hide, I will find you in Eastern Sea. I will destroy your Qi Si and kill all of your subordinates. Spectral Soul turned around and threatened Qi Si ancestor. Qi Si clone replied calmly, the so-called demon Venerable is actually resorting to trash talking. Spectral Soul smiled coldly. Qi Si ancestor's expression quickly changed. Black smoke appeared around him as it started to invade his body. Spectral Soul used words to distract Qi Si ancestor. Even though this was not a weakness, in Spectral Soul's eyes, it was enough to create an opportunity for himself. Qi Si ancestor quickly evaded it as Spectral Soul wanted to pursue him. Dragon Palace flew over and blocked Spectral Soul, bearing some of Qi Si ancestor's burden. Qi Si ancestor exerted all his strength to alleviate the problem on him. After regaining his footing, he went back into the battle. It was a deadlock once again. But this time, no matter how Spectral Soul provoked him, Qi Si ancestor showed no carelessness. Like this, the three sides fought and whipped up countless storms, the impact of their clash spreading towards the northern direction. They flew past Sorrowful Wind Mountain Range, entering Intestinal Gorge. Black Heaven Temple's immortals were hiding in Intestinal Gorge. Several immortal GU houses were concealed around Intestinal Gorge, leaking no aura at all. Seeing that the battle far away was approaching them, Black Heaven Temple's immortals immediately turned excited. Coming, they're finally here. The battle is so intense, is that female immortal Spectral Soul who is using the body temporarily. Dragon Palace has been heavily damaged, Fang Yuan has no battle strength left, I've never seen him in a more pathetic state. He deserves it. If not for him, Fate GU would not have been destroyed. Be it Spectral Soul or Fang Yuan, they deserve to die. Black Heaven Temple's immortals gritted their teeth. They had a different tone when speaking of Qi Si ancestor. When we take action later, we should avoid Qi Si ancestor. It was all thanks to him that Heavenly Court's Qi harvest fruit was completely removed. He is our alliance mate. He does not know that we are here in ambush. We cannot harm him. Even though Qi Si ancestor and Dragon Palace were working together, Black Heaven Temple's GU immortals did not feel surprised. Spectral Soul was too strong, they had to work together to resist him. Precisely because of Qi Si ancestor's hard work, Fang Yuan and Spectral Soul were still opposing each other, expending their energy. Close, they are close. Let's do it. Black Heaven Temple's GU immortals were ready to strike. Pew! Right at this moment, Spectral Soul unleashed an aggressive killer move. Black smoke rumbled as dark winds howled. Several mountains were affected by the winds and instantly got disintegrated into dust. Bam! Qi Si ancestor had to unleash Qi Wall killer move to resist the dark winds. Dragon Palace released intense golden light, shooting out a grand light pillar to fight offense with offense, attacking Spectral Soul. Right when the pillar was about to hit, Spectral Soul's body flickered as he vanished on the spot, evading the light pillar easily. The light pillar tore through the sky. It was over 1,000 feet long, creating a huge trench on the ground. At that instant, smoke rose as countless mountains collapsed. A brand new artificially created earth trench appeared before the eyes of the Black Heaven Temple immortals. After this eruption of attacks, Spectral Soul no longer had a chance to attack. He quickly stopped and continued to fight against Qi Si and Dragon Palace as they flew away. The Black Heaven Temple immortals hiding in the immortal GU houses were silent. The battle they saw earlier shook their minds and bodies. So this is their real battle strength. Many people understood this and broke out in cold sweat. Nobody spoke about attacking anymore. The atmosphere was quite awkward. Eventually, Black Heaven Temple's first Supreme Elder coughed and broke the silence. He purposely mumbled to himself. No wonder Heavenly Court's Lady Qin asked us to wait here and observe the situation. Indeed, Lady Qin is very wise. What do we do now? Let's continue waiting in ambush. They did not discover us. Maybe we will get a chance again. That is right, even if we do not gain any opportunities, we can't come here and do nothing right. We must collect information about this battle and inform Lady Qin at least. Rumble. Right when the Black Heaven Temple Immortals were discussing, the intense battle in the sky erupted again. At once, the sky turned dark, earth shook as mountains rumbled. The aftermath of their collision created huge air currents that surged out. Trees were uprooted as mountain rocks flew, wild beasts cried out in pain. It was the sight of an apocalypse. Black Heaven Temple's Immortals watched with wide eyes as Spectral Soul unleashed a black soul ball, but Dragon Palace evaded it. The soul ball fell into a nearby valley. There was no sound. At the instance, with the valley as the core, the surrounding thousand li of mountains and valleys turned into black dust that flew away with the wind. The originally lively mountains vanished soundlessly, only a huge crater was left. Gulp. Someone swallowed their saliva. It was clearly heard by the GU Immortals. What was that killer move earlier? It is so strange. There are no records of it in history. It is not strange that Spectral Soul is able to use such powerful methods, but if it landed on us. Not just us, even our sex immortal GU houses might not be able to survive such an attack. Let's leave. Lady Qin asked us to act according to the situation. We are allowed to retreat if needed. Black Heaven Temple's Immortals looked at each other before turning to the First Supreme Elder. First Supreme Elder's expression was extremely dark. He said with a solemn tone, "We need to preserve our strength, we cannot waste it here. If we die now, who will look after Black Heaven Temple? Lady Qin will not blame us, we are planning for the future." The result was, Black Heaven Temple's Immortals came stealthily and watched as the battle in the sky flew away. After that, they stealthily retreated without a sound. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Less than report chapter greater than so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2045 Myriad Tribulation, S Transformation. 2045 Myriad Tribulation, S Transformation. Fang Yuan, this is as far as you go. Spectral Soul chased for some time before attacking again. He was very confident this time. At once, dark winds howled, black clouds filled the sky. It was like an immensely thick wall appeared before Dragon Palace. This is quickly retreat. At this moment, Wu Shuai's expression turned nervous. He noticed that this was a Soul Path battlefield killer move. Black clouds spread out as Dragon Palace and Chi Si Ancestor quickly retreated. Immortal killer move, Soul Taker battlefield. This was Spectral Soul's famous battlefield killer move. Spectral Soul had used this move to kill countless enemies. Once the battlefield was activated, dark blue soul beasts would be formed within the dense fog. There would be countless soul beasts that appeared unceasingly. Living beings who died in this battlefield would have their souls taken and transformed into soul beasts, under the control of the killer move's user. When Dragon Palace was trapped by the black smoke spiral, there was still hope of escaping. But if it got trapped by Soul Taker battlefield, the chances of escaping would be close to zero. Fang Yuan had Shadow Sect's true inheritance. Soul Taker battlefield was included in this inheritance. He knew a lot about the move. But now, Spectral Soul used this move openly. It was likely that he had already modified and improved upon it. In fact, Fang Yuan's knowledge might be a trap from Spectral Soul. At this moment, Fang Yuan and Chi Si Ancestor did not dare to continue fighting. They quickly focused on escaping. Spectral Soul rode on the endless black smoke as he chased after them. When ordinary GU Immortals used battlefield killer moves, they would need to cancel it if it could not trap the enemy. But with Spectral Soul ordinary, he used the split move technique to split Soul Taker battlefield into many parts. The first part was the black smoke. Spectral Soul could sustain it and move it around without any problem or weakness. Soul Taker battlefield was created by Spectral Soul in his early days. He used it until the later part of his life. By then, he created an even stronger battlefield killer move, 100 million Slaughterfield. Why isn't he using the stronger killer move? Unless, he does not have the necessary GU worms. Fang Yuan guessed. Spectral Soul was also guessing. After escaping from Heavenly Court, Fang Yuan has been going north. Where is he trying to go? Northern Plains. If it is Northern Plains, which location is he going to? Crazed Demon Cave. Now that the 5 regions were united and the regional walls vanished, Spectral Soul had a huge advantage. Without the regional walls, Fang Yuan only has several ways to shrug off these pursuers. Spectral Soul was very familiar with the 5 regions, he guessed Crazed Demon Cave at the first try. Even if Spectral Soul could not be certain, he knew that stopping Fang Yuan from going to the north was a wise decision. Thus, Spectral Soul moved his black smoke to spread out across the surroundings, forcing Fang Yuan to change directions as he flew back to Sorrowful Wind Mountain Range. At the same time, in another battlefield, "I'm done." Feng Jinhuang panted heavily as she stopped her killer move. Her forehead was covered in sweat. Using Pure Dream Reality Seeker transformation killer move like this placed a huge pressure on her. But it was done now. Under the supervision of Heavenly Court, Shadow Sect, and Longevity Heaven, more than 10 rank 8 GU immortals watched as Feng Jinhuang kept all of the dream realms away. Fang Yuan was nowhere in sight. Fang Yuan was not hiding here after all. The GU immortals were disappointed but also sighed in relief secretly. Qin Dingling immediately asked as she moved her immortal GU house closer to the Wisdom Path formation, "Fairy Ziwei, I've given you so much time. Right now, tell me, where is Fang Yuan's main body?" Calamity Luck Altar quickly moved ahead as it blocked Qin Dingling. Bing Saichuan's voice resounded from within, "Slow down, immortal concubine from Heavenly Court." He called Qin Dingling an immortal concubine, he was referring to her past as Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's woman. But soon, Bing Saichuan changed the subject to Fairy Ziwei, "But I hold the same suspicions as immortal concubine Qin. Fairy Ziwei, I hope you can give us a satisfactory answer." Bing Saichuan could not wait either. Because after such a long time, Fairy Ziwei still had not given them an answer, it was not like what she said to them earlier. Fairy Ziwei stopped using the Wisdom Path formation as she collected the GU worms. She made up an excuse on the spot. "The situation is different from last time, Fang Yuan is prepared against us. However, I found his location after all." "Where?" Qin Dingling asked immediately. Fairy Ziwei had already kept away her core immortal GU, she answered, "Fang Yuan is in Dragon Palace." She spoke the truth. Trying to keep Fang Yuan's location a secret now was pointless. Demon Immortal Qiju had his own plan, he was already heading towards Spectral Soul's location, Myriad Year Flying Warship followed closely behind it. From one glance, it was obvious where Fang Yuan's main body was. "We will pursue them," Qin Dingling ordered. Heavenly Court's immortal GU houses started to fly together as they guarded each other. Shadow Sect and Longevity Heaven also followed suit. But the 3 parties were quite spaced apart, the atmosphere was a little tense. Fairy Ziwei's side was quite helpless here, she wanted to stop Heavenly Court here but the alliance with Longevity Heaven was not reliable, they were only allied in name. As for Heavenly Court, Qin Dingling could not confirm the truth behind Fairy Ziwei's words, but since Fang Yuan was not inside the Dream Realms, he had to be in Dragon Palace or Myriad Year Flying Warship. Looking at Spectral Soul's actions, it was more likely that Fang Yuan was inside Dragon Palace. Before they found Fang Yuan's main body, Qin Dingling did not want to target Fairy Ziwei. It was too much of a waste of time now, and in this period, if either Spectral Soul or Fang Yuan claims victory while Heavenly Court was not around, it would be a huge loss. For Longevity Heaven, Bing Saichuan also wanted to see how things progressed. He did not want to act rashly, because their strength was not enough to suppress everyone, he needed to use his timing well and target Fang Yuan. If he managed to kill Fang Yuan, the gains would be immense. All 3 groups targeted Fang Yuan. It was really a rare chance to kill Fang Yuan, the opportunity would not present itself twice. Boom! With a loud sound, Dragon Palace crashed into a mountain like a shooting star. But Dragon Palace did not stop there, it went deep into the mountain's interior as a result of the huge force that sent it flying. Qi-Si Ancestor quickly used Qi Wall to obstruct Spectral Soul from chasing after it. But Spectral Soul smiled coldly, he moved around Qing Chou. Instantly, Qing Chou's eyes turned red as it attacked furiously. Qi-Si Ancestor's attacks were stopped by Qing Chou, using this chance, Spectral Soul flew downwards. At the moment of crisis, a heavily damaged Dragon Palace flew out of the smoke, dodging Spectral Soul's assault. Not long ago, Qing Chou joined in the battle against Spectral Soul, but it was made use of instead. Fang Yuan fell into danger again. Dragon Palace suffered a heavy blow, it was about to break, it could only escape and stall for some time. The outside battle was tense, but inside Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture, a change had occurred even though the myriad tribulation was still rampaging. Fang Yuan sacrificed his soul beast group resolutely, not only did they bear the brunt of the tribulation, Heaven's Will's attention was also drawn away. The pressure on Fang Yuan lifted by a bit, there was finally a chance for him to activate the human path formation again. The human path formation erupted with great might as a grand white light pillar shot into the sky, into the depths of the lightning clouds. At once, the myriad tribulations lightning clouds froze. Using this chance, Combat Beast King attacked, scattering countless GU worms in the sky. Fang Yuan's divine sense enveloped them as he set up a formation rapidly. In order to make this counterattack, he had made ample preparations. With his deep formation path attainment, he quickly created a formation in the sky. Heavens will reacted after that, sending lightning bolts to attack together. Combat Beast King roared as he intercepted the lightning bolts without dodging. After over 10 breaths of time, his star armor shattered, he fell to the ground while bathed in blood. With a loud sound, he created a pit on the ground as he fell unconscious, either dead or alive. Lightning bolts shot towards the formation again. At the critical moment, the formation's setup finally succeeded as it turned into a huge basin. The basin shot out profound light that had a mysterious attractive force, it absorbed all of the lightning bolts that shot out. The myriad tribulation was very fierce, but the basin successfully absorbed and turned it into a pool of lightning plasma. The lightning bolts continued to attack while the lightning pool grew in volume. The lightning pool was not special, it was a common resource point for lightning path cultivators. Almost all lightning path GU immortals would create one in their immortal aperture. It was like how light path GU immortals would create a 5-light mountain. But this lightning pool's appearance was a huge help to Fang Yuan, it bore the brunt of this myriad destruction lightning forest tribulation. It was even more effective than the old Combat Beast King. This was because this lightning pool's core was not ordinary, it was a rank 8 immortal GU that Fang Yuan had, lightning GU. But good times did not last, Heavens will control the myriad tribulation to target the newly formed lightning pool. As the water level of this pool rose gradually, it was about to overflow. Immortal killer move. Unrestrained heavenly mark. Fang Yuan directly used this killer move on the deep blue plasma in the lightning pool. The plasma seemed to be made of lightning path Dao marks, but it was actually formed from a small portion of those 3000 heaven path Dao marks. These Dao marks were restrained by the lightning pool, they were sitting ducks. Due to Fang Yuan's killer move, they were quickly refined, the efficiency was much higher than before. 1, 2, 5, 10 Dao marks. The water level of the lightning pool stabilized before falling rapidly. The lightning in the sky suddenly ceased. Heaven's will was not stupid, it knew that continuing with this would lead to failure, Fang Yuan would gain much more instead. It started to transform the myriad tribulation. Heaven path was inclusive of everything, it contained lightning path, it could turn into countless lightning bolts. It also contained other paths, it naturally had all sorts of forms to take. Since Fang Yuan made a countermeasure, Heaven's will immediately stopped and changed its method to cause destruction to sovereign immortal aperture. For ordinary myriad tribulations, the content would be fixed once it appeared. But Fang Yuan's myriad tribulation was special, it was made of over 3000 heaven path Dao marks, Heaven's will controlled it personally, it could change forms at will. This undoubtedly raised the difficulty of Fang Yuan's tribulation by many times. This is too much, as the old Combat Beast King woke up gradually, he had already separated from the star sea snail. Deep within the pit, his old body was buried in the fragments of the star sea snail. He looked at the changing myriad tribulation as this old rank 8 GU immortal showed a deep expression of despair. At the same time, in the external battlefield, Spectral Soul, I will lend you a hand. Demon Immortal Chi Ju had finally arrived. Spectral Soul gained reinforcements, but he had an unhappy expression, he only snorted in reply. He knew about Demon Immortal Chi Ju's true intentions, but now was not the time for internal conflict. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Less than report chapter greater than so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2046 Falling for a Trap. 2046 Falling for a Trap. Demon Immortal Chi Ju arrived and immediately attacked Chi Si Ancestor. The secluded domain of heaven and earth above his head, Chi Land, was too powerful against Chi Path. Chi Si Ancestor was Dragon Palace's greatest help. Now that he was restrained, Dragon Palace's situation became more dangerous. But soon, Myriad Year Flying Warship arrived too and started to join the fight. Even though Fang Yuan faced much difficulty, he managed to drag this fight on. Spectral Soul yelled, his body moved like a specter, his palm landed on Dragon Palace again. Countless soul beast silhouettes appeared on the surface of Dragon Palace like a series of still images. A portion of Dragon Palace shattered, it was damaged both internally and externally. Dragon Palace unleashed dreamy light smoke, Spectral Soul quickly retreated. At the next moment, Demon Immortal Chi-Ju pointed at Dragon Palace suddenly. Chi currents gathered, they exploded instantly. The exterior of Dragon Palace had already been blown to bits, only the main hall was left. Now that it suffered this powerful attack from Demon Immortal Chi-Ju, a huge hole appeared on the roof of this main hall, it could be seen from the outside. Spectral Soul saw this and smiled coldly, not holding back his praise. Chi-Ju, well done. At this stage, everyone knew that Dragon Palace was in grave danger. If they worked harder, they would be able to shatter it entirely. Fang Yuan and Chi-Si Ancestor could cooperate, Demon Immortal Chi-Ju and Spectral Soul could do the same as well. After Demon Immortal Chi-Ju joined the fight, he suppressed Chi-Si Ancestor and cooperated with Spectral Soul. Even though they did not have close coordination, these two had abundant battle experience, they could find ways to work together. And this cooperation pushed Dragon Palace beyond the brink of destruction. When Fairy Ziwei, Qin Dingling, and Bing Sai Chuan arrived, they saw that Dragon Palace shattered into countless fragments as they scattered everywhere. Fang Yuan and Wu Shuai, who were inside Dragon Palace, were exposed, but they quickly went inside Myriad Year Flying Warship, which came to pick them up. Myriad Year Flying Warship was significantly faster than Dragon Palace, it immediately moved away and escaped. The three groups of immortals were stunned before feeling great joy. Quick, Fang Yuan is done for. Dragon Palace was actually destroyed. Even though Myriad Year Flying Warship is fast, in terms of defense, it is inferior to Dragon Palace. We must kill Fang Yuan, we must restore Heavenly Court's reputation. Fang Yuan destroyed our Imperial Court-blessed land, there is deep hatred between him and Longevity Heaven. We will kill him and take all of his true inheritances and GU worms. We will pull out his soul and torture him for all eternity. Fang Yuan, it is finally time for Shadow Sect to take care of you. We will kill Fang Yuan first before we compete among ourselves. We must not let him have any chance of getting away during our conflict. The immortals rushed up, they pursued Fang Yuan with great enthusiasm. This was the greatest predicament that Fang Yuan had ever been in since his rebirth. He was currently chased by the top 3 super forces in the world, most of the world's strongest experts had gathered behind him. Qin Dingling, Fairy Ziwei, and Bing Sai Chuan were GU immortals that left a name for themselves in history, there was even a fearsome being like Spectral Soul. Fang Yuan, you cannot escape. Spectral Soul smiled coldly to himself, when he saw that everyone's target was Fang Yuan, he did not chase them away, he allowed everyone to pursue him. Stay attentive, defend against Spectral Soul and Longevity Heaven. Qin Dingling instructed. This was truly an amazing sight. Heavenly Court, Longevity Heaven, and Shadow Sect joined forces to pursue Fang Yuan, but because of their mutual wariness, they did not go all out. Fang Yuan did not create a situation where the three sides clashed because they all were not simple characters. At the same time, Fang Yuan's grudges with them were too deep, the wealth that he held was also too alluring. Even if they held back, they were still sufficiently strong, their killer moves were all strange and unpredictable. Not long afterwards, Myriad Year Flying Warship became covered in damages, many GU worm corpses fell off it while it flew and escaped. At this rate, there is no way out. Wu Shuai shouted. Main body, our road to the north has been blocked, we can only go southwest now, this is hopeless. We cannot last much longer, Myriad Year Flying Warship is much frailer than Dragon Palace. Fang Yuan's main body was sitting down and dealing with the Myriad Tribulation, he instructed, go underground, see if there's any hope underground. Myriad Year Flying Warship was maneuvering in the sky, dodging Spectral Soul's Black Soul Ball, but a large number of killer moves still landed on it. The white ship defended against the barrage of killer moves, soon, a portion of the ship turned dim as the white color turned to gray, it floated in the sky. Next, it vanished into thin air after intense winds swept it away. Myriad Year Flying Warship was like an injured flying fish, it dived downwards, almost crashing to the ground. Follow it, this ship will break with 3 more rounds of attacks. Fang Yuan must die, if we cannot obtain it, we will destroy the Sovereign Immortal Aperture along with him, we cannot let others benefit from this. The 3 forces made similar decisions as they ordered. Boom, Myriad Year Flying Warship dived down underground like a white meteor. As dust clouds rumbled, Earth shook but it could not scare off the pursuers, they followed the hole that Myriad Year Flying Warship created as they dived in. Bam bam bam, many killer moves continued to land on Myriad Year Flying Warship. Myriad Year Flying Warship was starting to break apart, it was in a critical state. Ha ha ha, Fang Yuan made a foolish move, this is the underground, Myriad Year Flying Warship can't move easily while we can hit it with great precision. He can neither go up or down now. Fang Yuan, you demon, you slaughtered innocents and harmed the world, today you will face retribution, this is all just deserts. Offending us will lead to your pitiful end. The immortals roared in anger. Seeing that Fang Yuan was escaping in distress, all of the immortals' morale surged to a peak level. They just needed to put in a bit more effort to see Fang Yuan die right in front of them. Within myriad-year flying warship, Wu Shuai was covered in blood. With such intense attacks, myriad-year flying warship could not be repaired in time. Rumble. After the immortals made their preparation, they started to attack again with a new wave of moves. Countless killer moves were unleashed with some distance between them, trying to avoid nullifying each other. The terrifying wave of attacks swept towards myriad-year flying warship layer by layer. Die. Bam. At the moment of life and death, myriad-year flying warship crashed into the rock in front and barged into a huge underground space. Myriad-year flying warship had room to maneuver, it dodged most of the killer moves and escaped destruction. It was like a drowning person suddenly breathing in some air. What happened? We entered Earth Abyss. Is this Fang Yuan's intention? Chase him, we cannot let him escape. The immortals were stunned before charging through the rocks, arriving in the underground space. It turned out that while Spectral Soul chased Fang Yuan, they went towards the southeast from Sorrowful Wind Mountain Range. Demon Immortal Qi Ju came from the east, he cooperated with Spectral Soul to force Fang Yuan to go southwest. Finally, because Fairy Zi Wei and the rest came from the south, Fang Yuan had to go west in the end. After traveling west for some time, they arrived in Ancient Soul Sect's territory. Ancient Soul Sect was one of the 10 great ancient sects, it had a long history. One of Ancient Soul Sect's territories was a huge underground abyss. The underground abyss was at least hundreds of thousands of square kilometers in size. The space was extremely large and the underground world was deep and secluded. There were all sorts of caves and tunnels, some were like labyrinths, some had giant underground lakes while some had flat ground. Countless lifeforms lived here. In Fang Yuan's previous life, endless beast tides emerged from Earth Abyss, attacking the surface and bringing disaster to Central Continent. Central Continent's 10 great ancient sects spent several years before they were finally able to eradicate the beast tide from the surface. Afterwards, both righteous and demonic path GU masters and GU immortals moved together to explore Earth Abyss. In the end, they found that this Earth Abyss was unfathomably deep, it had layers after layers. By the time Fang Yuan used Spring Autumn Cicada, they had already discovered 107 underground layers. It was impossible to estimate how many layers were still left. The environment here is complex, there are many lifeforms, the lower we go, the more immemorial desolate beasts there are, this is the best place to escape to. Wu Shuai, who was within myriad-year flying warship, realized at once. Using Earth Abyss, myriad-year flying warship's situation started to improve. But Spectral Soul and the rest also understood Fang Yuan's scheme. Many GU immortals stopped attacking with their full strength, they were wary against each other, but after getting so far, nobody wanted to give up. Fang Yuan's circumstances were dangerous, even though myriad-year flying warship was not taking as much damage as before, it was still slipping towards the abyss of destruction. Fang Yuan and Wu Shuai cooperated, they planned to the best of their ability, using the terrain, but still could not shrug off these pursuers. The only difference was that these pursuers were now grouped into different categories. The first and closest person to myriad-year flying warship was Spectral Soul. Followed by Qi Si Ancestor, Demon Immortal Qi Ju, and Qing Chou. The final group was Heavenly Court, Longevity Heaven, Shadow Sect's Fairy Zi Wei, and the rest. Boom! Myriad-year flying warship, which was about to be destroyed, charged through the rocks again as it went to a lower layer. Countless bats flew and escaped in panic. In this layer, there were countless bats living around, it was like a huge black tide that had no end in sight. Ordinary bats were turned into pulp by myriad-year flying warship, while alerted immemorial black bats attacked while moving against the tide. In this layer, black bats were the absolute rulers, because myriad-year flying warship disturbed them, they were going to punish this daring invader. Oh, Spectral Soul followed closely behind. He saw the endless black bats, he became joyful and surprised. Fang Yuan, even heaven is not helping you, it seems that this layer will be the place you die. Spectral Soul suddenly howled. As the howling sound spread out, innumerable black bats died, even ancient black bats were not spared. Only immemorial black bats survived, they tried to move with difficulty in the air. Once Spectral Soul's howling ended, countless bat souls appeared from these bat corpses. These souls quickly fused with his voice as black smoke enveloped myriad-year flying warship from all directions. Myriad-year flying warship quickly disintegrated from the invasion of the black smoke, it could not hold on anymore. Retrieve the core Immortal GU, we will abandon ship. Fang Yuan's main body ordered. Like how they sacrificed Dragon Palace earlier, they took back the core Immortal GU with all their effort at the end. Dragon Palace's core Immortal GU Dream Token was already successfully retrieved. But this was a dangerous move. When Immortal GU houses face destruction, the GU Immortal retrieving the core Immortal GU could only do their best and leave the rest to chance. There could even be times when they were too hasty to take out the core Immortal GU, causing it to be severely damaged instead, eventually resulting in the Immortal GU's destruction. At the next moment, myriad-year flying warship broke apart entirely. Feng Yuan and Wu Shuai got exposed to the black smoke. He's here, I will block him. Wu Shuai stood before Feng Yuan. I said this before, your struggles are futile. Spectral Soul approached as he spoke in an icy tone. Qi Ancestor and the rest had just arrived with the rest. He saw the overwhelming black smoke that shattered the silver-white light. Spectral Soul was attacking Feng Yuan's main body. No, Qi Ancestor could not help them from this distance, he could only shout out in his mind. At the moment before death, Feng Yuan suddenly smiled. You fell for my trap, Spectral Soul. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Less than report chapter greater than so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2047 Carelessness. 2047 Carelessness. When Fairy Ziwei and the rest arrived, they could only see an endless stream of black bats. In this layer of the underground abyss, black bats were the sole rulers of all the living beings. Right now, they felt provoked, they went into madness and rage. Immemorial black bats commanded ancient black bats, while ancient black bats commanded desolate beast black bats. These desolate beast black bats controlled the countless ordinary bats. When Shadow Sect, Longevity Heaven, and Heavenly Court arrived, the furious black bats poured their anger that had nowhere to be vented at these three parties. Even though the three parties contained the strongest GU Immortals in the current world, they could not help but freeze in their steps. Why are there so many black bats? We need to kill the immemorial black bats to get rid of these beasts. There are too many of them, these black bats are simply endless, we cannot waste time here, our primary goal is still Feng Yuan. The three groups charged into the black bat groups, they tried to move in this dangerous environment. All of the GU Immortals were top-tier rank 8 GU Immortals in the current world, even though there were countless bats, they were still unable to match the Immortals in actual combat. But by the time the Immortals got out of the bat groups, they could not see myriad-year flying warship, Spectral Soul, Qing Chou, or others. What happened? Where are they? There are no clues left behind at all. This is impossible, we chased them according to the traces left behind from their fight. The Immortals were shocked and uncertain. Calamity Luck Altar burst out with golden radiance, melting the surrounding bats. A huge space was created immediately. From within Calamity Luck Altar, Bing Sai Chuan's impatient voice resounded. Fairy Ziwei, tell me, where is Feng Yuan? Old man Zheng Yuan snorted coldly. Why would we know? Qin Dingling sneered. Shadow Sect, do you really think we are ignorant of your tricks? You waited and did not chase them, wasn't it because you were trying to disrupt us? Qin Dingling spoke in a sharp tone. It seemed like she was sowing discord, but it sounded like the truth. Shadow Sect got into a predicament immediately. Feng Yuan, Spectral Soul, Qing Chou, Qi Si, and Qi Ju all vanished. It was just too strange. The three forces chasing them became extremely anxious. Fairy Ziwei was also frowning deeply as she said, we have lost contact with our master. I believe that other forces have interfered. The important thing is to find them now. If we fight among ourselves, this external force will succeed in their goal. Bing Sai Chuan spoke in an icy tone, not concealing his killing intent. Then show me the capabilities of a wisdom path great expert. HMPH, just you watch. Fairy Ziwei said as she started to activate her killer move, making deductions rapidly. Qin Dingling did not speak, but her killing intent was not concealed either. If she found any tricks from Shadow Sect, Heavenly Court would definitely attack them immediately. Creak creak. The surrounding black bats approached again. The GU Immortals hesitated for a moment before quickly attacking and resisting the black bats for Fairy Ziwei. Fairy Ziwei's body was shining in a purple-gold light, aurora spread out constantly. Fairy Ziwei's expression turned increasingly pale, immortal essence was expended rapidly until her body started shivering. Afterwards, she opened her eyes, purple light filling her pupils. As the purple-gold light faded away, Fairy Ziwei's pupils returned to normal. Her aura was significantly weaker now, it was clear that she had done her best in the deduction. Under everyone's supervision, she let out a breath of air. I deduced it, a battlefield killer move enveloped all of them, causing us to not sense them anywhere. Battlefield killer move, who is ambushing them here? HMPH, do you have evidence? Fairy Ziwei sneered. As a wisdom path great expert, she would naturally not end up empty-handed. She immediately split the bat groups apart as she directed the immortals to a trace of earth path aura that was about to dissipate. After sensing the aura, the immortals started to analyze it. It is an earth path killer move indeed. It really seems like a battlefield killer move. Watch me, I will find it. A certain GU Immortal of Heavenly Court made his move. He was very confident at the start, but soon, he returned without any progress. Soon, this trace of earth path aura dissipated, only the bat groups remained to fight against the 3 groups of immortals. The immortals' expressions were very ugly. Some were still suspicious about Shadow Sect, some were thinking about ways to find the enclosed immortal battlefield, some were forced to fight against the Black Bats. Longevity Heaven's Bing Sai Chuan still held some suspicions. Fairy Ziwei had the heaviest mood. She dealt with the Black Bats as she asked Heavenly Court, "You should be most familiar with this earth path aura." Heavenly Court, what do you think? Qin Dingling was silent for a moment before she said, "Indeed, this resembles Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's method. We have the same idea now, to find this immortal battlefield and destroy it." So it is Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's force. No wonder, Bing Sai Chuan realized at once. In history, among the 10 Venerables, Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable was the most skilled at using immortal battlefield killer moves. His capability in this aspect was publicly known as the #1 among Venerables. Right now, the reincarnation battlefield that he created was still existing in Central Continent, owned by the 10 great ancient sects. Why did Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's force take action? None of the immortals here were surprised. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable and Spectral Soul Demon Venerable were on opposite sides, everyone knew that. Back then, Spectral Soul slaughtered everyone in his way, causing great terror and chaos. All of the people in the 5 regions lived in fear. The righteous path was weak while the demonic path surged. Ever since Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable started cultivation, he worked hard to turn this trend around. He restored peace to the world and suppressed the demonic path. He brought fortune to the world. Because of the ideologies of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable and Spectral Soul Demon Venerable, they had always conflicted. To find Paradise Earth's battlefield and destroy it, the difficulty is just. Bing Sai Chuan shook his head. Even an expert like him hesitated and felt troubled. Why would Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's force take action? And why would they wait here in ambush? A GU Immortal asked. This question made Fairy Ziwei's mood even heavier. A dark cloud loomed over her, shrouding her face. It must be Fang Yuan. Even though there was no evidence, Fairy Ziwei still said that with great confidence. She had fought against Fang Yuan too many times. She was basically the loser each time. This feeling of defeat was too common to Fairy Ziwei. She had experienced it countless times. Each time she thought that victory was close, Fang Yuan would turn the situation around. This current situation was also the same. Fairy Ziwei felt very familiar with it. Qin Dingling agreed with Fairy Ziwei's deduction. We chased after Fang Yuan, but from another perspective, he was leading us here. While chasing and escaping, this route was planned by Fang Yuan. If he cooperated with Paradise Earth's force and created this situation, it is indeed the easiest way. But why would Paradise Earth's force cooperate with a demon like Fang Yuan? We have not seen it ourselves. Is this really Paradise Earth's force? Or rather, which force under Paradise Earth is it? Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable was the closest Venerable to the current era. He naturally left behind the highest number of forces. Different from other Venerables, Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable had never intentionally focused on developing any single force. Heavenly Court had Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable, Star Constellation Immortal Venerable, and Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable. It was developed by the 3 of them through painstaking effort. Longevity Heaven was Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's Grotto Heaven. It was the foundation that he had left behind. Shadow Sect was operated by Spectral Souls Split Souls for many years. It used Zombie Alliance as the front to slowly accumulate influence and strength. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable was different. He helped and assisted many different forces. For example, the Merman Imperial Court in Eastern Sea. It was because he did not want to see the merfolk get bullied. There was also Southern Borders Mushroom Paradise. It was made because he did not want to see the Mushroommen get slaughtered mercilessly. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable had the ability to turn an immortal aperture into a paradise. He helped many GU immortals in his life. He altered many grotto heavens and blessed lands. He even helped to enlighten many legendary immemorial beasts, for example, the blue dragon whale. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable did not just help humans, he also helped variant humans, or even other living beings that were in need. Thus, he was the most loved Venerable and also the most merciful. Even though Heavenly Court's Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable also helped out countless living beings, he was mostly focused on helping nature and repairing habitats. The other Venerables all had offensive methods, but only Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable did not. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable had also left behind his true inheritances in various places. Southern Borders Mushroom in Paradise was one of them, thus, their leader, Southern Borders GU Immortal Lu Wei-yin, was also called Paradise Earth's inheritor. Nobody could refute it. Before the Fate War, Fairy Zi-Wei even went to the Mushroom in Paradise and borrowed benevolence GU. All the Immortals could not think of an answer now. Because of Paradise Earth's actions, many forces and GU Immortals were related to him in some way. There was no way of knowing which force it was exactly. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable focused on removing spectral soul's influence his entire life. He was a merciful and benevolent person who brought peace. Would his force cooperate with a demon like Fang Yuan? It is not impossible. Didn't Heavenly Court cooperate with me temporarily as well? Fairy Zi-Wei's heart was filled with a solemn emotion. The more she thought, the worse she found the situation. The reason why Heavenly Court worked with Shadow Sect was so that Fang Yuan and Spectral Soul would fight each other. It would be great if these two demons were killed at the same time. If Paradise Earth's force and Fang Yuan cooperated while having such thoughts, why would it be impossible? With Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's status and nature, he would not do something like laying an ambush. But the Immortal Venerable had died already. Nobody knew the temperament of the force that he left behind, or even his inheritor. This situation must have surpassed Master's expectations. But there can be a worse situation, that is, Fang Yuan planned all of this. He gave up on Dragon Palace and myriad-year flying warship just so he could lure Master into this battlefield. No matter what the truth is, I need to do my best to save Master. Fairy Zi-Wei sensed something amiss. She was very anxious. As a wisdom path great expert, any changes in her emotions needed to be assigned great importance. Spectral Soul had an advantage against Fang Yuan of course, but against another Venerable's force, it would not be so certain. And most importantly, this was the Venerable who purposely went against Spectral Soul in history, Paradise Earth. At the same time, in the Earth Path battlefield, Spectral Soul looked at the surrounding sand, his expression turned cold as ice. Good, very good. So you are Lu Wei-yin, the current generation inheritor of Paradise Earth. A GU Immortal stepped on a yellow cloud. He cupped his fists at Spectral Soul. Lord Demon Venerable is very perceptive. I have been waiting here for a long time. At the side, Fang Yuan urged. Lu Wei-yin, I lured him here already. Don't expect me to take action now. Show me your sincerity, Uk. Fang Yuan suddenly stopped speaking as he retreated rapidly. It was too late. In an instant, Spectral Soul suddenly arrived in front of him using an unknown method. Fang Yuan, you are too careless. It is a pity you got this far, but go and die now. Spectral Soul stretched out his hand as he grabbed Fang Yuan's neck. Fang Yuan stared with eyes wide open. He could not break free. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Less than report chapter greater than so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2048 Illusory Sand Shifting Shadow. 2048 Illusory Sand Shifting Shadow. Spectral Soul was indeed the demon Venerable who killed his way to the top. Any other person would be wary at the first moment and defend against an assault. But he had abundant battle experience. After falling into a trap, he made perfect use of an opportunity to attack instantly. Undoubtedly, he chose a great timing. Fang Yuan was pursued by 3 parties. The pressure was huge. After getting into this safe area, it was not strange that he would relax his mind. Spectral Soul distracted him with words while preparing his killer move. This move had no aura or commotion. Only Wu Yong in the current 5 regions could match him in this aspect. Once used, Spectral Soul turned the situation around. He grabbed Fang Yuan's neck tightly. Spectral Soul's move was also extraordinary. It was called Soul Shattering Hand. This move could only be used at an extremely close range. It was a close combat method. In GU Immortal battles, close combat was rare. Most engaged in long-distance combat. Only few paths like Transformation Path or Strength Path would focus on hand-to-hand combat. Soul Shattering Hand had an extremely close range. It was very limited in usage, but Spectral Soul still held onto it without discarding it. The reason was because this move had incredible power. Once it struck the enemy, it could easily decide the victor of the battle. At the next moment, Soul Shattering Hand activated. A smile appeared on Fang Yuan's face again, while Spectral Soul's expression turned grim. The Fang Yuan, in his hand quickly turned into sand and scattered with the wind. It was actually a puppet made of sand. As yellow sand flew in the air, Fang Yuan's voice could be heard as he praised, "Spectacular indeed. Lu Weiyin, your effort and time spent to specially create this illusory sand-shifting shadow battlefield was not in vain." Fang Yuan did not conceal his voice. Spectral Soul snorted coldly as he looked for traces, flying past the sand and arriving in front of Fang Yuan. Spectral Soul attacked again while Fang Yuan did not dodge. At the next moment, Fang Yuan scattered into countless sand specks again. It was a rare sight as Spectral Soul finally frowned this time. Lu Weiyin's voice was transmitted. "Fang Yuan, you are too kind. The truth is, friend, Spectral Soul is too strong. I had to set up my strongest battlefield killer move. I won't hide it, even though this battlefield originated from Paradise Earth's true inheritance, it has been modified by many generations, it has many changes done to it. The sand puppet double earlier can deceive the enemy's senses and lure away firepower. Lu Weiyin, do you want to lose your southern border mushroom in paradise? To think my shadow sect let you off purposely back then." Spectral Soul called out coldly. He stared at Lu Weiyin's sand puppet fixedly. He knew that Lu Weiyin purposely spoke to target his morale, to exert mental pressure on him. In a battle between experts, every word was a contest. Especially against information path GU immortals, every word they said was sharp like a blade or spear, the enemies could not be lax against them. Fang Yuan ignored Spectral Soul and continued to speak with Lu Weiyin. "Even though I used up 2 immortal GU houses to lower this old monster's wariness, this battlefield killer move has such power, it was not a waste. Now, it will depend on you." Lu Weiyin knew about Fang Yuan's tribulation. In fact, the heavenly mark killer move that Fang Yuan had was also given to him by Lu Weiyin. As a matter of fact, Fang Yuan did not trust Lu Weiyin. His original destination was not Earth Abyss but Crazed Demon Cave instead. Fang Yuan did not know a lot about Lu Weiyin's background, there was nothing much about him in the 500 years of memories either. Right now, not only was Spectral Soul stuck in the illusory sand-shifting shadow battlefield, Fang Yuan was the same. Fang Yuan's 2 immortal GU houses, Dragon Palace and Myriad-Year Flying Warship, were also destroyed. He lost many GU worms, even the few core immortal GU that he retrieved were all injured. Spectral Soul snickered. "Fang Yuan, hide well. Maybe Lu Weiyin will let you out. He, but it is not a problem, Paradise Earth died long ago, his Earth Path battlefield cannot trap me for long. Once I decipher this place, it will be your time to die." Lu Weiyin did not answer, he activated the battlefield. From the yellow sand flying around Spectral Soul, a figure flew out, it was Fang Yuan's Qi-Si clone. Qi-Si ancestor saw Spectral Soul and got stunned, it was as if he had just charged through the sandstorm and did not expect to see Spectral Soul here. But at the next moment, Qi-Si ancestor made his move, unleashing Qi Path methods on Spectral Soul. Spectral Soul snorted coldly, he blocked the attacks and wanted to retaliate but saw that Qi-Si ancestor got enveloped by the sandstorm, vanishing into thin air. Spectral Soul immediately chased, he went into the yellow sand, but he could not see any sign of Qi-Si ancestor. Another figure approached, it was Demon Immortal Qi-Ju. Spectral Soul was about to speak when he saw that Demon Immortal Qi-Ju's expression was strange, he became wary. As expected, Demon Immortal Qi-Ju attacked him at the next moment. Spectral Soul resisted as he called out, "Qi-Ju, what are you doing?" Demon Immortal Qi-Ju snickered. "Qi-Si ancestor, since you provoked me, I will show you the true power of Qi Path." After hearing this, Spectral Soul became stunned, he thought, "Don't tell me this Earth Path battlefield has another ability to confuse enemies." Since Spectral Soul could perceive the sand puppet as Fang Yuan without realizing so, it was not strange that Demon Immortal Qi-Ju would get deceived and mistake him for Qi-Si ancestor. Spectral Soul and Demon Immortal Qi-Ju fought for over 10 rounds, Demon Immortal Qi-Ju suffered injuries as he got devoured by the sandstorm again. Next was Qing-Cho. "Spectral Soul, I want you dead. I want you dead." Qing-Cho was still insane, the rank 9 aura on its body was extremely dense, Spectral Soul's heart jumped upon sensing it. Like this, at times he fought Qi-Si ancestor, at times he fought Demon Immortal Qi-Ju, sometimes, he even faced the legendary immemorial desolate beast Qing-Cho. They started to appear and disappear in the sandstorm, engaging with Spectral Soul while taking turns. Spectral Soul had outstanding battle strength, far beyond them individually, but whenever he gained some advantage, Lu Weiyin, who controlled the battlefield, would swap opponents and leave Spectral Soul helpless. Even after several rounds of attacks, Spectral Soul could not break free from the yellow sand, he could only fight them. Far away in the battlefield, Fang Yuan was focusing on his tribulation. Wu Shuai guarded him with a vigilant expression. All around him, countless army ants gathered into a hollow ball, shielding him and Fang Yuan from the outside. Within the sovereign immortal aperture, the myriad tribulation had already turned into a torrential flood. Water levels rose, engulfing 10,000 li of land. Fang Yuan's 5 regions were all affected, a large number of small-sized resource points were completely destroyed, mini Central Continent's Spirit Spring Forest, mini Northern Plains Bone Burial Field, Contact Heart River Bank, mini Western Desert's Eerie Fire Dragon Python, Sand Gull Soil Beach, mini Southern Borders Become Dragon Mound, Heaven Sealing Mountain, and mini Eastern Seas Jade Root Lake were all heavily damaged. As for the few resource points that Fang Yuan defended heavily, they also met with a huge impact. Fang Yuan's losses were severe. There was no helping it, he had done his best. The good thing was that his hard work and sacrifices were not in vain, he had already refined more than 20 Heaven Path Dao marks. Against the initial myriad tribulation, myriad destruction lightning forest, Fang Yuan came up with a countermeasure after great effort. Due to Heaven's will's manipulation, the Heaven Path Dao marks immediately changed the tribulation, causing Fang Yuan's previous method to become ineffective. If this happened to most GU immortals in the current world, it would lead to despair. But for Fang Yuan, each time the myriad tribulation transformed, it was a great opportunity for him. Because he had the killer move Exposing Heavenly Secret. Exposing Heavenly Secret allowed Fang Yuan to accurately predict what the next tribulation was. Even though he could not prepare for it amply, it was still an opportunity he could use. After all, the greatest problem and danger of tribulations was that they could not be predicted. Once they were known beforehand, their threat level would fall by many times. Of course, even if myriad tribulations could be predicted, they were still myriad tribulations. Thus, the sovereign immortal aperture flooded and countless resources were destroyed. Fang Yuan's losses were huge, but it was not a bad thing entirely. The myriad tribulation's power continued to fall, because the essence of the heavenly Tao was to maintain balance. The more losses Fang Yuan suffered, the weaker the tribulation would be. Even if Heaven's will was here, it could not defy the natural operations of the heavenly Tao. More and more Heaven Path Tao marks were refined by Fang Yuan, his speed of refinement was getting faster and faster. The first step was the hardest. Fang Yuan sacrificed all of his soul beasts to create an opportunity in this biggest predicament of his life. He succeeded. Despite the myriad tribulation's rampage, Fang Yuan already managed to regain his footing. He was slowly turning the situation around. Spectral Soul fell into a tough battle. Lu Weiyin controlled the illusory sand-shifting shadow battlefield, causing him to be in an extremely passive spot. Qi Si Ancestor, Demon Immortal Qi Ju, Qing Chou, and even Lu Weiyin could attack Spectral Soul at the same time. Qing Chou was overcome by rage. It was once used by Spectral Soul, but in here, Lu Weiyin could relocate it easily. Spectral Soul had no opportunities to do so. As intense winds blew, a sandstorm brewed. Suddenly, all of the sand gathered into rocks. They flew around in their own vortexes. Instantly, countless flying rocks enveloped Spectral Soul. Spectral Soul waved his hand as smoke flew out. Some of the flying rocks melted in the black smoke, but most of them pierced through it and shot towards Spectral Soul. Spectral Soul's figure suddenly vanished. When he reappeared, he was already at the other end of the battlefield. He dodged almost all of the flying rocks, but after these flying rocks flew into the sandstorm, they turned back into sand. After that, the sand turned back into yellowish flying rocks that shot towards Spectral Soul. This move is called Flying Sand Turning Rocks. Please evaluate it, Lord Spectral Soul. Lu Weiyin's voice resounded from within. Child's play. Spectral Soul howled as his body shook. Black smoke rumbled with him as the center, spreading towards the surroundings with rapid speed. Spin. As Spectral Soul vanished within the black smoke, he shouted again. At the next moment, the black smoke turned into a vortex that started to rotate. Spectral Soul was at the center. He released black smoke while simultaneously absorbing it. As the flying rocks flew into the black smoke, they corroded into sand before the black smoke swept them into Spectral Soul's immortal aperture. Seeing this countermeasure, Lu Weiyin praised. Brilliant, as expected of Lord Spectral Soul. However, I specially chose the location of my battlefield on this earth vein. No matter how many flying rocks you absorb, this battlefield can draw more earth chi from the earth vein as replenishment. Thus, unless you can deplete the entire earth vein, these flying rocks are endless. These words did not affect Spectral Soul. The former demon Venerable sneered with deep killing intent. Lu Weiyin, did you think this move only countered your flying sand-turning rocks? Oh no. Lu Weiyin's expression changed. There was no time to react. At the next moment, all of the flying sand in the sky fell to the ground, a portion of the illusory sand-shifting shadow battlefield was corroded by the black smoke, it returned to being a flat yellowish landscape. Shifting sand illusion was actually broken so quickly. Lu Weiyin's expression was ugly. Spectral Soul hid his true move deeply, he seemed to be dealing with the killer move, flying sand turning rocks, but his real target was shifting sand illusion. Now that this move was broken, there were no longer any sand puppets left. Demon Immortal Qi Ju broke out of the illusion, while Fang Yuan's real location was exposed. Fang Yuan, how long are you going to hide for? Spectral Soul flew towards Fang Yuan without hesitation. Wu Shuai fought to resist him, but the defense of the army ants became torn apart instantly by Spectral Soul. A black soul ball shot out, after a few breaths of time, it reached Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan remained seated on the ground, he opened his eyes as he smiled lightly, I don't need to dodge. Rumble, an immortal GU house suddenly appeared, shielding Wu Shuai and Fang Yuan. The black soul ball landed on the immortal GU house, erupting with immense might. However, this immortal GU house remained still like a mountain, it did not move. You still have an immortal GU house. At this moment, Spectral Soul's pupils shrank, he frowned deeply. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc. please let us know. Less than report chapter greater than so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2049 Spectral Soul, S Anxiety. 2049 Spectral Soul, S Anxiety. An immortal GU house suddenly appeared in the battlefield. It was like a mountain, but it was not tall. There were clear layers on this mountain from the bottom to the top, it was smooth on the surface, so it resembled a tower made of dozens of giant drums. This immortal GU house was yellowish-brown, there was also a misty layer of sand covering its surface, giving it a strong feeling of sturdiness and peace. Rank 8 Immortal GU House, Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress. This Earth Path Immortal GU House was obtained when Fang Yuan explored the Dream Realm. It was different from most Immortal GU houses in essence, because this Immortal GU house did not have any core Immortal GU, its core was made of Immortal Killer moves. Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress had 3 core killer moves, the most important one was Accumulated Soil Mountain. This move was very special, it did not have offense, movement, healing or other aspects. Using this killer move, the GU Immortal could stack Earth Path GU worms to allow them to form an Immortal GU house. This could be done even if the GU Immortal using the killer move had 0 attainment in formation path itself. Gaining this killer move was also the same as gaining the foundation of the Immortal GU House, Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress. Thus, every Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress had a different appearance. In fact, even for the same Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress, because the Earth Path GU worms used were different, they could gain various forms and abilities. Fang Yuan had created this Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress for some time already. He obtained the complete blueprint from the Dream Realm, he also gained a large number of Earth Path Immortal GU from the Blue Dragon Whale. The truth was, he had already obtained this rank 8 Immortal GU house before the Fate War. Right now, Fang Yuan took out this Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress to change the situation. Spectral Soul's assault did not work on Fang Yuan, Lu Weiyin, Qing Chou, and the rest could force him to divert his target to them. I thought Fang Yuan was lying earlier to put up a front, I thought he was forced to abandon Myriad-Year Flying Warship and Dragon Palace. Now it seems, he intentionally lured me into this trap. Spectral Soul's heart sank a little. The truth was, Fang Yuan's act of giving up the 2 Immortal GU houses did lower his wariness. After all, without Myriad-Year Flying Warship or Dragon Palace, Fang Yuan really seemed like he was at his wit's end. To think that he had such a trump card. Lu Weiyin also felt surprised, thinking to himself, Fang Yuan was willing to pay such a huge price to lure Spectral Soul here. Is this a form of trust? Or is he testing our first cooperation? The truth was, Fang Yuan had no other choice. Even though he had been keeping this Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress a secret, it had one huge drawback. Its speed was too slow. If there was a list of fastest to slowest Immortal GU houses, this Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress would definitely rank at the bottom without doubt. Honestly speaking, Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress was the tortoise among Immortal GU houses, its speed was only superior to Immortal formations, it was simply helpless. But such weaknesses came with great advantages, Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress had an incredibly powerful defense instead. If Spectral Soul or Lu Weiyin knew about Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress weakness, they would understand Fang Yuan's plight. If he took out Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress earlier in the battle, he would not be able to get far, he would only be a target board, attacked by everyone. Even though Fang Yuan would have some temporary safety, the other forces could mobilize their people and gather to kill Fang Yuan together. Thus, he could not stay at one spot. This was Central Continent, Heavenly Court's territory. Even though Heavenly Court was weak now, it was still governing the 10 great ancient sects. But here, when Fang Yuan used Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress, the effect was completely different. Spectral Soul had to defend against the attacks of Lu Weiyin, Qi Ancestor, and the rest. He did not forget to attack Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress in the meantime. But Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress remained unmovable. It was a true fortress. Even someone like Spectral Soul started to be emotionally affected. His main target was Fang Yuan from the start, but to get to him, he would have to destroy this immortal GU house. This huge obstacle was causing Spectral Soul to feel anxious internally. If Spectral Soul ignored Fang Yuan and dealt with the enemies in this battlefield, Fang Yuan would gain more time to recuperate. This was something Spectral Soul did not want to see. During the intense battle, Spectral Soul looked towards Qing Chou, thinking of using it to create an opening. But Lu Weiyin sensed it quickly. Once Spectral Soul showed signs of targeting Qing Chou, he would use the battlefield killer move to teleport Qing Chou away. Qing Chou only targeted its greatest enemy, Spectral Soul. It knew that Lu Weiyin was trying to help it instead of Spectral Soul. It would not attack him abruptly. Spectral Soul's plans were thwarted in advance. He transmitted to Demon Immortal Qi Ju, focus on destroying this immortal GU house. I will definitely satisfy you with the reward. Demon Immortal Qi Ju hesitated. Spectral Soul, you have higher battle strength than me. If you can't succeed, how can I? Spectral Soul snorted coldly. Who says I can't do it? It will merely take some effort. We lack cooperation. The best move now is for me to deal with these enemies in the battlefield while you target Fang Yuan. You have the secluded domain of heaven and earth, Shi. As long as you pay some price, how hard can it be to destroy the immortal GU house? Spectral Soul's main target was Fang Yuan, but now, he had to look away from his target. Firstly, this immortal GU house had high defense. Destroying it was too troublesome. Secondly, Spectral Soul and Qi Ju were just working together. Their relationship was quite shallow. Qi Ju was not reliable at all. Asking him to attack was guarding against him. If anything happened, Spectral Soul could still break out of the battlefield. It was a relatively safer option. Spectral Soul had the strongest killing nature throughout history, but he was not a fool who lacked wisdom or logic. He was not overwhelmed by his desire to kill. Demon Immortal Qi Ju also did not want to be trapped in this battlefield. He did not doubt Spectral Soul's decision to destroy the battlefield. He thought about it for a while before laughing. My Shi land can break this Earth Path Immortal GU house, but the price is very steep. After all, I cultivate Qi Path and not Earth Path. After I succeed, it is likely that my Shi land will be destroyed. But this deal is not impossible. It will depend on you, Spectral Soul. What price can you pay me to make such a huge sacrifice? What, you think I can't afford it? Spectral Soul asked. You are a Venerable, you have immense foundation. I am quite looking forward to it. But until now, the true inheritances that you gave me are high in quantity but lack quality. I am quite disappointed. HMPH. You mean to say, only Venerable inheritances are good enough for you? Of course. Demon Immortal Qi Ju spoke openly. Only Venerable true inheritances are of value to me. In fact, I am interested in your true inheritance too. Demon Immortal Qi Ju was an old demon. In this situation, he actually wanted to extort Spectral Soul's soul path true inheritance. This was a really shameless thing to do. Spectral Soul was not willing to take this loss. He replied firmly, Qi Ju, don't forget about our goal. If you do not put in effort now, how can you kill Fang Yuan? We might both get trapped in this battlefield, ending up as their prey. Demon Immortal Qi Ju became silent. The situation was quite tense now. This Earth Path battlefield had unfathomable depths. He had not understood it completely yet. Demon Immortal Qi Ju was merely testing him earlier. Seeing that Spectral Soul was firm in his stance, he decided to work together and get over this hurdle first. Even though Spectral Soul broke one layer of the Earth Path battlefield, the combination of Lu Weiyin, Qing Chou, and Qi Ancestor still placed a huge pressure on him. Even though Demon Immortal Qi Ju countered Qi Ancestor entirely, due to Lu Weiyin's control, Qi Ancestor did not fight against Demon Immortal Qi Ju. Qing Chou was actually quite useful here. This beast fought without regard for its life. It created huge problems for Demon Immortal Qi Ju. Battlefield killer moves were hard to set up, but usually, after they were activated, the GU Immortal would gain a huge advantage in the domain. Enslavement path and formation path could allow one to fight against many enemies. It was because these two paths could allow one to gain huge strength if used well. As for this illusory sand-shifting shadow battlefield, it was created by Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable, modified by generations of inheritors. It was very threatening. Furthermore, this battlefield was created in Earth Abyss, combined with the Earth Vein. It had an unceasing amount of Earth Chi, spectral soul and Chi Ju were troubled. Within the sovereign immortal aperture, the myriad tribulation was still continuing. The myriad tribulation changed again. It was a flood earlier, now it turned into a blazing flame, raising everything to the ground and creating huge heat waves. I have already refined more than 50 heaven path Dao marks. Fang Yuan made some new progress. Each time the myriad tribulation changed, it created danger for him. But danger was accompanied by opportunity. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Less than report chapter greater than so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2050 How do we fight this? 2050 How do we fight this? Along with his gains, Fang Yuan also paid a hefty price. Mini southern border, which was the most prosperous of the 5 mini regions, was half devastated. Immortal Succession Mountain was destroyed, washed away entirely by the flood. This mountain was a mid-sized resource point obtained from Heifan Grotto Heaven. It once had the ability to help mortals ascend to immortal. There was also Heaven Sealing Mountain. This mountain was created by Fang Yuan. It was small and unassuming. Within the mountain itself, Fang Yuan had once set up a formation to seal his strength path immortal zombie body. Other than them, there were also up to 100 mountains and valleys. The greatest losses were Interior Rain Mountain, Copper Seal Mountain, and Bone Bird Peak. Interior Rain Mountain's peak was always shrouded by a layer of dark clouds from where light rain continued to fall. The drizzling rain was not ordinary rainwater, but rank 6 immortal material interior rain. This was a resource point that produced water path immortal materials. Now it was in ruins. Copper Seal Mountain was no longer whole. It used to have a red and squarish shape. It was like a large seal was standing upright in mini southern border. This mountain did not have even a trace of soil. It was completely formed from all kinds of copper. There was mortal level copper like chaotic sky copper, pragna copper, snow flower copper, and so on, and immortal copper like profound gray copper and ascending dragon copper. Copper Seal Mountain was so special, it was heavily targeted by the myriad tribulation myriad destruction lightning forest. Now, half of the mountain was destroyed and charred, giving out dense smoke and sparks. The entire mountain had turned into a molten state. It emitted a terrible smell. This mountain once produced domination copper. That was a rank 7 immortal material. It was a pity that the tribulation struck. It could no longer produce any. As for Bone Bird Peak, it used to have a large number of flower wing white bone birds, filled with vitality. Now, the entire mountain had collapsed too. All of the flower wing white bone birds died from the lightning bolts. Lightning bolts destroyed mountains, floods destroyed forests. Fang Yuan had originally obtained a large amount of musical trees from Heifan Grotto Heaven. He created mini southern borders primitive forest using them. After this myriad tribulation, what forest could survive? Not to mention the beautiful Chi death birds or the fragrant tea streams. Mini southern border was almost completely devastated. Only several areas were heavily protected by Fang Yuan. Among them were the Coiling Thread Caves, Stalactite Caves, and the Dark Inkstone Mines. These resource points were all underground. It was easier to preserve them. Furthermore, the rockmen lived in these places. Firebird Mountain was an exception, because it was quite isolated. It escaped this disaster. This mid-sized resource point had fire path birds of all kinds growing in it. At the top of the volcano were fire phoenixes that were suppressed by the formation. The sunset parasol trees on the mountain absorbed lava as nutrients to grow. Branches extended as leaves grew. They gave out the beautiful light of the setting sun. It was an amazing sight to behold. Other than mini southern border, the other 4 mini regions were also affected to some extent. Mini northern plains shallow rock beach was obtained from annexing Handong blessed land. It was completely washed away by the floods. All of the pinkish red spirit snakes living in it died. Mini western deserts Hound Desert was obtained from Luyong blessed land. There were more than 20 desolate hounds there. They all died without a corpse remaining. Mini Central Continent and Mini Eastern Sea, even the Mini 9 Heavens were implicated by the myriad tribulation. However, Fang Yuan could not care about it at this point. Myriad tribulations had taken so many rank 8 GU immortals' lives. In the long history of the world, countless geniuses died primarily from them. If he was careless, even Fang Yuan could lose his life. Fang Yuan not only had to deal with the myriad tribulation, he also had to face the three forces chasing after him. If losing some resources meant that he could improve the situation, why wouldn't Fang Yuan do it? What was more important, his life or these resources? The answer was obvious. Only by staying alive could he have any hope for the future. In fact, even if all of Fang Yuan's resources were destroyed, even if he lost the sovereign immortal body and his clones, as long as he was alive and got through this predicament, as long as he had one breath remaining, he would accept the result. The most important thing was an unyielding spirit. How could mere success and failure determine his life? The loss of these resource points is actually helpful to me. The heavenly Tao seeks balance. With these resource points gone, the myriad tribulation has weakened proportionately. Thus, my efficiency in refining the heaven path Tao marks will continue to become higher. Fang Yuan's expression suddenly changed. Rumble. With an intense sound, peaceful soil heavy mountain fortress shook harshly, hundreds and thousands of Gu worms shattered and died. It was the move that Demon Immortal Qiju had been preparing for a long time. Demon Immortal Qiju, this old demon who had resisted limitless demon Venerable in history, he had vicious methods capable of weakening and damaging peaceful soil heavy mountain fortress. If he was allowed to continue attacking, he would eventually break through peaceful soil heavy mountain fortress. It was not that Lu Wei-yin or the Qi-Si clone did not try to stop him, but Spectral Soul's continuous attacks hindered them. Spectral Soul's body surged with black smoke. He attacked and defended at times, unleashing several immemorial soul beasts while using peculiar soul path killer moves. He not only protected Qiju, giving him ample time and opportunity to attack, he even probed illusory sand-shifting shadow battlefield even further. He managed to break another layer of this battlefield. Lu Wei-yin, Qing Chou, and the Qi-Si clone are attacking Spectral Soul, but he is still having an easy time. This current Spectral Soul is also just his remnant soul. He is still injured and has not reached the peak state he was in during the time he refined Sovereign Immortal Fetus Gu. Fang Yuan sighed internally. He could genuinely feel the depth of Spectral Soul's strength. I cannot let this go on. Wu Shuai, go and join the battle, deal with Spectral Soul. Fang Yuan instructed. In this current situation, Spectral Soul and the other two forces wanted Fang Yuan dead. On the other hand, Lu Wei-yin carried on Paradise Earth's will. He wanted to exterminate Spectral Soul. Fang Yuan was the focus, but Spectral Soul was also crucial. Fang Yuan did not feel great external pressure now. His wariness stemmed from Spectral Soul. He did not hesitate to use all his strength against him. Wu Shuai joined the fight. At once, army ants gathered and formed a river of ants. They swept towards Spectral Soul. Spectral Soul split a portion of his concentration and used killer moves to resist them. Wu Shuai was Fang Yuan's Dragonman clone. He cultivated enslavement path. Even though he had not cultivated for long, he inherited the inheritance of the Dragonman race, as well as the actual Wu Shuai's true inheritance. After several rounds of attacks, Lu Wei-yin became hopeful as he thought. Even though Wu Shuai does not attack often, he has rank 8 cultivation level, his battle strength is quite incredible. With him around, we can finally place pressure on Spectral Soul. With him controlling the battlefield, even Qing Chou could join the fight, not to mention Wu Shuai who cooperated with them. Wu Shuai soon mixed in with this group. Their tempo became faster as they emitted greater pressure on Spectral Soul. Spectral Soul was the strongest in the world, but he had not regained his peak strength. Demon Immortal Qiju and Qi-Si Ancestor could fight him for over 10 rounds even if they could not defeat him. With Wu Shuai's participation, a qualitative change appeared. It tilted the balance of both sides. Lu Wei-yin and the rest attacked unceasingly. Their attacks did not stop even once. Spectral Soul started to get into a passive spot as he resisted their joint attacks. Immortal Killer Move, Upper-Lower Breathless Qi. Demon Immortal Qiju stretched out 2 fingers as he pointed at the top and bottom of Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress. At once, Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress became immobilized. Fang Yuan who was inside had a change of expression. He could not breathe smoothly. Even worse was that his injection of immortal essence into Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress became choppy and inconsistent. Immortal Gu houses required a lot of immortal essence to work. The same applied to Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress. After getting hit by this move, its defenses became much weaker. A huge flaw in Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress became exposed. It was just too slow. It had to resist most killer moves head-on. Of course, it had immense defense. It could waste a lot of the enemy's immortal essence. Thus, Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress was suited for a battle of attrition. Gu Immortals could heal up inside and analyze the enemy's killer moves while using the defense to waste the enemy's immortal essence. Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress also lacked offensive methods. The truth was, Demon Immortal Qiju could ignore Fang Yuan and help Spectral Soul fight against Lu Weiyin and the rest. Fang Yuan was currently troubled by the myriad tribulation. Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress was of little threat to them in terms of offense. Immortal Killer Move, Soul Explosion. Spectral Soul suddenly turned around. He endured the attacks of Lu Weiyin and the rest as he pointed with his fingers. More than 10 black dots flew out. The black dots shot towards the top of Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress before turning into more than 10 immemorial soul beasts. These immemorial soul beasts crashed down onto Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress, their mountain-like bodies completely burying the immortal GU house. At the next moment, boom! A terrifying explosion killed these immemorial soul beasts on the spot. Their sacrifices resulted in this intense explosion resembling a giant black ball. The black ball rapidly expanded. In a few breaths of time, it grew to over the size of 100 li. The earth and mountains shook. The entire battlefield started to shake intensely. Lu Weiyin's expression changed. He immediately went away to defend the battlefield. If this battlefield broke, even if one corner of it was destroyed, the entire situation would aggravate. Spectral Soul is so crafty, he actually had such a terrifying move. Demon Immortal Qiju squinted, retreating to a safe distance. Soul explosion is not uncommon. It is expected that he would detonate the immemorial soul beasts, but how could he perfectly fuse the detonation of more than 10 immemorial soul beasts together like this? Oh no, I wonder how our main body is doing. Wu Shuai and Qi Si ancestor became worried. Roar. Qing Chou was also implicated and got quite injured. The greater the pain, the more maniacal it became. It did not care about anything. It attacked Spectral Soul again. Wu Shuai and Qi Si ancestor had to follow suit. They could not allow Spectral Soul to absorb Qing Chou's strength. After using this move, Spectral Soul also turned pale. Against Qing Chou's assault, he focused on defense while trying to recover. It was evident that the move earlier consumed a huge amount of his mental energy. In truth, this soul explosion was very costly. Immemorial soul beasts had rank 8 battle strength. Spectral Soul expended more than 10 of them at once. I wonder how Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress is now. Demon Immortal Qiju approached Fang Yuan. As the dust clouds faded away, Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress appeared in everyone's vision again. They saw that this Earth Path Immortal GU house was 30% shorter. The surface seemed damaged but no holes were created. Demon Immortal Qiju squinted as he sighed internally. This Immortal GU house's defense is likely the highest of all Immortal GU houses that currently exist. Immortal Killer Move, Accumulated Soil Mountain. Within the Immortal GU house, Fang Yuan injected Immortal Essence as he activated the Core Killer Move. Countless Earth Path GU worms flew up in Sovereign Immortal Aperture, entering the Immortal GU house. After 3 breaths of time, not only did Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress recover fully, its appearance also changed. Instead of being round like before, it became more like a tower now. There were edges and sharp corners. Even someone like Demon Immortal Qiju stared at this with wide eyes. He felt a little empty internally. This was too shameless. Not only did Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress have high defense, its recovery speed was also this fast. In the current world, most Immortal GU houses could not be easily repaired. When replenishing GU worms, those positions were usually fixed. It was also not as easy as placing GU worms into these specific positions. There was usually a need to use special GU worms or killer moves to achieve this. Immortal GU houses were a type of mobile immortal formation. To repair Immortal GU houses or immortal formations, one had to consider the influence that these actions would have on the main structure. But Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress was different. Looking at one example, repairing other Immortal GU houses was like stacking a Jenga tower. The GU Immortals had to put specific GU worms into specific holes. During this process, the GU Immortal had to use methods to stabilize the tower while placing the GU worms to try to prevent it from toppling. But Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress was the opposite, because the core was made of immortal killer moves. No matter how many Earth Path GU worms Fang Yuan put in, they could easily merge with the tower and have great stability. In fact, they could even alter the properties of the tower. Demon Immortal Qiju and Spectral Soul spent so long dealing with Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress, they had finally gotten some information about it, yet after Fang Yuan's modifications the entire fortress was different than before. Spectral Soul and Qiju's probe had to start all over again. How do we fight this? Similar thoughts emerged in the minds of Demon Immortal Qiju and Spectral Soul. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Less than report chapter greater than so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2051 Giant Spectral Soul. 2051 Giant Spectral Soul. Other GU Immortals would feel despair at this moment. This rascal Fang Yuan is too good at turtling up, how can we kill him? Demon Immortal Chi Ju asked with a tone that contained anger and frustration. Spectral Soul also turned silent for a moment before he smiled coldly. Instantly, a terrifying killing intent seemed to condense and solidify, emanating from his body. Everyone could feel their limbs turning cold as they shook in their hearts. After suffering a setback, Spectral Soul's determination to kill Fang Yuan became even firmer. I will dismantle his tortoise shell. Go and deal with the rest, guard me. Spectral Soul said as his soul flew out and devoured Lady Cold Ash's body in one mouthful. A soul giant that was as large as a mountain appeared before everyone. The giant's body was black as ink, it had muscular limbs and bulging muscles. There were two heads, one was scary while the other was cold and aloof. The first pair of eyes had blood-red light in them, shooting towards heaven, the other pair of eyes was cold as ice, emitting a deep chill. It also had 600 pairs of arms that were raised up or lowered, some were tucked in while others were straight, it showed the stance of grasping the sun and moon, it had the potential to catch stars and whip up storms. Amazing giant, Lu Wei Yin's body shook as he praised. Fighting spirit surged in him as he shouted, then take this move. He used all his strength to activate illusory sand-shifting shadow battlefield. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Intense winds blew as yellow sand flew, countless rocks moved along, they slammed towards the black soul giant's body like shooting stars. The black soul giant only watched coldly as it raised its arms. 200 pairs of arms stretched out and stabbed into the sandstorm. The ghost hands stretched out their fingers as they grabbed towards the sandstorm. Unexpectedly, the formless sandstorm was grabbed onto like silk or threads in the sky. The black soul giant pulled, snapping sounds could be heard continuously. The sandstorm was pulled apart, wind scattered as clear vision returned to the battlefield. Lu Wei Yin's eyes were bulging, his expression turned pale. Spectral Soul dealt with the battlefield so easily, he was deeply shocked. Let me. Chi Si Ancestor flew into the sky, staring at the black soul giant at equal heights. Immortal Killer Move. Chi Breath Mountain. Rumble. A huge translucent mountain created from air currents descended and pressed down immediately. This move was once used by Duke Long, it was part of Primordial Origin's true inheritance, it managed to send Purple Mountain True Monarch flying. Right now, with Chi Si Ancestor using it, the power was not to be underestimated. Giant Spectral Soul looked at the mountain but approached it instead. He raised more than 100 pairs of arms. At once, the entire battlefield seemed to have hundreds of black trees, resembling a forest. The 100 pairs of arms blocked the Chi Mountain, emitting a loud sound. The 5 sharp fingers of each of the ghost hands grabbed, the Chi Current Mountain lasted for a breath of time before breaking apart. Chi Si Ancestor grunted, he was forced to retreat. But Spectral Soul did not let him off, the angry head roared loudly and spat out a grand soul river. The soul river was made of countless ghosts and vengeful spirits, they cried out in agony and despair, causing the entire battlefield to freeze up for a moment. Seeing the power of this move, Chi Si Ancestor understood that this move was extraordinary, its might was many times higher than the self-detonation of the immemorial soul beasts earlier. At this moment, Spectral Soul had used his true strength. Not only did he turn into a black soul giant, he even changed his killer moves, each attack became much stronger, they were all vicious and terrifying. Chi Si Ancestor waved his hands, 2 hands flew out of his wide sleeves. His index and middle fingers stretched out and drew a circle in the air, causing wind and clouds to move along. Immortal Killer Move, Chi Current Scissors. A translucent Chi Current flew out of his sleeves, moving rapidly. These Chi Currents seemed weak but they were extremely sharp, they drew an arc in the sky before gathering to form a translucent Chi Current River. With a loud sound, the Chi Current Scissors River crashed into the vengeful Ghost River. The Chi Current Scissors was forced back but the Soul River also suffered some damage, it still managed to move as it quickly approached Chi Si Ancestor. Lu Wei Yin shouted as he activated the battlefield, creating a rock shield that intercepted the Soul River at its weak spot. Chi Si Ancestor's face was already flushing red, it was a tough contest of strength, he quickly used this chance to escape. Spectral Soul, why aren't you going to die? At the same time, Ching Cho shouted as it approached from the left. At the right of Giant Spectral Soul, Wu Shuai wordlessly manipulated his army ants that pressed down like a black cloud, attacking Giant Spectral Soul's head. Attacked from the left and right. Spectral Soul did not move, 300 pairs of arms resisted Ching Cho while 100 pairs of arms attacked Wu Shuai. Ching Cho was fighting without regard for its life, it advanced relentlessly. Spectral Soul snickered as the fingers of his hands gathered into a sharp spear form. This move countered Soul Beast's. At the next instant, 100 pairs of arms stabbed into Qing Chao's body, green-black blood oozed out and dyed the battlefield. Seeing this blood, a bright light shined on the face of Spectral Soul's angry head. He snickered coldly. Soul beasts have no blood, but your body seems to have changed under the influence of hatred Gu's refinement. Interesting. After this battle, I will dissect your body before attempting good and thorough research. In other words, Spectral Soul was completely confident in taking down Qing Chou. Qing Chou growled in pain, its snake-like neck struggled intensely, its roars almost burst the Immortal's eardrums. Its entire body emitted black smoke, almost the same as Spectral Soul. Not just that, it opened its mouth and shot out more than 10 human-faced soul balls that were covered in lightning. All sorts of attacks landed on giant Spectral Soul. It was like wind blowing on a tree. Even though the leaves were moving, the trunk remained still and motionless. Spectral Soul's arms that were stabbed into Qing Chou pushed deeper, trying to destroy its body from the inside. Qing Chou cried out continuously. It was heavily injured by Spectral Soul, unable to break free. Its blood flowed like a river. This was a gruesome sight. Seeing this, Wu Shuai, who cultivated enslavement path and had a weak body, did not dare to take a risk. He quickly retreated. He decided that unless there was no choice, he would only attack from afar. The army ants were densely packed and moved like a cloud that could gather and split at will. They rushed towards the black soul giant's eyes, nose, and ears. Spectral Soul's cold head snorted as he breathed out black smoke from his nose. The smoke spread out. Wherever it went, army ants died without resistance. A large number of them fell at once. As expected of a former demon Venerable, Demon Immortal Qi Ju's eyes shined with bright light. He was full of praise. Spectral Soul unleashed his true strength. It immediately changed the situation. Even though Lu Wei Yin and the rest had the territorial advantage as well as more people, they still got suppressed by him. Spectral Soul struck several times to completely block them. After that, he went back and stared at peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress. 400 arms stretched out and clenched into fists. They punched at the rank 8 Earth Path Immortal GU house with black chi covering the fists. Bam bam bam. Each punch caused peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress to shake intensely. As countless fists rained down, black chi also invaded the Immortal GU house. Soon, the fragments began to fall off peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress surface, shattering into pieces. Fang Yuan quickly used his killer move and added an Earth Path GU worms to replenish it. But other trouble came at the same time. Inside his sovereign immortal aperture, the myriad tribulation transformed again. Almost all of the Heaven Path Dao marks gathered into a giant monstrous ball of flesh. The flesh ball floated in the air. It was large as a mountain, more than 10 times of Spectral Soul's size, casting a shadow down onto the ground. Countless black-colored holes appeared on the flesh ball's surface. As the holes expanded, they emitted a huge suction force. Soon, tornadoes began to form from these holes. As the tornadoes moved, countless resources in the sovereign immortal aperture, even variant humans, got swept away and sucked into the flesh ball. At once, growling and crying could be heard as fatalities rose. The flesh ball quickly digested them as it slowly expanded in size. Oh no, I have never seen this myriad tribulation before. It also seems to be able to grow. It can get stronger and stronger. Fang Yuan's heart sank. He needed to deal with Spectral Soul's attacks and the myriad tribulation in his immortal aperture. Either one required his full attention and strength. Nobody else could help him with this. Fang Yuan could not attend to both ends. He had to choose what to give up. Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress can still last some time, but if I let the myriad tribulation grow further, it will exceed the limit of my capabilities. Realizing the greater problem at hand, Fang Yuan chose to deal with the myriad tribulation. Most of his attention was placed in the sovereign immortal aperture. His manipulation of peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress became slightly slower. Combat Beast King had already awakened. He dragged his injured body and stood up while gritting his teeth, listening to Fang Yuan's orders. Shui controlled the situation on the ground, using the ice crystal formation to resist the suction of the tornadoes. The flesh ball monster floated towards her slowly while being firm as a mountain. There was a huge pressure placed on Shui. Immortal Killer Move Unrestrained Heavenly Mark was still active. Fang Yuan had not stopped using it even for one moment. But now, its effect had fallen to its lowest point. Countless thoughts collided in Fang Yuan's mind. It was like a turbulent sea. The sight was spectacular. Fang Yuan multitasked. He first activated a Wisdom Path Killer move. The quantity of his thoughts expanded abruptly. Even his mind seemed small in comparison. A vast number of thoughts collided, allowing Fang Yuan to think acutely. He was able to use other killer moves now. There was no choice. Fang Yuan activated the human path formation to interfere with the heavenly Tao's interference. As the formation activated, it created a buzzing noise as it shined with a brilliant light. At this step, over half of Fang Yuan's thoughts were already expended. If this continued, the consumption of thoughts would exceed the production. He would soon run out of thoughts and Fang Yuan would turn into an idiot instantly. Fang Yuan gritted his teeth but was not flustered. He was prepared for this. There were many of his wills in the human path formation. Fang Yuan's wills took charge of the formation as it operated, allowing his thoughts to accumulate again. Fang Yuan only had to do the first step of activating the formation. Again, Fang Yuan shouted internally as he activated the wisdom path killer move again. The thoughts in his mind burst out again like a tsunami. The quantity rose continuously, almost filling up his entire mind. For wisdom path GU immortals, having too many thoughts was a bad idea. They would take up all the space in the mind and prevent any collisions from happening. It was the worst case scenario. Fang Yuan did not do something stupid. This was part of his expectations. Seeing that these thoughts were about to fill up his mind, he placed his concentration on the sea of clouds in the sky. It was a huge and wide sea of clouds. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Less than report chapter greater than so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2052 Eat here. 2052 Eat here. Looming clouds spread out in the boundless sky, surging like tides as ripples splashed. It seemed like the sea, but it also resembled countless cloud mountains, changing forms at will, having unlimited possibilities. This was a killer move. This killer move was Fang Yuan's trump card. It was in fact his strongest offensive method at this moment. Immortal killer move, unlimited Qi Si. This move was mystical. After Fang Yuan's modifications, it not only used rank 8 Immortal GU Big Qi as the core, it also had more than 10 supplementary Qi Path Immortal GU, as well as hundreds of thousands of foundational Mortal GU. There were even Qi Path Immortal materials that could be expended to increase the power of this move. This move was incredible. It could use all of the kinds of Qi in this world: Life Qi, Death Qi, Sword Qi, Blade Qi, Dusk Qi, Dawn Qi. The more Qi Path Immortal materials stored in it, the more powerful this move would be. When used offensively, it would expend Immortal Essence and Immortal materials. When used defensively, it would absorb external Qi currents. This move was powerful and unstoppable. Qishang left this move behind, resulting in Qishang Grotto Heaven surviving many myriad tribulations after his death. Myriad tribulations. Most rank 8 GU immortals in this world did not even dare to challenge their first myriad tribulation. They desperately delayed the time in their immortal aperture. But Qishang Grotto Heaven's heavenly spirit could use this move to get past myriad tribulations time and time again. After annexing this Grotto Heaven, Fang Yuan used the light of wisdom to modify unlimited Qi Si before the Fate War. After that, during this battle, he used this move to break the primordial Qi wall and shocked everyone, including GU immortals, in the 5 regions. The primordial Qi wall was the creation of primordial origin. It not only had Qi Path Immortal GU but also Qi Path Immortal materials. Qi Path had one trait: it was able to use Qi Path Immortal materials in place of GU worms to execute killer moves. Fang Yuan used unlimited Qi Si to break the primordial Qi wall. He also absorbed the vast amount of Qi Path Immortal materials inside the Qi wall. After the first time, Fang Yuan broke it again for a second time. Not long ago in Heavenly Court, he used unlimited Qi Si to absorb the immortal material Qi currents in the primordial Qi wall, breaking it apart. After absorbing 2 Qi walls and with Fang Yuan's exploration of Qi Si Grotto Heaven, he gained a huge amount of immortal material Qi currents. It caused unlimited Qi Si's storage to rise to an unprecedented amount. Thus, the power of this move reached a level that felt terrifying even for Fang Yuan. As Fang Yuan willed, he unleashed the killer move Unlimited Qi Si. The sea of Qi rumbled, a huge white Qi pillar gathered in the sky and shot down at the giant flesh ball monster. The Qi pillar was extremely thick, reaching a level that had never been seen before. Even Qishang would gasp at its majesty now. Not only that, the Qi pillar was covered in a layer of shining golden light. It gave off a tough feeling. It was extremely domineering. Before the white Qi pillar hit the flesh ball monster, a terrifying force acted on it from all directions, immobilizing the flesh ball monster in the air. Boom! The white Qi pillar crashed into the flesh ball monster like a falling monument, before rushing through it violently. The huge sound created even deafened Shui, who was far away from the battlefield. The Qi pillar had an intense white light. Shui, who was hiding in the ice crystal formation, had to shut her eyes to prevent them from being blinded. The flesh ball monster could not resist the power of the chi pillar. It was suppressed on the grassland of many northern plains. The grass and soil of the grassland had already been sent flying long ago by raging tornadoes before the chi pillar struck. Thus, the flesh ball monster was pressed down on the barren grassland by the unstoppable chi pillar. As the earth shook, hundreds of cracks formed below the flesh ball monster, resembling a spider web. The white chi pillar was still continuing its assault. It had the power to destroy mountains and split seas. The great flesh ball monster made from the myriad tribulation got pressed on the ground like a defenseless chick, unable to struggle. 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet. As the flesh ball monster sank into the ground, its body became smaller and smaller. It continued to be disintegrated by the white chi pillar bit by bit. The black holes all over the giant monster were shut. It tried to curl up. A pitiful cry could be heard from within its body. This was the cry of heaven's will. The white chi pillar lasted for 20 breaths of time before fading away. Not only did the sea of clouds in the sky shrink by 80%, the remaining clouds were sparse and thin. Fang Yuan quickly moved them away. But the flesh ball monster was in a worse condition. Its mountain-like body had shrunk to the size of Dragon Palace. The flesh ball monster did not move. It remained in the pit like a corpse. This pit was over 1,000 feet deep. Fang Yuan's main body breathed roughly. His brain was hurting along with each breath. In order to use this move, he exerted his mind to its limit. He used up too many thoughts, beyond the capabilities of his mind. The myriad tribulation created from 3,000 heaven path Tao marks finally paused for the first time. It was as if it got beaten into shock by Fang Yuan. The opportunity was rare. Fang Yuan quickly hastened his action and used unrestrained heavenly mark to refine the heaven path Tao marks. In a short while, Fang Yuan refined more than 100 heaven path Tao marks. Together with his earlier gains, he had already refined over 160 heaven path Tao marks. When Fang Yuan refined over 200 heaven path Tao marks, the heavenly Tao finally reacted. The flesh ball in the hole vanished as it started to hail. However, even though Fang Yuan could take advantage of this chance, he could only sustain this situation as he was forced to place his attention back to the outside world. Peaceful soil heavy mountain fortress was heavily damaged beyond repair. Giant spectral soul's attacks were increasing in frequency. He had made huge advancements. Spectral soul swore to kill Fang Yuan. Lu Weiyin and the rest tried to restrain him, but giant spectral soul ignored their attacks and endured them, while maintaining his firepower on Fang Yuan. Even though Fang Yuan was doing his best to repair his immortal GU house, the situation was going downhill. Bam! Peaceful soil heavy mountain fortress could not take it anymore. A hole was created. It connected to the outside. Through this hole, giant spectral soul's 4 eyes emitted cold killing intent as he looked at Fang Yuan, who was sitting inside. He saw that Fang Yuan's expression was pale after unleashing unlimited Qi. Fang Yuan was in bad shape now. Spectral soul had a realization. His incredibly deep battle experience made a decision for him. Similar to Fang Yuan, he was going to use his trump card. Immortal killer move, eat heart. I comprehended this move in my later years from U003CU003C. The Legends of Ren Zhu 003E-U003E. Fang Yuan, it is over. The current peaceful soil heavy mountain fortress has no way of blocking this attack. Spectral soul surged with killing intent. And like what he said. At the next moment, Fang Yuan grunted. His face became distorted. He grasped his chest in pain. The intense pain in his heart felt like it was bitten by a fierce beast. U003CU003C. The Legends of Ren Zhu 003E-U003E, Chapter 5, Section 33. Ren Zhu stared at the skeleton head. Next, I will eat the most important part of the predicament's body. Strong Gu laughed. This is a stupid move. Oh human, your choice is extremely foolish. The predicament shook its body as it shrank. At the same time, countless tribulations flew out of its neck and attacked Ren Zhu. The tribulations were like fire, burning Ren Zhu's bones. The tribulations were like hammers, charging at Ren Zhu as his bones cracked. The tribulations were like wind and rain, sweeping at Ren Zhu's lone body. The tribulations were like flashing lightning, striking on Ren Zhu continuously. Fear Gu shouted. Oh heaven, this is too scary, that human will die for sure at this rate. Courage Gu encouraged. Oh human, don't be afraid. Self Gu and attitude Gu shouted together. I am very strong, I am very strong, all tribulations are mere drizzles, they are insignificant breezes. Weak Gu, betrayal Gu, and fear Gu flew together, wanting to escape with Ren Zhu. Oh human, quickly run. Don't believe in Self-Gu's words, it has already been deceived. Renzu was trapped in the tribulations, he could not escape. When tribulations loom over you, it is not a simple matter of running away. This is too scary, let's go, forget about the human. Weak Gu, betrayal Gu, and fear Gu flew away together. You traitors! Self-Gu was furious, it grabbed onto these 3 Gu and bit them all. The 3 Gu were injured but they were not stopped by Self-Gu, they quickly escaped from Renzu. Self-Gu wanted to chase them but rules and regulation Gu urged, don't chase them. Escaping when tribulations strike due to fear and weakness, betraying oneself and courage in the process, it will only lead to death. Isn't it good that they are gone? Weak Gu and betrayal Gu are unable to help us, as for fear Gu, if the tribulations did not appear, fear would have been pointless. But since the tribulations are here now, fear will only lead to greater pain in the human. You are absolutely right. Self-Gu stopped. Hope Gu flickered with light as it supported Renzu. Oh human, as long as you still have hope in your heart during the tribulations, there will still be hope in this situation. Strong Gu could not stop laughing. Oh human, you are truly pitiful, you easily believe in the words of hope. Don't you know, having only hope during the tribulations will only cause them to continue longer. Hope is the thing that lengthens the person's pain. When you stop bearing any hope, you will feel relaxed in the tribulations. Renzu did not speak, he endured the attacks of the tribulations with great difficulty. No matter how bent his body became, he did not fall. Strong Gu soon found the reason. On Renzu's feet, there was a pair of independent wings. Even though the wings were small, they flapped stubbornly, helping Renzu to stand up despite everything. Strong Gu continued to demoralize Renzu. Oh human, I am starting to admire you. It is a pity that you are going to fall soon, look at your bones, they are covered in cracks now due to the tribulations. Renzu was silent. Originally, Renzu's bones were shiny and intact, there were no cracks at all. Now, his skeleton was covered in cracks, it seemed like it would shatter at any moment. All the other Gu worms were silent, only Hope Gu gave out light. Oh human, don't give up. Tribulations are not scary, the scariest thing is a person who has lost hope. The light of Hope Gu penetrated the cracks of Renzu's bones, into his bone marrow. In the life of everyone in this world, cracks would always form at some point, but those were the times where the light of hope would shine in. Renzu's bones absorbed the light of hope, they started to engulf the surrounding tribulations. Each crack was like a huge mouth, the larger the crack, the larger the mouth, and the more tribulations it could devour. How could this happen? Strong Gu was extremely shocked. The more tribulations that Renzu's skeleton devoured, the stronger and firmer his bones became. Tribulations could destroy people, but they could also toughen oneself. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Less than report chapter greater than so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2053 Finding a Way Out of a Desperate Situation. 2053 Finding a Way Out of a Desperate Situation. As the tribulations continued, Renzu's bones started to shine in a golden light. The tribulations became wilder as Renzu's bones burned in flames, becoming dazzlingly golden. Renzu started to straighten his back, he raised his head and puffed his chest. After enduring countless tortures, his skeleton shined like a golden pillar, he stood directly inside the tribulations. This was the myriad tribulation golden skeleton. And on Renzu's skeleton head, a crown grew out naturally, it was the heaven-connecting bone crown. All of the tribulations and disasters that people suffer would become their crowns of achievement in the future. Even though the tribulations had not ended, Renzu could already speak at this time. I know, fate has arrangements, tribulations are the arrangements it makes for people. But I can persevere, any tribulations that seem unendurable are all in fact endurable to me. Strong Gu was shocked and bewildered. Self-Gu realized at this time, I understand. Oh human, you are someone who walked out of ordinary abyss, that is why you can endure these tribulations that are impossible to endure. Strong Gu saw that the tribulations could not take down Renzu, it forced itself to stay calm. Oh human, don't forget, as long as you have hope Gu, these tribulations will not stop. Are you going to delay our bet from earlier? I don't care, I will treat it as if you passed the tribulations. Now, it is our turn to eat you. Which part of me do you want to eat? Renzu sighed. Strong Gu laughed loudly, pointing at Renzu's chest. Next, I will eat your hearts. Renzu shook slightly, Strong Gu's choice was too fatal, how could a human live without his heart? Quickly take out all of your hearts, let us eat them. Strong Gu shouted in excitement. Ren Zhu sighed as he hesitated, before taking out the heart of sympathy. Strong Ji directly placed the heart of sympathy into the predicament's neck as the heart fell into its stomach. The predicament's stomach expanded slightly. When faced with predicaments, people often lose their hearts of sympathy first. Ren Zhu took out his heart of nobleness next. The predicament ate it as its stomach expanded some more. It seemed to have problems digesting it. Ren Zhu took out his original heart next. Oh Hope Ji, leave now. I do not want to implicate you. Hope Ji resided in Ren Zhu's original heart. It did not fly out. Instead it said, I am not leaving, this is my home. Oh human, just toss me in along with it, I do not blame you. Ren Zhu had no choice. As Strong Ji rushed him, he gave his original heart to the predicament as food. After the predicament ate it, its belly expanded again. Predicaments often caused people to lose hope as well. Without Hope Ji, all of the tribulations around Ren Zhu vanished. This caused the pressure on Ren Zhu to fall, but he felt deep melancholy as well. Quick, oh human, take out your final heart and let us eat it. Strong Ji pointed at the heart of loneliness in Ren Zhu's chest. Ren Zhu hesitated as he felt troubled. The heart of loneliness did not only contain his self Ji, it was also his final heart. Without this heart, Ren Zhu might die. Strong Ji laughed and threatened, quick, if you do not take it out yourself, we will make our move and eat you entirely. Self Ji had already been deceived. It called out in nonchalance, oh human, just give it to them. I do not care, you will not die either. We are the strongest. Give it to me. Strong Ji grabbed the heart of loneliness in Ren Zhu's hand and stuffed it into the predicament's stomach through its exposed neck. At this point, Ren Zhu lost all his hearts. He fell onto the ground, losing all signs of life. He could not stand up anymore. Ren Zhu died. Oh human, you died, we have regained freedom. Rules and regulation. Ji flew away. There is no helping it, the human met with the greatest predicament in his life. Courage Ji and edge Ji flew away as well. On Ren Zhu's corpse, only self Ji remained. It flew around him. Attitude Ji wanted to leave too, but self Ji grabbed onto it, forcing it to stay. Strong Ji laughed happily. Ha ha ha, oh human, you were nothing impressive after all. Predicament, what's wrong? The predicament that Strong Ji was attached to grabbed onto its bulging stomach as it rolled on the ground in pain. Loneliness was extremely hard to digest. The stronger the predicament, the lonelier one would feel. Boom! Suddenly, the predicament's belly burst open. Ren Zhu's heart of loneliness, his skin and flesh fused to create a boy. Strong Ji was flabbergasted. Who are you? The boy said. I am Ren Zhu's son, great strength true martial. Before finishing his words, he jumped up and grabbed Strong Ji. Strong Ji tried to struggle while self Ji used the opportunity to approach and take a bite of it. Strong Ji was injured, it got weakened. Where are you trying to go? Great strength true martial shouted. He grabbed Strong Ji and stuffed it into his chest. Strong Ji went into his chest and got imprisoned in his heart, unable to escape. Don't waste your effort, this is my heart of ambition, you cannot escape. Great strength true martial laughed. Next, he found Ren Zhu's other hearts from the corpse of the predicament and placed them back into his chest. Ren Zhu was revived once again. Undeniably, a person's heart was the source of their vitality, one of the most fatal weaknesses of a human's body. The food path killer move Eat Heart that Spectral Soul created was a greater creation than Bitter Taste and Swallow Loss. Even if these two moves hit his enemies, they could only tilt the balance of victory and defeat. Meanwhile, Eat Heart was a fatal attack. Once hit without ample preparation, it could decide the outcome almost instantly. This was a method that could claim victory. Fang Yuan was hit. Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress had outstanding defense without doubt. But among all the GU Immortal paths, Food Path was extremely well hidden, there were few defensive measures against it. Thus, during the Fate War, Western Desert's GU Immortals were all without options against Heavenly Court's combination killer move, sitting and eating the mountain empty, they were all hit by it. Fang Yuan also had a Food Path inheritance, he also knew that Spectral Soul had a deep attainment in Food Path. Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress was assembled by Fang Yuan, it could defend against Food Path originally. But now, Spectral Soul broke a hole in this Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress. Even the complete Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress would have difficulties blocking the killer move Eat Heart entirely, Fang Yuan would still be affected regardless. At this moment, the intense feeling of death assaulted Fang Yuan. He could not struggle, he had no way to struggle. The heavenly Tao in the sovereign immortal aperture seemed to have noticed this. It stopped conjuring new myriad tribulations as the Tao marks scattered all over the aperture, trying to restrain Fang Yuan's entire body. Fang Yuan could not use any defensive methods, he could only wait for death. Lu Weiyin saw that the situation was bad. He quickly activated the Earth Path battlefield. Yellow sand gathered into dragons that coiled around giant Spectral Soul, squeezing and attempting to immobilize Spectral Soul. Spectral Soul smiled coldly, hundreds of arms blocked them as he defended easily. His 4 eyes were still staring at Fang Yuan, most of his attention was spent on sustaining Eat Heart. Oh no, Lu Weiyin's heart sank. Qi-Si Ancestor and Wu Shuai also felt chills flowing down their spines. They tried to desperately attack, but Spectral Soul did not even turn around for a moment. Spectral Soul would rather suffer heavy injuries to make use of this opportunity. He wanted Fang Yuan dead no matter what. Is everything going to end like this? Fang Yuan's mind was still quite empty, he did not have many thoughts left. This was the aftermath of using unlimited Qi-Si. Spectral Soul was just too strong. Worthy of the former demon Venerable. The man who was invincible in this world during his era. During that time, he killed until the world became shrouded in darkness, nobody dared to make a sound, all of the living beings in the world could only tremble under his shadow. Only until the appearance of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable, he spent his entire life to mend the wounds and scars of the hearts of the people. Before Spectral Soul went all out, his battle strength was not much higher compared to the rest, yet he still had a firm control over the situation. After he used his full power, his battle strength rose greatly, he immediately surpassed everyone. The most despairing thing was that each of his decisions carried immediate effect, he did not give his enemy any opportunities to recover, there was no way for them to survive. No, even if there is only a trace of hope, I need to do my best. Fang Yuan could not use any methods, even if he could use a killer move, he could not block the killer move Eat Heart. Unless it was reverse flow protection seal. The pain on Fang Yuan's face vanished, his lips curled up as he revealed a mysterious smile, it was extremely unusual. At the next moment, he shouted loudly, if you do not take action now, when will you ever get another chance? Qi Ju. A pair of Spectral Soul's pupils expanded, while another pair of eyes squinted, is Fang Yuan trying to deceive me? No wait. One of his heads turned around, he saw Demon Immortal Qi Ju attacking. Boom, Demon Immortal Qi Ju activated his killer move, the Shi land on top of his head flew down like a comet, crashing into Spectral Soul's back. Spectral Soul was greatly impacted, he also fell to the ground. Puff puff puff, countless holes appeared on his body, it was like a deflating balloon, dark soul Qi spewed out of the holes towards the outside. Not only that, 100 arms of Spectral Soul immediately fell onto the ground like decaying tree branches. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc. please let us know. Less than report chapter greater than so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2054 Spectral Soul, you are too core. 2054 Spectral Soul, you are too core. Ah, Qi Ju, Spectral Soul screamed, staring at Demon Immortal Qi Ju with deep anger. Demon Immortal Qi Ju retrieved Shi land as he retreated, guarding against Spectral Soul's retaliation. You idiot! Spectral Soul stepped on the ground as a loud sound echoed, he finally stabilized his footing. Even someone like him who had lived for so long became furious this instant, he was about to kill Fang Yuan but his ally actually attacked him. Demon Immortal Qi Ju floated in the air, staring at Spectral Soul with deep vigilance. He first frowned as he recalled Fang Yuan's expression, it was evident that Fang Yuan did that on purpose so Spectral Soul would expose a weakness. Was Fang Yuan really at his wit's end at that time? No, this is more likely Spectral Soul's deception to distract me. The truth is, even if I was deceived, at this point, I can only continue to attack Spectral Soul. Demon Immortal Qi Ju made up his mind very soon. With Eat Heart broken, Spectral Soul suffered a backlash. During this time, Fang Yuan quickly repaired Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress, at the very least, he fixed that hole on it. While recovering, Fang Yuan did not forget to attack using words. Spectral Soul, don't be too angry now, the truth is, before you contacted Qi Ju, I had already reached an agreement with him. You made an agreement? Impossible, I checked secretly, you do not have any alliance agreements on you. Spectral Soul retorted. I have just been revived, I will not trust any information path methods. Oh Spectral Soul, you tempted me with benefits, but Fang Yuan did that even earlier. And he is much more generous than you. Before Demon Immortal Qi Ju finished his words, he attacked again. A Chi Path killer move erupted, the attack swept towards giant Spectral Soul like a storm. Lu Weiyin and the rest saw this, they felt overjoyed. Wu Shuai and Qi Si ancestor were unaware of this cooperation. Seeing demon Immortal Qi Ju's betrayal, they became very excited. The situation was tight earlier, but with demon Immortal Qi Ju's action, the situation was immediately flipped around to their advantage. Lu Weiyin pondered and quickly realized. After the Fate War, I used Lord Paradise Earth's methods to confirm that Spectral Soul had not only regained freedom but was also getting stronger. Soon after, the secret of the Sovereign Immortal Aperture got exposed in Treasure Yellow Heaven. When I contacted Fang Yuan secretly to inform him, I wanted to cooperate with him to deal with Spectral Soul and Shadow Sect. But initially, Fang Yuan did not fully believe me. But soon after, Fang Yuan contacted me and agreed to this alliance. Now it seems that he had already contacted Demon Immortal Qi Ju and used him to confirm my information. Lu Weiyin was Paradise Earth's inheritor. The Venerable had spent his entire life restoring peace to the world. He was at odds with Spectral Soul. The reason why Lu Weiyin participated in the Fate War was to get rid of Spectral Soul's remnant soul for good. But even after it ended, Lu Weiyin did not find Spectral Soul's remnant soul. Lu Weiyin naturally did not give up. He paid a huge price and used Paradise Earth's method to deduce Spectral Soul's current condition, but he could not find his location. Thus, Lu Weiyin thought of Fang Yuan. If Spectral Soul wanted to regain full strength, he would need to kill Fang Yuan. After killing Fang Yuan, Spectral Soul would regain Sovereign Immortal Fetus GU as well as his personal dream realms and attainment levels. Lu Weiyin used Paradise Earth's method and contacted Fang Yuan after great difficulty, but the latter was very wary in regards to him. Fang Yuan had been reborn. He knew that Lu Weiyin was not what he seemed like on the surface in supporting Heavenly Court. He had his own personal objectives. Also, because Fang Yuan did not see Spectral Soul during the Fate War when he invaded Heavenly Court, he trusted some parts of Lu Weiyin's information. Soon after, the secret of the Sovereign Immortal Body was exposed in Treasure Yellow Heaven. It made Fang Yuan believe his words even more. After Demon Immortal Qi Ju revived, Fang Yuan tried to contact him in secret but did not succeed once. But coincidentally, Demon Immortal Qi Ju went to approach Qi Si ancestor for trouble. Using Qin Ding Ling's reinforcement, Fang Yuan managed to force Demon Immortal Qi Ju to retreat, but the truth was, he secretly made a deal with Demon Immortal Qi Ju. In order to gain Demon Immortal Qi Ju's trust, Fang Yuan told him that Qi Si ancestor was his disguise. Demon Immortal Qi Ju gained this hold on Fang Yuan and immediately understood that Fang Yuan was sincere in this cooperation. Demon Immortal Qi Ju lacked knowledge of the GU Immortal world at that time. Fang Yuan attended to his needs. He used his various true inheritances as the transaction goods. Demon Immortal Qi Ju was greatly moved, but he was still very wary. He did not want to set an alliance agreement with Fang Yuan. He was afraid that Fang Yuan would use unknown information path methods to harm him. Fang Yuan did not force him. They eventually came to a relaxed agreement that could not have any restraining power to either of them. Fang Yuan provided true inheritances of various paths to Demon Immortal Qi Ju, while the latter gave Fang Yuan the secret of his Qi path resurrection. Furthermore, he even followed Fang Yuan's arrangement and sold a huge amount of Qi path immortal materials in Treasure Yellow Heaven to purchase inheritances of all paths. Fang Yuan learned of the secret regarding Qi Ju's revival. He immediately gained a huge breakthrough in resolving the Qi harvest fruit. Thus, Qi Si ancestor was able to get rid of it. After that, Fang Yuan's clone used Heavenly Court's Qi harvest fruit to create the Qi Si clone successfully. The truth was, with just Fang Yuan's Qi path attainment, he could not resolve the problem of the Qi harvest fruit so quickly. But Demon Immortal Qi Ju was contacted by Spectral Soul in Treasure Yellow Heaven some time after that. Demon Immortal Qi Ju was greatly shocked. After hearing Spectral Soul's words, he understood Fang Yuan's intention. Demon Immortal Qi Ju and Fang Yuan had a lax agreement. They could betray each other easily. Demon Immortal Qi Ju would not consider Fang Yuan's benefits. He immediately negotiated with Spectral Soul in secret. But soon, he realized that Spectral Soul's offer was far inferior to Fang Yuan's. How can a great demon venerable be so stingy? Demon Immortal Qi Ju first held disdain before he pondered. Oh, I get it. Spectral Soul is the pioneer of Soul Path. He also has a Food Path true inheritance, but he wants to keep them and refuses to transact these two. Even though Shadow Sect had existed for so long, they only found very few venerable true inheritances. But Fang Yuan is the crucial pawn of Heaven's will in the 10 venerables. Many of these venerables invested in him, thus he possesses Red Lotus, true inheritance, thieving heavens true inheritance, giant suns true inheritance, spectral souls true inheritance, reckless savages true inheritance, primordial origins true inheritance, Genesis lotus, true inheritance, paradise earths true inheritance, and limitless, true inheritance. Other than these, he also has Lang Ya's true inheritance, the Dragonman race's true inheritance, Food Path true inheritance, Bo Qing's sword path true inheritance, and many more. Damn, how can this one guy have so much wealth? After Demon Immortal Qi Ju understood the reason, a complex feeling emerged in his heart uncontrollably. Fang Yuan could be said to be the wealthiest person in terms of true inheritances throughout history. Even though Spectral Soul's Shadow Sect had searched for such a long period of time, obtaining venerable true inheritances took a lot of time and effort, and they were usually incomplete. Every venerable would make each inheritance with a specific purpose. Even if Spectral Soul destroyed them, he would not gain much. His greatest gain was still that Red Lotus true inheritance, and that was left to him intentionally by Red Lotus Demon Venerable to allow them to cooperate. Regarding Fang Yuan's gains, Demon Immortal Qi Ju felt jealousy, envy, and hatred. Fang Yuan was too rich. Even though Spectral Soul was a demon venerable, compared to Fang Yuan in this regard, he was simply too poor. After comprehending this, Demon Immortal Qi Ju gained a deeper understanding of Fang Yuan. No wonder this guy was chosen to be the crucial person to destroy fate. He is making use of me to defend against Spectral Soul while also harming him. He also knows my wants, so even without an agreement, I would not betray him easily. Fang Yuan had abundant wealth. He also knew that Qi Ju would go against Spectral Soul. He naturally acted very generously. Spectral Soul was kept in the dark. He had to deal with the crafty demon Immortal Qi Ju that showed signs of this betrayal. It was a stark contrast from Fang Yuan. Of course, Demon Immortal Qi Ju would not side with Fang Yuan simply because of this. He took advantage of both sides. On one hand, he told Fang Yuan about the price that Spectral Soul was paying. On the other hand, he requested for more things from Spectral Soul. Demon Immortal Qi Ju had been trying to gain the maximum benefits for himself all along. Up until he attacked Spectral Soul earlier, he had been interacting with both parties. The Sovereign Immortal Aperture's situation was not optimistic. The myriad tribulation transformed again. It became a boundless grey wind. Wherever the wind blew, ash and sparks would appear. In the end, it would burn and destroy everything. The grey wind would sweep through, leaving a huge empty land behind. It was the myriad tribulation, spark-blowing grey wind. The heaven path Dao marks turned into wind path and fire path Dao marks, creating this myriad tribulation that Fang Yuan had trouble dealing with immediately. Not only did the grey wind appear in the mini-5 regions, it also affected the mini-9 heavens. A lot of resource points were destroyed. The Sovereign Immortal Aperture had always been developed by Fang Yuan. It reached 20% development, but now, half of that was gone. During this time, Fang Yuan could only try to save the people instead. There were many humans and variant humans living in the Sovereign Immortal Aperture. They were gathered in cities, mountains or valleys. This was huge wealth. Fang Yuan could give up the rest, but he had to preserve the lives of these people. Cough cough. Inside peaceful soil-heavy mountain fortress, Fang Yuan continued to cough out blood. He was heavily injured. This was the result of Spectral Soul's Eat Heart killer move. The scene earlier was too dangerous. If it lasted for a few more breaths of time, Fang Yuan would have died. Even now, if Spectral Soul uses Eat Heart on peaceful soil-heavy mountain fortress again, Fang Yuan would not escape death. Peaceful soil-heavy mountain fortress could not fully resist the power of Eat Heart. However, Spectral Soul no longer had a chance. Demon Immortal Qi Ju's betrayal changed the entire situation. Earlier, Demon Immortal Qi Ju had Qi land that countered Qi Si Ancestor. He could shoulder some pressure for Spectral Soul. Now, Demon Immortal Qi Ju became the most troublesome person for Spectral Soul to deal with. Immortal Killer Move, Great Qi Hand Explosion. Qi Si Ancestor activated his killer move. Spectral Soul sensed it, immediately moving 100 arms as black smoke appeared around him. Qi Si Ancestor's face flushed red. He felt like he was squeezing an expanding piece of metal. His killer move was about to break. Immortal Killer Move, Upper-Lower Breathless Qi. At the crucial moment, Demon Immortal Qi Ju attacked with his killer move, directly hitting Spectral Soul. Spectral Soul soon felt his breath going out of sync. His immortal essence flow became choppy. His defensive method that resisted Great Qi Hand Explosion became much weaker. Using this chance, Qi Si Ancestor exerted more strength into his move. Boom! Great Qi Hand Explosion was successfully used, and at this moment, Demon Immortal Qi Ju used a supplementary method to double the strength of this Great Qi Hand Explosion. Giant spectral soul was sent flying from the impact as tens of black arms exploded. He was covered in dust and smoke. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Less than report chapter greater than so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2055 Countering Spectral Soul. 2055 Countering Spectral Soul. Swoosh. Some parts of giant spectral soul's body broke out with countless holes of various sizes. From these holes, black soul chi spewed out rapidly. As the soul chi leaked out, giant spectral soul's huge body started to shrink at an observable speed. Seeing this, Lu Wei-yin's eyes shined with bright light. No wonder spectral soul used a physical body to fight earlier and did not turn into the giant immediately. This move gives him a temporary power boost, but it cannot be sustained for long. It also has a severe problem in it. Giant spectral soul quickly healed his wounds and mended the holes, preventing soul chi from leaking further. As he healed, he attacked in place of defense. Hundreds of arms danced around and slammed at Lu Wei-yin and the rest, causing them to scatter and dodge. Spectral soul was actually even fiercer than before. But Lu Wei-yin and the rest were calm. Their morale rose as they saw the hope of victory. Create an opportunity for me. Demon Immortal Chi Ju suddenly transmitted to Lu Wei-yin and the rest. Lu Wei-yin did not hesitate. He immediately activated the battlefield. A sandstorm concealed Demon Immortal Chi Ju's traces. Within the sandstorm, Demon Immortal Chi Ju had a solemn expression. Almost all of his concentration was placed in his immortal aperture. A brand new killer move was carefully prepared by him. It was taking shape. Spectral soul sensed something amiss. He immediately charged into the sandstorm, attempting to disrupt Demon Immortal Chi Ju's mysterious killer move. Chi Si Ancestor and Wu Shuai desperately tried to stop him, but they could not stall Spectral Soul at all. Ching Cho rammed towards Spectral Soul but was easily dodged. Seeing that Spectral Soul was about to reach Demon Immortal Chi Ju, Lu Wei-yin stepped in. He had outstanding defensive methods. Even though he lacked offense, he was the one who could stall Spectral Soul for the longest time now. Giant Spectral Soul fought with Lu Wei-yin, causing the latter to bleed from his nose and mouth, but he was unable to advance any further due to this obstruction. Getting some crucial time, Demon Immortal Chi Ju took a risk and completed his killer move preparation. Immortal Killer Move, Shi Shi. The Shi land above his head shined with profound light, directed at Spectral Soul. Seeing this, Spectral Soul roared with a trace of panic in his voice. The profound light pillar emitted an intense suction force, forcefully draining the black soul chi from Giant Spectral Soul's body. Giant Spectral Soul's body shrunk rapidly. All of his soul path methods fell drastically in strength. Spectral Soul had a grim expression. He unleashed food path killer moves, Bitter Taste and Swallow Loss. Demon Immortal Chi Ju got hit by them. His body shook. He almost failed to sustain the killer move. Spectral Soul nearly escaped. But at the crucial moment, Lu Wei-yin strained his mind and pointed at Demon Immortal Chi Ju, shooting out 2 yellow lights. One yellow light landed on Demon Immortal Chi Ju and spread around the battlefield. Immortal Killer Move, All Life is Bitter. Instantly, all of the immortals here felt bitterness. Even the illusory sand-shifting shadow battlefield was sharing the burden of experiencing the killer move Bitter Taste. The second yellow light entered Demon Immortal Chi Ju's body. Immortal Killer Move, Suffering Loss is a Blessing. Demon Immortal Chi Ju benefited from this. His body's injuries started to recover. He laughed loudly in satisfaction. Spectral Soul's expression was dark. After Lu Wei-yin used both killer moves, his aura diminished to an extreme low. He immediately escaped using the sandstorm. From within the sandstorm, his voice was firm. Spectral Soul, you committed too many sins and caused great harm to the world. Back then, countless GU immortals fell victim to your 2 food path killer moves. Thus, Lord Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable created these 2 moves specially to deal with you. They were his direct counter. Spectral Soul was stuck in a passive spot instantly. His 2 killer moves were broken. Once a killer move was broken, the user would fall into a passive state. Even Spectral Soul was no exception. Simply because he was dealing with another Venerable, someone who had opposed him over his entire life. Bitter Taste and Swallow Loss were countered. Spectral Soul wanted to use Eat Hard now. This move was created in his later years. It had almost never been used. There was almost no possibility that Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable had a counter to it. But Spectral Soul could not use it. When he used Eat Hard earlier, many Soul Path Immortal GU were destroyed. He also expended a huge amount of Food Path Mortal GU. He had paid a huge price to forcefully activate it. Simply put, he could not use Eat Hard for the following short period of time. Precisely so, Spectral Soul had been holding back Eat Hard, not willing to use it without a good reason. After Spectral Soul escaped, he first ransacked Heavenly Court's storage before devouring soul-pacifying Grotto Heaven, taking its entire foundation. Spectral Soul recovered his strength, he rose up again with great efficiency. However, it was undeniably that his gains in Food Path Immortal GU were minuscule, he could not truly exert the full strength of his Food Path. Food Path was very rarely passed down, this was both Spectral Soul's advantage and disadvantage. Because there were too few Food Path GU Immortals, there were also very few Food Path Immortal GU around. All in all, Spectral Soul had too little time to recover. Ever since this battle to chase Fang Yuan started, Spectral Soul had been using countless Soul Path killer moves that were tough to deal with. But in terms of Food Path, Spectral Soul only had 3 killer moves. Among which, Eat Heart was only used with great difficulty, it was a one-time use trump card. Spectral Soul had countless Soul Path killer moves with terrifying and peculiar effects, they were hard to counter. But in terms of Food Path, there was nothing special, he only had 3 moves. For Lu Weiyin and the others who had fought him for so long, it was hard to not accustom themselves to these moves. It was like Fang Yuan's peaceful soil-heavy mountain fortress, when he used it earlier, it was shocking. But after a while of fighting, with its foundation exposed, Spectral Soul and Qi Ju quickly familiarized themselves with its weaknesses. Trump cards were things that were best left unused as much as possible. Spectral Soul's 2 Food Path killer moves were countered by Lu Weiyin, he immediately suffered a backlash, his injuries were severe. Killer moves could not be used carelessly, once they were broken, the outcome would be terrible. But this was not Spectral Soul's mistake, in the earlier situation, Soul Path killer moves could not turn the situation around, Food Path was the wisest choice. But Lu Weiyin was someone with deep schemes, he was just Paradise Earth's inheritor, he was not the immortal Venerable after all. Thus he kept these 2 moves concealed as trump cards, even though Spectral Soul used the 2 Food Path killer moves earlier, he did not show any hints. At the most crucial moment, he unleashed his counter and achieved the best result. Mingyu, I will kill you, I will kill you. After Spectral Soul suffered heavy injuries, Qingqiu attacked while roaring loudly. It was like a mad beast, its expression was distorted and its eyes were red, bursting open and bleeding with green-black blood. Its body was covered in hundreds of holes, blood spewed out continuously, its injuries were scary to look at. Truly an amazing creation. For a moment, giant Spectral Soul squinted his eyes. Spectral Soul's attainment in Soul Path was definitely unsurpassed in the world. He created Soul Path, causing soul beasts to exist in the world. Thus, his understanding of soul beasts was extremely thorough, nobody could know more than him. And yet, Qingqiu was different, a qualitative change had occurred within its body. Facing Qingqiu's attack, giant Spectral Soul became overjoyed instead. Since the fight started, Spectral Soul had gained great benefits from Qingqiu. For others, Qingqiu would be a huge problem, it was quite fatal. But for Spectral Soul, it was like a gentle rain, it came at a good time to allow Spectral Soul to absorb its strength and recover rapidly. Qingqiu charged with extreme speed, it did not care about its own life. The sole enemy in its life was right before it. But as memories surfaced, its vision blurred again. Escape, quickly escape, can anyone save me? Oh, ancestors of Qing clan, why are you not taking action? Father, mother, where are you? Cries resounded, screaming filled the entire Qing oasis. Rough winds howled in the desert, while the oasis carried a warm breeze. This was Western Desert Qing clan's blessed land headquarters, it was situated in a beautiful oasis of Western Desert. The sandstones were like mountains, the still lake were like the sea, and the trees were lush and vibrant. However, this utopia that was Qing clan's beautiful home turned into living hell. A terrifying slaughter was ongoing, blood flowed into rivers, countless GU masters retaliated desperately but were unable to cause any problems for the perpetrator. The young Spectral Soul, Mingyu from southern borders GU Immortal World, wore a black robe, he stood proudly in the sky, each time he attacked, he took away thousands of lives. He looked down on the ground, countless people were running in the face of death, they were like pitiful ants. Qing clan, you are a great Western Desert super force, how long are you going to hide? Mingyu snickered and taunted, it is too disappointing, are you going to watch your clan get slaughtered like this? He, the so-called Qing clan is nothing amazing after all. Qing clan did not have many GU immortals left. Right now, they were in the deepest part of their blessed land headquarters, hearing Mingyu's voice, they felt extremely furious. This demonic path scoundrel is too arrogant and hateful. To think that our second Supreme Elder would die at his hands, this is truly too unbelievable. Our great Qing clan actually ended up in this situation. Nobody dares to go out and fight just this mere Mingyu alone. No, this is not all Mingyu's credit. Don't you all find it weird that news of Divine Bean Palace was leaked out? Qing clan's GU immortals discussed, some were sad and dejected, some felt they were helpless to do anything. Cough cough, you are right. Qing clan's first supreme elder woke up from his coma. First elder, Qing clan's GU immortals were overjoyed, they cheered, you are finally awake. Qing clan's first supreme elder still had a purplish complexion, his aura was extremely weak. He barely sat up on his bed as he said, Mingyu has likely cooperated with the other forces to deal with us. He is an open blade while the other forces are restraining us secretly, they are too vicious. Not long ago, to settle some territorial dispute and get a giant resource point, I was sneak attacked and suffered heavy injuries, I have no battle strength now. Recently, our clan's giant resource points have all been attacked by demonic path GU immortals. After sending our immortal GU houses to deal with them, our headquarters have fallen into a state of absolute weakness. Cough, cough. First Supreme Elder, you need to rest, don't exert yourself. Yes, we will handle this. As long as Qing clan survives this crisis, we will definitely take revenge on those vicious scoundrels. Qing clan's GU immortals quickly assured. But Qing clan's first Supreme Elder shook his head. Don't go and waste your lives, Mingyu has incredible battle strength, he possesses an immense innate luck, he is not a simple character. We were too careless earlier, by the time we realized this and want to deal with him seriously, the other forces already started to restrain us. We need to be very vigilant in dealing with him now. Qing clan's GU immortals were discussing earlier, but hearing the first Supreme Elder's words, it seemed like he had other plans. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Less than report chapter greater than so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2056 Qing Chou. 2056 Qing Chou. First Supreme Elder, what idea do you have? Qing clan's first Supreme Elder forced a smile. The cause of everything, the origin of Qing clan's predicament, is just one thing, Divine Bean Palace. Other than us, nobody wants to see Qing clan refine Divine Bean Palace successfully. Even if we exert all our strength and give up our territories, even if we defeat Mingyu, how can we deal with all the super forces? Cough, cough. Qing clan's first Supreme Elder paused before continuing. So our best counterattack is to refine Divine Bean Palace. An anxious GU immortal immediately asked, how can we refine Divine Bean Palace rapidly? Qing clan's first Supreme Elder sighed. There is one method we can try. Qing clan's immortals were very excited, they looked at Qing clan's first Supreme Elder fixedly. Qing clan's first Supreme Elder slowly explained. Earlier, we used Hatred GU to get past Divine Bean Palace's defense, we made huge progress, we just need some time to refine it now. However, we lack the time we need, we can only take a risk and use that killer move now. What killer move? Don't tell me. Some Qing clan GU immortals had perplexed expressions while some had changing expressions, they recalled some vague rumors they had heard. Qing clan's first Supreme Elder nodded, excitement showed on his tired face. This killer move was created by second Supreme Elder and he was the main user with my assistance. The killer move has extraordinary might, I will activate it while all of you participate and help. As long as we can unleash it, the current Divine Bean Palace cannot block it, any rank 8 GU immortal will need to avoid it as well. No matter how strong Mingyu is, he is still rank 7. We will do that. First Supreme Elder, what do we name it? First Supreme Elder shook his head as he smiled bitterly. Second Supreme Elder died before we could name it. This old man was silent for a while before replying solemnly. Let's call it, Qing Chou 1, this is the revenge of Qing clan. Divine Bean Palace was the cause of our predicament and suffering, Qing clan needs to take revenge. We will use Qing Chou to refine Divine Bean Palace completely. These super forces with ill intentions will also face the revenge of our Qing clan one by one. That arrogant and vicious Mingyu who caused us great harm will also face our revenge. Using Qing Chou, we will take revenge. We will repay this debt 1,000-fold to those who hurt us. In this aspect, we will not be stingy, we will repay them fully. These words raise the spirits of the immortals. Qing Chou truly a good name. First Supreme Elder is right, we must take revenge. Let Qing Chou be the sign of our Qing clan's rise to greatness. Qing Chou, Qing Chou, Qing Chou, Qing Chou. Qing Chou's vision cleared up at once, it recalled everything, its memories were fully restored. Facing Mingyu's assault, Qing clan first decided to use the killer move Qing Chou to refine Divine Bean Palace. Next, they would go and fight to claim victory. However, the Ching Cho killer move that they entrusted their hopes to did not fully refine Divine Bean Palace. Instead, it triggered a mysterious resonance with Divine Bean Palace. The entire sky shined with jade green light. The mysterious light devoured Qing clan's immortals. It digested the entire Qing clan headquarters, including Qing Oasis. It covered the surrounding 10,000 li. Mingyu was forced to retreat. After the mysterious light faded, the super forces came to check what happened. They saw that the great Qing clan territory was reduced to a huge and vast ruin. The indignant Western Desert GU immortals searched the entire place thoroughly, but they could not find anything. As time passed, people went from disappointment to despair. They left this lifeless desert eventually. Only in some corner, a rank 8 woodpath immortal GU house with a dim hall and hatred GU as the core within the hall was activating a killer move. This killer move was called Qing Cho. The killer move Qing Cho did not fail. It was only influenced by something and mutated in essence. It turned into a life form. Countless vengeful souls who died terrible deaths fused together. A soul beast with hatred GU as the core was born. Initially, it was very small like a baby. It opened its eyes. Its gaze was crystal clear. Next, it grew up continuously, without any idea of what was happening. Its body started to grow as its physique became clear. It had claws, a tortoise shell, and a head with long hair. Its size was initially the same as a rabbit. Next it grew to a wolf's size, before a bull and then an elephant. Eventually, it became as large as a mountain. Countless vengeful souls cried out. From the moment it was born, they had been screeching in its ears, reverberating in its heart. Every time it grew, these resounding voices would become louder and more muffled. They were screaming, they were howling. Qing Cho could not hear them clearly. It felt greatly troubled. These voices were too annoying and muffled. They went on without stopping. It became confused, it became frustrated, it became angry. Its thoughts became more chaotic, it became more ruthless and aggressive. It growled, it slashed the ground of the hall with its claws, it crashed into the pillars using its shell, it bled from injuries as its hair covered its face. The hall rapidly repaired itself, but the voices still continued. They were getting more muffled and loud. Qing Cho could do nothing. It became dejected eventually. It wanted to give up, it wanted to die. But it did not do so. Those vengeful voices were trying to remind it of something. What was it? What were those damned voices trying to say? Tell me, why are you torturing me like this? Why don't you just let me die? Ever since the chaotic battle started, Qing Cho sensed spectral soul. Its consciousness fell into chaos due to hatred GU. Even though it was conscious, its mind was not clear. It only knew how to kill, it knew how to charge and advance, it only knew how to fight. It wanted to exert itself, to use every drop of blood in its body to kill spectral soul, to exterminate spectral soul. But now, Qing Cho's mind was no longer in chaos, it regained clarity. It was as if the clouds parted in the sky, everything was clear now. Its memories were complete, it understood the whole situation from start to finish. It could finally understand the words of those vengeful souls. These vengeful souls were screaming and crying all the time. They had never stopped or weakened at all. Qing Cho heard them clearly now. These vengeful souls were not screaming in pain or bitterness. They were not crying out in grievance, they were not screaming their innocence. They only said one thing, Qing Cho. Qing Cho. Qing Cho, you must remember the purpose of your existence. You must remember the burden that you bear. You must remember all your enemies. Don't forget it for even an instance. Don't give up even for an instance. Revenge, revenge, revenge. Those clansmen who died pitiful deaths, those Qing clan members who had yet to fulfill their aspirations, we need to take revenge for the pain and suffering that was inflicted on us. Spectral soul, Qing Cho screamed, have a good taste of this. This is the revenge of Qing clan, after 100,000 years, the killer move that has been nurturing for 100,000 years. Qing Cho, oh no. At this moment, giant spectral soul's expression turned cold, his heart sank. A qualitative change occurred in Qing Cho's body. Rank 8 immortal GU hatred, which had been growing the entire time, finally broke through at this moment. It became a genuine rank 9 immortal GU. Qing Cho's mountain-like body shot out a jade green light that was familiar to spectral soul. Within the green light, Qing Cho's body transformed like flowing water. It stood straight up, its 4 limbs turned into human hands and legs. The huge pair of wings that it had turned into a full body armor. Its shell turned into a shield, held by its left arm. Its snake neck contracted rapidly, allowing its neck and shoulder to have the perfect proportion. Next, a huge lump of light flowed from its long tail and snake neck. transferring to its right palm as it extended into a terrifying spear. Giant Qingqiu charged towards Spectral Soul, the vast green light condensed and went into the tip of its spear. The long spear stabbed forward with great force. Giant Spectral Soul changed moves. He had to make a change. If he used his earlier method on Qingqiu again, he would be courting death. Spectral Soul grunted as he retracted his move, causing him to suffer backlash. But he achieved his goal. He successfully changed killer moves. At the crucial moment, rumbling black smoke gushed towards Qingqiu, stopping its attack. Seeing this, Wu Shuai, Qi-Si ancestor, and demon immortal Qi-Ju stared with wide eyes. This seemed like a long process, but in fact, it occurred too quickly and suddenly. Qingqiu suddenly became stronger. It turned into a giant with a huge rise in battle strength. Before Wu Shuai, Qi-Si or Qi-Ju had time to celebrate, Giant Spectral Soul withdrew his killer move and retaliated instantly. Seeing that this fatal killer move was mostly blocked by Spectral Soul, Wu Shuai, Qi-Si, and Qi-Ju felt greatly disappointed. They could not help but admire Spectral Soul's resolve and method. He could actually swap killer moves within such a short time frame. However, Lu Weiyin smiled. At the next moment, Giant Qingqiu's messy hair rose up and tangled together like vines, gathering into the appearance of a huge tree. This tree had lush leaves. It was a massive cover over Qingqiu's head. It emitted a jade green light again. Spectral Soul's rumbling smoke was all blocked by this powerful light. This is a Venerable method. Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable's Karma Divine Tree Killer move. Qi-Si, Qi-Ju, and Wu Shuai were shocked. Swish. Giant Qingqiu's attacks were no longer obstructed. The terrifying spear pierced through Giant Spectral Soul from the front to the back. Following that, the green spear turned into jade green light and flowed into Giant Spectral Soul's body like a torrent of water. Giant Spectral Soul took several steps back. His aura weakened to an extremely low level. Spectral Soul was covered in holes as soul chi leaked out along with some jade green light. Hundreds of arms covered these holes but could not stop the overwhelming green light from shining. These mysterious lights were like swords or spears, bursting out of Spectral Soul's body, radiating the entire battlefield. Spectral Soul lost. This was a truly fatal blow. Spectral Soul's expression was cold as he muttered, "Genesis Lotus, Paradise Earth good, you guys are really impressive." Next, he smiled coldly. His killing intent surged instead, reaching an unprecedented level. Long ago, I swore that I would only make others struggle in the face of death. Are you all prepared for that? Spectral Soul's words made everyone's expressions change. Oh no, get away from him, quickly. He is going to self-detonate. All of you, die with me. Spectral Soul roared. Boom. One cho means revenge. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Less than report chapter greater than so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2057 Spectral Soul, S Death. 2057 Spectral Soul, S Death. Quickly, we need to be faster. Fairy Ziwei continued to urge herself internally. She was the only wisdom path great expert here. The duty of unraveling this battlefield killer move ended up on her shoulders. Fairy Ziwei's soul was modified by Spectral Soul. She was loyal to him. She exerted herself in trying to unravel this battlefield killer move. However, Lu Weiyin's illusory sand-shifting shadow battlefield was not a simple battlefield. This Earth Path battlefield is extremely sturdy. It also has a layer of vagueness. I'm afraid it uses Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's battlefield as the foundation and was modified from that. Fairy Ziwei was frowning deeply. Her mind was heating up. With her full effort, she managed to deduce some useful information. But there was little progress overall. Firstly, the battlefield killer move would shrink into a tiny spot once they were activated, isolating the inside and outside. Be it from within or externally, it was hard to unravel. Initially, Fairy Ziwei was able to break Fang Yuan's Yama battlefield in Langya Blessed Land because she had Feng Ju Ji's Fate Armor Immortal Jiyu to locate Yama battlefield. By combining both internal and external influences, she had a breakthrough in unraveling that battlefield. Secondly, illusory sand-shifting shadow battlefield was not ordinary. It was the work of a Venerable, improved upon by future generations. It was already amazing that Fairy Ziwei could find the exact location of the battlefield so quickly. It showed her incredible wisdom path attainment. Fairy Ziwei continued to use various methods. Sometimes, she activated individual Immortal Jiyu. Sometimes, she used Wisdom Path killer moves. Sometimes, she even asked the Longevity Heaven or Heavenly Court GU Immortals to probe the illusory sand-shifting shadow battlefield continuously. This was truly an unthinkable sight. Shadow Sect, Longevity Heaven, and Heavenly Court were actually working together closely. At the outer periphery, the Black Bat group was like a raging black tide that attacked constantly. Heavenly Court's immortal GU houses were guarding against them, forming a tight defense that killed all the black bats that were daring enough to approach them. In the inner area, Fairy Ziwei was high in the sky with Old Man Zheng Yuan, Bai Ningbing, and Fairy Miao Yin protecting her. At the center, two immortal GU houses were situated beside each other. They were Longevity Heaven's Calamity Luck Altar and Heavenly Court's Demon Judgment Board. Each time Fairy Ziwei gave instructions, these two immortal GU houses would cooperate and use their methods to attack a corner of the battlefield. Qin Dingling and Bing Sai Chuan did not doubt Fairy Ziwei's anxiety, they also lacked a wisdom path great expert, they were willing to put in effort for this. Everything they did was for the eventual goal, Fang Yuan. Originally, these three forces restrained each other while chasing Fang Yuan, they had their own vigilance. But now that the battlefield killer move enveloped Fang Yuan and Spectral Soul, these three forces started to work together, exerting their effort and energy into unraveling this battlefield killer move. Fang Yuan's craftiness and viciousness was deeply etched in everyone's minds, since he put up an ambush here, he definitely had ill intentions. The three factions, GU Immortals felt something amiss, they quickly worked together, attempting to thwart Fang Yuan's plans with all their effort. It was truly a wise decision. But, goo! Fairy Ziwei suddenly shook as she spat out a mouthful of blood. Oh, seeing this change, all of the GU Immortals' attention was drawn. Fairy Ziwei wiped the blood off the corner of her lips, her expression was pale but she gritted her teeth, continuing her deduction. Heavenly Court nurtured a great immortal, for her master, she is really giving it her all. Within Calamity Luck Altar, Bing Sai Chuan sneered as he tried to attack the two forces with words. Within the immortal GU house, Qin Dingling snorted coldly, frowning, why is my luck wavering so much? At the next moment, Fairy Ziwei and Old Man Zheng Yuan suddenly took action, profound light flickered, the Shadow Sect immortals were all enveloped, before they shot outside like a meteor. Bing Sai Chuan and Qin Dingling's hearts jumped, they did not think anymore, quickly controlling the immortal GU houses to follow after Fairy Ziwei. Boom! A terrifying explosion occurred at this moment. Calamity Luck Altar had just started to move when an immense force assaulted it from the back. Bing Sai Chuan growled, Ziwei harmed us. Calamity Luck Altar suffered a huge blow, but its momentum rose as it charged towards Fairy Ziwei with killing intent. Within Demon Judgment Board, Fang Zheng lacked experience compared to Bing Sai Chuan and Qin Dingling. When the explosion occurred, Demon Judgment Board was still staying motionless on the spot. Thus, Demon Judgment Board suffered much greater damage than Calamity Luck Altar. At once, Fang Zheng felt like he had fallen into a tsunami. He was caught unguarded, the entire Demon Judgment Board was swept away by the explosion. Rumble. This explosion was created by Spectral Soul's self-detonation. After the explosion destroyed the illusory sand-shifting shadow battlefield, the three Fosses GU Immortals who did not know what happened were greatly affected. Both immortal GU houses, Calamity Luck Altar and Demon Judgment Board, were heavily damaged, even though Fairy Ziwei deduced the explosion slightly earlier. There was too little time, the explosion quickly implicated them, they were sent flying everywhere. The numerous Heavenly Court immortal GU houses were also sent flying like kites, blown away by the intense force. The Black Bat group was even worse, hundreds of thousands of bats, be they desolate beasts or immemorial desolate beasts, were instantly blown to pieces. The ground shook as the world seemingly collapsed, the entire scene was very chaotic now. An extremely damaged fortress appeared in the air. Ching Chou, which had turned into a giant, was blown into 3 pieces, it landed on the ground. Shi Land was greatly damaged, it was originally complete and intact, now only less than 30% was left. Demon Immortal Qi Ju was covered in blood as he flew out of this secluded domain of heaven and earth, he had a sharp gaze as he fixed his eyes on the fortress. It was peaceful soil heavy mountain fortress. This rank 8 immortal GU house truly had top-notch defense, even though it was heavily damaged, it still managed to block the force of Spectral Soul's self-detonation. At the next moment, peaceful soil heavy mountain fortress was stored into Fang Yuan's immortal aperture. This immortal GU house was too slow, it could not be relied on all the time. Fang Yuan appeared. Instantly, he attracted the attention of all the GU immortals. But Fang Yuan was not alone, Lu Weiyin and Wu Shuai were also around him. Let's kill Fang Yuan. Calamity Luck Altar was not in good shape, Bing Sai Chuan gave up on it and let the rest repair, while he went to kill Fang Yuan himself. This rank 8 great expert who had once fought alongside Fang Yuan did not conceal his deep killing intent towards the latter. Fang Yuan, what did you do to master? Fairy Ziwei stopped escaping, she screamed out as blood oozed out of her nose and mouth. Demon Immortal Qi Ju had a childlike appearance but an elderly voice. He smiled coldly. Didn't you all feel the severity of the explosion earlier? Spectral soul has already self-detonated and died. What? The immortals heard this and were intensely shocked. The great spectral soul actually died. The explosion earlier was too terrifying. It was clearly a soul path killer move. Was it spectral soul's final attack before dying? But how can this be? A great demon venerable. No, spectral soul is no longer a demon venerable. Even so, he still has the #1 battle strength in the world. To think that he actually died at the hands of Fang Yuan and the rest. Fang Yuan actually killed spectral soul. The immortals' expressions changed, their pupils contracted as all of their gazes focused on Fang Yuan. Even though spectral soul's death was caused by everyone's effort, Fang Yuan was undeniably the main perpetrator. Fang Yuan cannot be underestimated, he is too scheming. He actually managed to kill spectral soul, that is a former demon venerable. He even destroyed Fate Gu, it is not strange that he managed to achieve this. Kill him, we cannot let him escape. This demon being alive is truly the greatest misfortune of all lives in this world. Yes, even if he was acting earlier, after killing spectral soul, he must definitely be in bad shape. If we don't kill him now, when will we? The immortals shouted in unison. Fang Yuan, even if I have to die here, I want you dead. Fairy Ziwei's expression was distorted, she gritted her teeth as she attacked. On one hand, Fairy Ziwei was modified by spectral soul and became extremely loyal to him, his death angered her deeply. On the other hand, she had constantly experienced failure as a result of Fang Yuan. In Heavenly Court, she failed, in Shadow Sect, she still failed, she kept losing to this Fang Yuan. Kill him, if Fang Yuan is not dead, the ones to suffer will be everyone present here. Demon Immortal Qi Ju called out as he attacked Fang Yuan as well. At the same time, he secretly transmitted to Fang Yuan while chuckling. Fang Yuan, when spectral soul self-detonated earlier, you did not let me into your peaceful soil-heavy mountain fortress, I'll forget that. If you want to escape now, you will need my help, take out some venerable true inheritances, show me your sincerity. Demon Immortal Qi Ju's Shi land was greatly damaged but he retained most of his own battle strength. This old demon was still working with Fang Yuan to fight spectral soul 1 moment ago. Immediately after, he flipped and changed sides, using the 3 forces to threaten and extort Fang Yuan again. Fang Yuan was really not in good shape, the sovereign immortal aperture's myriad tribulation was still ongoing. Beside him, Lu Weiyin had a pale expression, his body was wobbling around, it would not be surprising if he fainted at the next moment. Wu Shuai was looking terrible, even though his rank 8 aura was not stable, he still retained some battle strength. Right now, he could only be sacrificed to try to stall for time. Even so, there was no guarantee regarding how much time he could fight for. As for Qi Si Ancestor, he was already put into Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture. Within it, Combat Beast King was still unconscious, Fang Yuan needed a GU immortal expert to manage the situation. If not, Qi Si Ancestor would be forced by the situation, to protect his main body, he would need to expose his identity. At the crucial moment, without any better options, I will need to sacrifice the Qi Si clone and Wu Shuai clone to stall for time. Fang Yuan thought. He transmitted to Lu Weiyin, what is the escape method that you mentioned earlier? When giant spectral soul self-detonated, Lu Weiyin made his move, forcefully activating the illusory sand-shifting shadow battlefield and suppressing the soul explosion miraculously. Even though it only lasted a few breaths of time, it managed to successfully gain them some time. Using this time, Fang Yuan's Qi Si and Wu Shuai clone managed to hide inside peaceful soil-heavy mountain fortress. During which, Lu Weiyin transmitted to Fang Yuan that he had a way to escape and leave central continent safely. Precisely so, Fang Yuan let Lu Weiyin into his peaceful soil-heavy mountain fortress. Firstly, Lu Weiyin saved both of Fang Yuan's clones, that was a move demonstrating great sincerity. Secondly, because Lu Weiyin's battlefield killer move was broken, he suffered an immense backlash, his battle strength plunged and his threat level also diminished. Fang Yuan did not fear him now. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Less than report chapter greater than so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2058 Helping Fang Yuan Become Venerable. 2058 Helping Fang Yuan Become Venerable. Lu Weiyin replied Fang Yuan immediately. Fang Yuan, follow me. However, Fang Yuan replied. No rush. At the next moment, he smiled coldly, his arms were folded behind him, looking at the three groups of GU immortals and their immortal GU houses, he spoke calmly and casually, very good, which of you want to die first? Saying this, intense aura burst out of his body, his rank 8 aura was fully intact and not weak at all. All of the immortals stared with wide eyes. Wasn't he at his limit already? All of the excitement to attack was doused. The immortals became hesitant. Using this timing, Fang Yuan laughed loudly as he activated an immortal killer move, bringing Lu Weiyin and the rest away. They turned into a sword rainbow, flying far away. Different from earlier, Fang Yuan had already refined many Heaven Path Dao marks, he had already gotten some freedom from the restrictions of the Heaven Path Dao marks. It was many times easier for him to use immortal killer moves now. Although he still needed to use the human path formation to attack the Heaven Path Dao marks, he could already use other methods now. Fang Yuan escaped, chase him. He was toying with us. The immortals realized at once, they started to pursue him relentlessly. All sorts of killer moves were unleashed, bombarding Fang Yuan and the rest. It was as if the situation had returned to before, except Spectral Soul, Qi-Si Ancestor, and Qing Chou were gone, in exchange there was Lu Weiyin instead. But, everyone, be very careful. The final struggle of this demon Fang Yuan cannot be underestimated. Let the other two forces fight, let's save our energy. Fang Yuan is too scheming, in my opinion, he might still have a second battlefield killer move or an immortal formation. That's right, in the southern border battle, Fang Yuan used a time path formation to trap the allied forces of southern border's righteous path. Lu Weiyin is also a devious person, he set up the earth path formation to trap Spectral Soul, he did the same thing as Fang Yuan. I was wrong about him. The Great Paradise Earth's southern border inheritor actually collaborated with Fang Yuan so shamelessly. The immortals' words were filled with righteousness and heroism against the evil enemies, they transmitted thoughts and exchanged conversations, trying to come up with a plan. They chased with a huge commotion, but they were all feeling internally fearful. The current situation was already very different from earlier, it had changed almost completely. Fang Yuan managed to kill Spectral Soul, this incredible feat made all three forces very wary and fearful. Furthermore, Fang Yuan was devious and crafty, he was ruthless and vicious, his battle achievements were deeply etched into everyone's hearts, the three Fosses GU immortals were filled with trepidation. On one hand, even if Fang Yuan was near his limit, his final struggle would cause any of them to suffer huge losses, their plans would fail completely. On the other hand, the three forces were not just fighting Fang Yuan, they were also mutual enemies. Earlier, Spectral Soul and Qi Ju took on the role as the vanguard, the three forces were happy to follow behind them and try to reap some benefits. But now, Spectral Soul was dead, even though Demon Immortal Qi Ju appeared imposing, he was secretly extorting Fang Yuan for his personal gains, why would he really fight with his true strength? Speaking of which, the three Fosses GU immortals were wary of Fang Yuan, but was Demon Immortal Qi Ju not wary of him? Fang Yuan did not fight much in the few battles earlier. How much did he actually recover? Looking at his killer moves, they are clearly more complex and numerous, how much strength is he concealing? Does he have a fourth Immortal GU house? Demon Immortal Qi Ju thought to himself. Earlier, Fang Yuan lost Dragon Palace and Myriad-Year Flying Warship, he immediately took out Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress. These three Immortal GU houses were all rank 8, they were peak creations of Enslavement Path, Time Path, and Earth Path. Fang Yuan's abundant wealth truly shocked Demon Immortal Qi Ju. He would not be surprised even if Fang Yuan took out a fifth Immortal GU house at this point. Just how deep is Fang Yuan's foundation? Aren't the past Venerables investing too much in him? Demon Immortal Qi Ju gritted his teeth. As Fang Yuan retreated, he suggested transacting using true inheritances, his attitude was tough at times, Demon Immortal Qi Ju could not make up his mind. Should I attack at this time? How much strength does Fang Yuan have left? Would my gains be higher if I kill him? But now, chasing and collecting true inheritances seems pretty good too. Among the people, Demon Immortal Qi Ju had the best time during this chasing period. We arrived, it is below this place. Lu Weiyin suddenly transmitted. Fang Yuan controlled the rainbow, he suddenly changed directions, he instantly broke through the rock layer, entering the next layer. Rumble. Fang Yuan and the rest heard loud rumbling noises around them. A boundless earth chi river surged intensely as tides raged, Fang Yuan and the other two were surrounded by it, they felt like ants in the river, being extremely insignificant. This is the manifestation of an earth vein. Fang Yuan was stunned before he soon realized it. Lu Weiyin nodded as he smiled. Indeed, with the 5 regions becoming one, the earth veins have merged as well. With the movement of the earth veins, they will manifest themselves. It is about to reach that island. Fang Yuan activated his killer move with difficulty as the sword rainbow shot down. The sword rainbow was hard to maintain, it finally dissipated in the air after some time. The three immortals fell onto a brown island, they were in sorry states. This island was very small, it was only a few square kilometers in size. The island was deserted without any living beings, it had a plain terrain, there were three huge rocks at the periphery that resembled pillars, embedded into the grand earth vein. Precisely because of these three rock pillars, the island remained unmoving despite the earth vein's movement. Fang Yuan, where are you running? Chase, what is this place? At this time, the three groups of pursuers also arrived at this layer. Someone activated a killer move but found that the earth path Dao marks here were too dense, they suppressed almost all other paths. GU Immortals had to spend a lot of effort activating killer moves unless it was earth path, otherwise, only immortal GU houses could still move around freely. Oh no, Fang Yuan came here with a plan in mind. No matter what he is trying to do, we must stop him. Quickly destroy that island. The three Fosses GU Immortals had imposing aura, they quickly got close. However, Fang Yuan, Wu Shuai, and Lu Weiyin attacked suddenly, destroying the three huge rock pillars on the island. Without the support of the rock pillars, the island started to float away along the earth vein. The three Fosses GU Immortals chased but the island moved rapidly, the difference between the two was just too big, the island quickly pulled apart some distance and in a few breaths of time, shook off the three Fosses GU Immortals. The three Fosses GU Immortals were dumbfounded. What the heck was happening? It was just an island but it actually moved so quickly. We really escaped from them. What is this island? Where will it bring us to? Wu Shuai touched the hard ground of this island with his hands as he asked in amazement. Lu Weiyin continued to cough blood, destroying the rock pillars earlier caused his injuries to be aggravated. He did not answer Wu Shuai, he looked at Fang Yuan instead. Fang Yuan, you must have recalled it already. Fang Yuan nodded. The moment he saw this island, a flash of inspiration struck in his mind. By the time he landed, he had already recalled it. This is Flying Earth, Fang Yuan told Wu Shuai. Even though Wu Shuai was his clone, Fang Yuan did not give him a copy of all his memories, this was a precaution. If Wu Shuai got captured in the future and got his soul searched, these memories would end up helping his enemies after all. In the previous life's 500 years, the 5 regions became one, the 2 heavens combined, the earth veins of the 5 regions also merged and created many unique terrains. The people in the world called them the 10 Earths. They are Earth Abyss, Earth Trench, Earth Tunnel, Earth Cave, Earth Prison, Production Earth, Flying Earth, Formation Earth, Treasure Earth, and Tomb Earth. This island is one of the 10 Earths, Flying Earth, it is formed from the earth vein. It can move around in the earth vein as quickly as flying, its speed cannot be matched normally. Wu Shuai finally understood. So that's it. He continued to sigh. With the changes in the world, the underground has also become much more interesting. He knew the essence of this island, he asked, then where can we go? Fang Yuan shook his head. I have only heard of Flying Earth, I have never interacted with it. We can only follow along its trail now, we cannot control the direction. Lu Weiyin, I wonder if you have any method. In this ambush battle, Lu Weiyin's performance was very outstanding, Fang Yuan saw much value in him now. This current generation inheritor of Paradise Earth had incredible power. He first set up illusory sand-shifting shadow battlefield, which was powerful enough to trap spectral soul and Chi-Ju, it perfectly displayed the might of a proper battlefield. Next, Lu Weiyin controlled the battlefield and allowed the immortals to cooperate tightly while dealing with spectral soul. During the intense fight, spectral soul wanted to target Ching Chou but was obstructed by Lu Weiyin multiple times. After that, at the crucial moment, Lu Weiyin displayed a powerful defensive killer move that blocked spectral soul's rampaging attack, allowing Chi-Ju to have enough time to use his Shishi killer move. This was the turning point of that battle. In addition, Lu Weiyin used all life as bitter and suffering loss as a blessing to counter spectral soul, causing him to suffer an intense backlash. Finally, he forcefully maintained the battlefield and suppressed spectral soul's self-detonation, allowing Fang Yuan's clones to escape the crisis. After the battlefield was destroyed, he was the one who guided Fang Yuan to this Flying Earth and escaped successfully. Lu Weiyin's battle strength was definitely top tier in the current world, but Fang Yuan admired his nature even more. He was adept at enduring and persevering, he used the 2 killer moves, all life is bitter and suffering loss as a blessing, at the crucial moment to cause spectral soul to suffer a huge setback. With his deep shrewdness and wisdom, Fang Yuan believed that Lu Weiyin definitely had a method to control flying earth. After all, this involved Earth Path, it was Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's greatest expertise. And as expected, Lu Weiyin did not disappoint Fang Yuan. He smiled and nodded. I am not so skilled, but Paradise Earth's inheritance has a relevant method to control flying Earth's direction and decide the place to stop at. Wu Shuai heard this, his pupils shrank, he became quite cautious. Lu Weiyin seemed to have not noticed as he kept up his smile. This earth vein travels along western desert, towards eastern sea, before reaching southern border and northern plains after that. I wonder where you want to stop at, Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan smiled too. Didn't you invite me to be a guest of your mushroom in paradise earlier? Lu Weiyin nodded. Fang Yuan, now that Spectral Soul has been killed by us, I am sure you know of my sincerity already. This is not just my sincerity, this is also the sincerity of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable. Even though I am not sure of the details, there is something written down in the inheritance that Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable left behind. Gu Fang Yuan is the Paradise Earth inheritor of the 5 regions. All of Paradise Earth's forces will help him, they will assist him to become a Gu Venerable with their full strength. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Less than report chapter greater than so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2059 Paradise Earth, S Deeper Intentions. 2059 Paradise Earth, S Deeper Intentions. What? When Wu Shuai heard this news for the first time, he was stupefied. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable was well reputed to be benevolent and kind, who did not know of his nature. He spent his entire life cleaning up the mess that Spectral Soul created, he did not have a single offensive method. All of his actions and words were meant to lead people to the path of kindness, he took joy in helping people. Among the people he helped, were the numbers merely millions or tens of millions. In fact, not only humans, even variant humans and legendary immemorial beasts received his help. He even took action many times to repair mountains and rivers, he managed the natural resource points of heaven and earth. Southern Borders Mushroom in Paradise, Eastern Seas Merman Imperial Court, as well as the Blue Dragon Whale, had all received Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's help. Even Central Continent's reincarnation battlefield was created by Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable because he did not want to see bloodshed between Central Continent GU Immortals, he used it to resolve their conflicts. And Fang Yuan, he killed people like cutting grass, he was cold and callous. For his personal benefit, he destroyed Fate GU and disregarded the prosperity of humanity. In order to cultivate, he plundered resources everywhere. He extorted, he stole, he snatched, he used all methods possible. Everywhere he went, there was blood, there was disaster. And now that Spectral Soul was dead, Fang Yuan became the genuine #1 demon in the world. It was not strange that Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable managed to deduce the existence of Fang Yuan, all the other 9 Venerables had done the same. But Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable actually wanted Fang Yuan to become his inheritor, he wanted all of the forces of Paradise Earth to help Fang Yuan ascend to the position of a Venerable. This was simply bizarre beyond belief. Has Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable gone mad? Wu Shuai's first thoughts after reacting were as such. Immediately after, Wu Shuai thought, don't tell me Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable wants my main body to become a kind person. This does suit his style of action. Indeed, Fang Yuan was a demon. After news of the earlier battle spread out, it would shock the world. Fang Yuan's title as the #1 demon in the world would gain everyone's agreement. If such a demon could turn over a new leaf and become righteous, it was definitely good news for the world and the people living in it. Wu Shuai was shocked, but Fang Yuan was expressionless, he did not show any external emotions. Because he had already heard such words before he communicated with Lu Weiyin. Fang Yuan recalled the scene back then on the Red Lotus Stone Island. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable arrived at the Stone Lotus Island. When he spoke with Red Lotus, he did mention that he wanted to snatch Fang Yuan as his inheritor. For this purpose, Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable took away Regret GU and placed it inside the Blue Dragon Whale. Because of this, future events happened. Fang Yuan entered the Blue Dragon Whale's Grotto Heaven Paradise, taking Regret GU and releasing Shen Shang. Back then, the ultimate mission of the Merit Board seemed to have intentions of inviting Fang Yuan to stay in the Grotto Heaven, to accept the mission and become the new owner of the Blue Dragon Whale. But Fang Yuan did not give in to temptation, he chose to leave and participate in the Fate War, to destroy Fate GU. After the Fate War, Lu Weiyin contacted Fang Yuan, stating that he wanted to help the latter. These two matters were related in essence. Thus, it was not so hard for Fang Yuan to accept this. Ever since I was reborn, I obtained many venerable true inheritances. These are the investments of the past venerables, they used me as a tool to destroy Fate Gu. I originally thought that Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable had the same idea, but to think that he had deeper intentions. Thoughts continued to flicker and collide in Fang Yuan's mind. This was the greatest predicament of his life, it was truly a near-death experience. The most dangerous moment was when Giant Spectral Soul used the killer move Eat Heart on him. Fang Yuan was truly defenseless at that moment, he had to gamble. Thus, he forced himself to laugh and put up a perfect disguise, successfully hoaxing Demon Immortal Qi Ju to attack and betray Spectral Soul. That interrupted Eat Heart and allowed him to survive. At that time, Fang Yuan was half a step from entering his grave. What was the cause of this precarious situation? Externally, Spectral Soul was chasing after him, trying to regain Sovereign Immortal Fetus Gu in the Dream Realms. Internally, there was Red Lotus Demon Venerable's scheme. He used the 3000 Heaven Path Dao marks to restrain Fang Yuan and forced him to be unable to fight. Fate Gu was destroyed, Fang Yuan had no value remaining. However much help he had received in the past, he would suffer a proportionate backlash at this moment. All of the venerables who invested in Fang Yuan also abandoned him, they had resolute killing intent. In such a situation, one venerable stood out from the rest, he lent a helping hand at the crucial moment, pulling Fang Yuan up from the abyss. What was Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's intention? What did he want from Fang Yuan? Why did he think that Fang Yuan would become a venerable? Why did he want to help Fang Yuan become a venerable despite the huge cost? Surrounded by brown soil, Earth Qi rumbled. Flying Earth continued to move within the Grand Earth Vein. According to my understanding, in the prophecy of 3 venerables, the next venerable is Great Dream Immortal Venerable. Does Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable think I have the capability to become Great Dream Immortal Venerable? Fang Yuan's gaze flickered as he broke the silence, probing as he asked. Lu Wei-yin replied. The prophecy of 3 venerables is well known to everyone, but now that Fate Gu has been destroyed, the future is no longer certain. It is possible that Great Dream Immortal Venerable will emerge, it is also possible that this will not happen, right? Fang Yuan, no need to say any more, once you visit Mushroom in Paradise and receive Paradise Earth's true meaning, you will understand everything. At that time, I will definitely welcome you enthusiastically. Lu Wei-yin smiled but was not willing to speak anymore. After this battle, he was certain that Fang Yuan would go to Mushroom in Paradise, but he would not go now. Lu Wei-yin knew of Fang Yuan's vigilance, he was a ruthless person but he was incomparably careful. Even though Lu Wei-yin made such a huge contribution in this battle, if there was a chance, Fang Yuan would definitely kill him. But Lu Wei-yin had been cautious, Fang Yuan had no such opportunities. When Spectral Soul self-detonated, he saved Wu Shuai and Qi Si ancestor, expressing his goodwill while also telling Fang Yuan he had a way to escape. That was the reason Fang Yuan let him into peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress. When they got to Flying Earth, because he had a method to control it, he retained his value, Fang Yuan was unwilling to kill him. But if he fainted, Fang Yuan would definitely deal the fatal blow, before soul-searching Lu Wei-yin and learning of all the details. Eventually, Fang Yuan chose to leave mid-journey. He was pestered by the myriad tribulation, the most important thing now was to resolve it. His battle strength was low now, otherwise, he would have attacked the weakened Lu Wei-yin. Before departing, Lu Wei-yin spoke to Fang Yuan, expressing great sincerity. Fang Yuan, I am sure you are deeply aware of the situation now. All the venerables want to kill you, this will not be your only predicament. We have very little time now, the actual circumstances are even more dangerous than during the Fate War. If we act slowly, we will end up with terrible deaths. Thus, I hope you will come visit the Mushroom in Paradise as soon as possible. Fang Yuan nodded, bringing Wu Shuai and leaving. The 2 immortals left the Earth Vein, moving upwards. An hour later, they arrived at the surface, appearing in a desert. There was nothing in the surrounding 1,000 li. Wu Shuai suddenly smiled. Lu Wei-yin seems to be in trouble. By helping us this time, and also being the leader of a variant human force, he is going to face the pressure of Southern Border's righteous path. Fang Yuan nodded. This is indeed problematic for him. Southern Border's righteous path is led by Wu Clan, while Wu Clan's leader, Wu Yong, is an ambitious and formidable person, he will not let go of this chance. But with Lu Wei-yin's political skills, I am sure he already has a way to resolve it. Wu Shuai asked again. Before parting, was Lu Wei-yin simply trying to scare us? Fang Yuan had a solemn expression, he shook his head slightly. Wu Shuai's mood became heavy. Let's go, we will recuperate now, we really have no time left. Fang Yuan said. Earth vein, that demon Fang Yuan really escaped. Inside Heavenly Court's Immortal Gu house, Qin Dingling stared with wide and furious eyes as she gritted her teeth, clenching her fists tightly. This was the situation that she had not wanted to see, but it happened anyway. Within Calamity Luck Altar, Bing Sai Chuan also let out a sigh. He did not think that this would happen. The powerful and imposing spectral soul died while Fang Yuan, who was escaping from them, managed to flee. The biggest surprise was Lu Weiyin. This inheritor of Paradise Earth was simply not worthy of being in the righteous path. He was Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's disgrace. Of course, there was also the Earth Vein and Flying Earth. The 5 regions were unified, the regional walls vanished. GU Immortals of the 5 regions focused their attention on the Fate War. The aftermath of the war had not settled, but chi tides already started to emerge. All GU Immortals were busy dealing with them. Almost nobody had the time or energy at this time to explore the changes underground. The Earth Vein was grand and vast. It was like a rumbling yellow river, creating huge commotions and sounds. Traveling around this turbulent Earth Vein was simply not easy. The flying Earth that Fang Yuan was on had already gone missing. The Immortals traveled with great difficulty underground. Their expectations regarding catching Fang Yuan became increasingly lower. Wherever the Immortals' gazes landed, they would see an abundance of Earth Path resources around the Earth Vein. And within the Earth Vein, there were even higher quality immortal materials. With the changes in heaven and earth, even the earth has become so foreign and unfamiliar. These Earth Path resources are very heavy. It is too troublesome to take them from the Earth Vein, that is, unless one has exceptional Earth Path attainment. Just these Earth Path resources that we saw along the way, if we can use them well, we can definitely change the situation. Ancient Soul Sect, who owns this Earth Abyss, is going to benefit. If they can absorb these resources, they will definitely become a much more powerful force. These were elites among the highest tier of GU Immortals. They had excellent knowledge and understanding. The resources underground were too abundant. This would have great implications. The way to extract these resources efficiently and make use of them would affect the entire world's situation in the future. Quick, take out some spare GU worms. Another 300 were destroyed. Who can help me to replace the new GU worms together? When immortal GU houses moved in this Earth Vein, they would suffer the invasion of these Earth Chi. There would be increasingly more Earth Path Dao marks carved on the immortal GU houses. That was unless it was an Earth Path Immortal GU house. Immortal GU houses of other paths could not stay inside the Earth Vein for too long. Fang Yuan has disappeared for a long time already. Unless we can find another flying island like what they had, otherwise. That Lu Weiyin clearly had a method to control the flying island. He is Paradise Earth's inheritor. Back then, Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable cultivated Earth Path primarily. Heavenly Court's GU Immortals did not say it explicitly, but they had intentions to retreat already. Qin Dingling kept silent. She was unwilling, but Fang Yuan was actually going to successfully escape in front of their very eyes. She knew that Fang Yuan had already escaped for quite some time. There was almost no hope in catching him now. But she still subconsciously kept silent. After this battle, her trepidation towards Fang Yuan rose by several times. Spectral Soul went after him personally but could not kill him. Instead, Fang Yuan managed to kill Spectral Soul in reverse. Gu Fang Yuan, I underestimated you after all. No wonder even the Wisdom Path cultivator Fairy Ziwei faltered in your hands time and time again. Wait, where are the Shadow Sect members? If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Less than report chapter greater than so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 2060 by Ning Bing vs Fang Zheng. 2060 by Ning Bing vs Fang Zheng. Countless rock pillars flashed by with speed that resembled illusory figures. These rock pillars were located in Earth Abyss. They naturally could not move. What was moving was Fairy Ziwei's group. Since Fang Yuan can kill Master, he definitely has a method to escape. I have fought against him many times. I understand him too well. Fairy Ziwei said. After Spectral Soul's death, the weakest group became Shadow Sect. Earlier, Fairy Ziwei purposely shouted and drew Longevity Heaven and Heavenly Court's attention to Fang Yuan. She secretly transmitted and directed these Shadow Sect immortals to escape mid-journey. After that, she did not even get to the lair with the Earth Vein. She directly left the battlefield with these Shadow Sect immortals. No, while flying, Fairy Ziwei suddenly stopped, saying, even though I am not sure how long Fang Yuan, Longevity Heaven, and Heavenly Court will fight, we need to make some preparations in advance. Fairy Ziwei cast her gaze towards Bai Ningbing, Fairy Miao Yin, and Lady White Rabbit. Farewell to the three of you. Fairy Ziwei's tone became extremely cold. Fairy Miao Yin's expression turned ugly. Evidently, Fairy Ziwei was going to discard them as used pawns. Lady White Rabbit was feeling uneasy, while Bai Ningbing smiled as she rubbed her chin, nodding cheerfully. Interesting, getting chased like this is common, but I have never experienced such a status myself. Even if they objected, what could they do? Fairy Ziwei was a rank 8 grade expert, she could suppress the three of them. Fairy Ziwei nodded, bringing old man Zheng Yuan and Ying Wuxie away, quickly vanishing from the sights of Bai Ningbing and the rest. What do we do? Lady White Rabbit asked, she was lost and unsure. Bai Ningbing chuckled. We are in big trouble, I am sure we will be caught very soon. White Rabbit stared with large and clear eyes, she asked, are you sure? Bai Ningbing nodded but said, we can't be too sure, but Fairy Ziwei is a wisdom path grade expert, seeing her action earlier, doesn't it tell you the truth? Even though we have low cultivation level, we have our value. Didn't they find out Fang Yuan's traces using us as the connection? But now, Fairy Ziwei gave up on us instantly, it meant that she gave up the method to detect Fang Yuan. This shows how much danger we are currently in. What should we do? Let's leave now. Lady White Rabbit said anxiously. Why don't we split up? Fairy Miao Yin asked. Whoever gets caught will be the unlucky one. White Rabbit, go with me. Among Fang Yuan's subordinates, Fairy Miao Yin and Lady White Rabbit had the closest relationship. In this critical moment, she wanted to bring White Rabbit along with her. We can't escape, but I have a good plan. Bai Ningbing said, bright light flashed in her eyes. What plan? Lady White Rabbit was curious. But after Bai Ningbing told them, the two rejected it instantly. Isn't that too risky? Lady White Rabbit was tongue-tied. You want to return to the Black Bat Lair? You lunatic. Fairy Miao Yin rolled her eyes. Bai Ningbing replied, it seems dangerous there but the truth is different. With a vast number of bats in there, even pursuers will not detect us, they might go to the next layer while passing us by. White Rabbit was dazed, it seemed that Bai Ningbing's words made sense. Do you think Lord Fang Yuan will return to save us? Lady White Rabbit suddenly asked. Fairy Miao Yin's expression sank. Don't forget that we participated in the chase against him earlier. White Rabbit was anxious, but we were forced to, there was no choice. Lord Fang Yuan is so wise, why wouldn't he understand it? Bai Ningbing sneered. You two are still hopeful about him. Not to mention that he is currently busy trying to save his own life, even if he could, with that cold aloof nature of his, why would he even come to save us? In fact, he would rather we die now, after we are dead, there will not be sufficient clues to deduce his location. Lady White Rabbit was speechless. Fairy Miao Yin gritted her teeth. No need for more talk, White Rabbit, come with me. As for you, Bai Ningbing, farewell. Fairy Miao Yin had no interest in Bai Ningbing's suggestion, after much interaction with her, she knew that this person was a lunatic. Bai Ningbing shrugged her shoulders, go ahead. As she said that, an intense wind blew, the odor of blood spread throughout the area. Rank 8 Immortal GU House Demon Judgment Board arrived, Fang Zheng's cold voice could be heard from within, where are you trying to go? Bai Ningbing and the others were physically and mentally shaken, to think that their pursuers came so quickly. Why was Fang Zheng here? It turned out that after Heavenly Court, Longevity Heaven, and Demon Immortal Qi Ju lost sight of Fang Yuan, they lost hope while moving along the earth vein, they started to have other thoughts. Demon Immortal Qi Ju was the first to strike, attacking Calamity Luck Altar. Within Calamity Luck Altar, Bing Sai Chuan was prepared for this, he blocked Demon Immortal Qi Ju's attack. Seeing that his attack failed, Demon Immortal Qi Ju did not feel dejected, he called out, Heavenly Court. If you do not fight Calamity Luck Altar now, are you going to wait until Longevity Heaven invades Central Continent? Bing Sai Chuan heard this, his heart sank. You are not wrong. Qin Dingling laughed as she gave orders to Heavenly Court's Immortal GU houses, launching their attack as well. However, Heavenly Court did not just encircle Calamity Luck Altar, they even targeted Demon Immortal Qi Ju. Demon Immortal Qi Ju snorted coldly, Heavenly Court, your appetite is simply too big. Qin Dingling replied arrogantly, Qi Ju, after that intense battle, how much battle strength do you have left? Go ahead and show us. Demon Immortal Qi Ju was silent. There was nothing wrong with Heavenly Court attacking him, it was a wise decision. However, Qin Dingling is acting resolutely, is she putting up a farce or? Demon Immortal Qi Ju had no time to think, Heavenly Court's attacks already arrived, and he had to defend himself. The three parties fought above the earth vein. Fang Zheng, quickly go to the upper layers and pursue Shadow Sect. Fairy Ziwei is able to use Bai Ningbing and the rest to deduce Fang Zheng's location. We can also do that. Go capture these people. As for Fairy Ziwei and old man Zheng Yuan, saying this, Qin Dingling hesitated. But soon, she continued with a firm tone, as for the two of them, kill them if you can. Yes. Fang Zheng acknowledged her orders, he controlled Demon Judgment Board and left the battlefield. Calamity Luck Altar and Demon Immortal Qi Ju were trapped, they watched as Demon Judgment Board left. Fang Zheng flew rapidly within Demon Judgment Board, using the Immortal Jiu House's ability to find the traces of Shadow Sect. Shadow Sect's members were all on the board list. Fang Zheng quickly found Bai Ningbing and the other two immortals. Rank 8 Immortal Jiu House, Demon Judgment Board. Lady White Rabbit's and Fairy Miao Yin's hearts sank, they felt a huge pressure. They wanted to tell Fang Zheng about the direction that Fairy Ziwei escaped to, but there was an alliance agreement made earlier. If they betrayed Fairy Ziwei, the consequences would be severe. Cold light flashed in Bai Ningbing's eyes, even with an enemy in front of them and possibly others behind, she still had an excited expression. It's you, I know that voice, Jiu Fang Zheng. Jiu Fang Zheng had a flickering gaze, he looked at Bai Ningbing through the Immortal Jiu House. Bai Ningbing, to think that we would meet here at this time. Memories from before surged in his mind, it was as if he had just drunk some liquor before the battle, his entire body was filled with heated battle intent. Bai Ningbing, he shouted loudly, do you still remember Jiu Qingshu? In Fang Zheng's heart, Jiu Qingshu was more of a brother than Fang Yuan to him. He was caring, he was gentle, he was responsible, he was admirable. When he lived in Jiu village, even though Jiu clan leader took care of Fang Zheng and taught him personally, he was still a senior. The care and concern that Jiu Qingshu gave to Fang Zheng had always been kept in Fang Zheng's heart. But such a person was killed by Bai Ningbing. Fang Zheng witnessed the entire battle that involved Qingshu's death. Jiu Qingshu. Bai Ningbing was slightly dazed, how could she forget? Back in the day, she fought against Jiu Qingshu, even though she killed the latter, she also lost an arm because of him. But at the next moment, Bai Ningbing turned a deaf ear, she laughed in disdain, I would have forgotten if you did not mention him. That was an insignificant ant after all. Jiu Fang Zheng's eyes widened in response, blood filled his eyes as killing intent surged in his body. Bai Ningbing, die. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know. Less than report chapter greater than so we can fix it as soon as possible.